Welcome back to the Backlog Boys podcast. We're not in our usual place this time, boys. We're in a school, and not only that, we're not the same old boys than before. Here with me, newly acquired, the ultimate soy boy himself, Samuel.
Hey, what's going on? It's Soy Boy Sammy. That's all I'm saying. Bye.
You only have one line. You can only say one line at a time, remember?
Oh, okay.
That was it. That was the other line. And then also, newly acquired, the ultimate in your feels himself, Alexander.
Hi, apparently I'm in my feels.
You're always depressed and sad.
Sad boy Alex.
That's my
You only listen to sad boy music.
It's my secret cap. I'm always depressed.
He's already in character.
put the meme in there.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And then there's me. This is not stealing foot. I am the ultimate fanfic creator. All I do is I just steal other people's content and pretend like it's my own.
Oh my god.
That's my life purpose. I have no original ideas.
That's what makes you ultimate, because you
Exactly.
get away with stealing.
Because I just keep getting away with
You
it.
get away
Goddamn.
with plagiarism.
It's Omar. I'm Omar. I don't know if I said my name. I just said the title.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't tell from anything we're saying or our new fancy schmancy intro, we're talking about Danganronpa. I was hoping one day you guys would do the sound effect.
No,
No.
keep that in. I want his voice to be like that.
Thanks, guys, for throwing me under the bus like that. But before we talk about that and talk about our new school life here that we're in, before we were kidnapped, how about what's been going on with you, Samuel? I'm looking right at you. I realize you can't say.
Yeah,
I'm looking at Sam.
Not too much. I started a new job, and that's all cool. Can't talk about it. I got a lot of NDAs to sign. I'm a big important man now. I was, anyways, before we got trapped in here. But
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're fucked.
Yeah.
Hope your job doesn't go get cry
How
about it.
trapped are we? Can we just leave?
No, we're trapped. You know what that word means?
But like,
Alex, I've got a couple vacations.
But if
I think
it-
we'll be fine.
but if it's
Couple.
but if it's you making the trap, can we just leave?
Sorry.
Anyway, sorry, yeah. So, aside from that, the most exciting thing that's happened since the last pod is I sent in a package to a YouTuber that I like, a group of YouTubers called Super Mega. They do like a mail opening thing. And I sent them some like trophies I got as like a high schooler that was like a Boys to Men like honorable gentleman thing. Like, it's a thing that our city does. There's like a group in our city that's like, oh, we're gonna uplift the young boys in the not so good neighborhoods and like give them a trophy or something for doing good in school or whatever.
I made a face, by the way, when you said that. Not so good neighborhoods. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got a trophy for that, and it's just been sitting in my room for a while.
Do they know the people who made that? Like, do they know the Boys to Men? Like,
I think that's the point. They do it like as a bit almost.
imagine they didn't.
Because
Like, this was a cool name.
the idea that they do it is just like they turn boys into men kind of thing. Like, that's why they do it.
I don't like that phrasing either.
It's a little sus, but anyways, my younger brother also got a trophy, which is a little smaller. So I thought it'd be funny if I sent the Super Mega Boys a big one and a small trophy and see if they would fight over who got what. And then I also printed out like certificates that were like, most awesomest YouTuber or whatever.
I didn't know about that part until I watched the actual
what did they
video.
both-
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Did they all both say that?
They both said, one of them said most awesomest YouTuber, and the other said most awesomest young YouTuber for Matt. And then at the bottom, I put my signature, like if I was the principal or whatever. So I put my signature, and then I put Meghead as my title. And then the other one next to it, which is normally like the superintendent, I put Joe Biden's signature on it. And then I put the presidential seal on the fucking certificate and printed it out. And then
I'm
I
about
also
to get hunted now.
yeah. For committing fraud, but
Dude.
yeah, man, that's like the highlight.
That's like your highlight of your life.
Yeah, right now, as of right now.
So Alexander, besides being trapped in this death school that you don't have to know anything more about than just the fact that we're in a room
It
and
looks
it's in a
like
school.
it looks like your bedroom.
No, it's not. It's a school. It's a classroom.
Okay.
This is a loser classroom.
Okay.
Anyways, what have you been up to?
Me personally, not much, I don't think, but a lot of musical artists that I listen to have been dropping like music out of nowhere. And one of them, Panic at the Disco. Sam, I hope you heard it.
I did not.
No?
Wow,
No.
fake fan, fake fan,
Aw,
fake fan.
man.
I might have heard it on like
That
the
was an
radio in
accident.
passing.
That was our thing in high school, man.
It was, but I just, I've been in a different kick lately. I've been listening to a lot of Soccer Mommy and
Okay.
Yeah, they're really good though.
Okay.
They've got a new album coming out.
Well, I mean, I'm just like a Panic at the Disco little fanboy. Like even though there's stuff. I mean, I did like this one, but like the last album was trash. And yeah, I was still gonna listen to it.
Pray for the Wicked was it's not good.
It has a couple good ones.
Yeah.
You just gotta get past the point like they're not gonna be as good as they were back in like a Pretty Odd. That's my
Pretty
favorite
Odd
one.
isn't a good album, just so we're clear.
I like it.
We gotta make we gotta have a whole discussion about music. Like,
okay,
it's gonna be a thing.
It's gonna be just you two, agreeing with each other. And you're like, yeah, I listen to rap.
But yeah,
and you guys are like, what?
So like Kanye, right?
But yeah, they dropped a new single and are dropping a new album soon, and I got tickets to go see them.
Okay.
Thing is that it's during day 2 of Riot Fest, which I'm also going to.
Oh my god!
So we're just gonna go to Riot Fest half the day, and then go to the Panic concert later in the day.
I don't know if there's anybody on what the Riot Fest is in Chicago.
Oh really?
Chicago, yeah. And then Panic concert's probably like
also Allstate Arena.
Oh yeah! Wow. Okay.
I think it's Allstate.
I don't know. Are there any good bands on day 2? I can't even remember.
My buddy who I'm rolling with wanted to see the Misfits, but I'm just like, bro, I'm sorry. I will buy you drinks that whole day if you want, but I want to go see Panic again. So I'm doing that, which like in its own is pretty cool because I'm seeing My Chem the day before and then Panic at the Disco like the day after. This is
high school dreams.
Like middle school me's like, oh my god,
yeah,
he's fucking jealous right now.
In school, so you can remember these emotions.
Yeah, Omar trapped us in the school
to give us memories.
We were too much.
Yeah, middle school me will be like so jealous of me right now, but like my taste like now. Like my favorite band usually like alternates between All Time Low and Panic at the Disco, and All Time Low also dropped. They didn't drop a new song. They dropped a cover of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd.
Oh.
What the heck?
Yeah, which I mean I like it. Like I mean,
like is it like 1 for 1 or is it like a slowed down version?
No, it's
like
a more pop punk version. Oh. And the fanboy in me is like I like this version better, but it's a pretty good song on its own.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not gonna lie, you might have to play that. I'm actually interested in what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm really curious now.
I don't even know who those guys are. I just wanted to see what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, and then the big one that I know Omar's been waiting for.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to say.
Joji.
And no one else matters.
Joji's dropping is he?
Well, he just dropped a single.
He dropped a single.
Well, usually he drops a single,
and I think,
and then he drops like an album. Well, he just drops like 2 singles, and then or 3. I think last time was 3,
yes,
right?
But I think I read somewhere that this one's gonna be an EP, so less like 8 songs.
Well, it's better sometimes. Sometimes his albums are like.
I'll take any more new Joji.
Sometimes I think his albums are like.
Yeah.
There are some filler.
And he announced a tour that he's going on, and Omar asked me a little too late if I was going.
It's just funny because I know it's not my section, but I was involved because I remember when I found the video. I found it like 3 days later when it came out, so that's my fault as well. But it was like already like I was still before Thursday. Yeah. And I was like, I remember Thursday. I completely forgot.
The tickets went on sale Wednesday though.
Oh, Wednesday? That's how bad it was.
They went on sale Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I was so late by it, and I was like, fuck. And I was like, ask Alex about it. And like, I think on a story that day, you were like, I got the VIP.
Yeah, I got the VIP.
And I was like, fuck.
I got the VIP tickets to the Joji Smithereens tour, and honestly, that's probably the thing I'm most excited for the rest of the year.
What's going on with you, Omar? Thanks for asking, Omar.
I don't care.
And I was gonna bring up Kendrick right now because I know last time we did Catherine, I was talking about Kendrick, and I was like, I didn't listen to it because it came out like 2 days before we did the podcast.
Yeah.
And all I did was work and hang out with you guys. So I finally listened to Mr. Around the Big Steppers. I'm not gonna lie, I think I cried like 5 times.
Wow.
During the album. It's so.
Did you cry more than Glimpse of You?
It's yes.
I was
like,
bawling during Glimpse of You.
It's so weird, Joji. Like it caused me emotion, but it won't ever make me cry. I think for like Kendrick though, it's more of the fact that he talks about like things that you wouldn't think a song artist would talk about. So like it kind of like hits you're like, oh shit. Because like if you don't when you listen to music, like you're kind of like you're open to it, you know what I mean? So like when you talk something really deep like that, because I know like cause Joji's a lot of like love.
His was a heartbreak kind of.
Yeah, and I'm like me and love is like I have never felt love, so it's like I can't connect to those songs.
When the first time I heard that song, I was in the back of the Kia bathroom crying.
Jeez, Alex, are you done?
Leave me alone. You're like 5 more minutes. Yeah, no, I mean I agree with Alex. I was listening to Snail Mail as like a punk kind of like indie kind of band, and the latest album was also about heartbreak. But I understand what you mean about Kendrick with like emotional and like deep topics. Like I don't remember what that song was called. I only listened to one song off of that album. It was the Man Now one. What is that one?
Which one?
Somebody's a Man Now or something. It was about like trans issues.
Oh, Auntie Diaries.
Yeah, Auntie Diaries.
I was gonna talk about that. Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Because like the whole album I like the whole album, but like I think Father Time is crazy because it's about him having father issues. He's so good because you don't even think it's a song, but it's obviously a song because he just makes it so perfectly where you're not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like it just feels so natural. Because sometimes when I listen to rappers, I'm like, oh, you're trying to find a word to rhyme with this other word. Like I was into Kanye. I love Kanye, but sometimes he'll be like, oh, this is clean and blessing, and I just saw messy, and I'm like, okay, like you're just trying to find words.
Yeah, no, I've heard a couple Kendrick songs. I like Kendrick. Like I see what you mean. Like his stuff comes up like more naturally.
Yeah, I think We Cry. I don't know if you guys have heard of We Cry Together.
I haven't heard
that one. Is
album.
Wild because it's just him and I forgot. I feel bad. I don't remember her name. I think it's Aubrey Page or something. And it's just literally them yelling at each other. Like it's supposed to show like a toxic relationship, and it just feels like a real, like they're not really rapping, but they're still in rhymes. Yeah, but they're just literally yelling. If you ever listen, I'll play it.
It's kind of like a spoken word bit. Like I only listen to Pimp a Butterfly because, like, of course, that's the one everyone listens to.
Well, to be honest, a lot of his his albums are just as good. To be honest.
Yeah. I just haven't taken a peek at those. But I mean, there is that. I really like that spoken. It's almost spoken word. The one that's like, "This dick ain't free" or whatever.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
And I'm like, that one's really good, but not because it's like it sounds. Yeah,
like I don't. As I was telling my friends, I was like, I don't listen to We Cry Together in the car. Yeah, like windows open. I'm like, yeah, bitch. I listen to my personal.
Yeah, friends.
Yeah, so you guys,
from us. What the fuck?
You're like, I'm confused. I thought we were trapped in the school forever.
Yeah, Omar, you just talking to yourself?
I burped it. Yes, I have other friends.
Okay. I keep interrupting you with this.
And Ani Dies is the other one. That one's crazy to me because it's like, that topic is, and it's funny. I think it's not funny. It's interesting because he's not really asking. He's not really saying that like, oh, look at me. I'm so pro trans. He's just saying like, this is my things I did. Yeah. He's just confessing something. Not even him saying like I'm pro. Like I presume he's not anti, but like he's just showing like something like that. No, that album is just so good. I really love it. But the other thing I did, I swear, it's so weird. Ever since we started the podcast, I've just been so busy. I have no idea why it's been happening.
You did a big thing. I thought I've been
so like I'm like the most boring out of all three of us. I think genuinely. Yeah. Because you guys do that concert shit like I don't all the time, but like I don't do that ever. But like fucking, I had to go to a wedding literally last week. Yeah. I had to drive to Michigan. That shit was expensive. You know how much gas expensive it is?
I bet you.
And I had to pay for that shit. It's like 3 hours.
Should have had a Tesla.
I just remember something else I did.
Yeah, more money.
Yeah, honestly.
But I had to go to Michigan for a wedding. I have footage of it. There's me dancing. I don't dance. I don't drink or do dancing. I didn't drink, but I did dance, which was very rare. I was at dance with my mom. I danced with like another older lady, and I danced with like someone else. But I was surprised I danced. I'm not a dancer. I've never danced before. The most I can do is like the classic John LaMotta 1 2. You know what I'm saying? That kind of dance, you know. Yeah. And usually, people don't like to dance bad. Yeah. But that was actually really fun. I had fun.
But I haven't had a lot of time to play anything aside from the game that we're playing this month.
What game?
Danganronpa.
Never heard of that.
Happy Havoc. And
I'm surprised you know that name. Good job.
And I think now we should probably just, ease into it and start talking about the actual game itself. How do you think about that, guys? Oh God, Omar!
Omar, did you drink something?
We'll be right back.
So, I'm getting tired of waiting. What say we just get started,
Sorry for the vomit. We went to that what's that? I don't even know what the place is called.
The dining hall?
Yeah, the dining room. Yeah. We went to the cafeteria. Yeah. Let's just say horse meat ain't edible, as I thought it was. It was a bad idea.
We got kind of hungry. We've been trapped in here for a bit, so
Yeah.
Yeah, the door magically opened. Yeah. I never thought to check it, but turned out Alex was big brain. He was like, "What if we just open it?"
Yeah, I'm telling you. Listen, if you made the traps. We're not.
Why would I make this? I'm fucking with you. Is that a decoy?
He's not the mastermind.
I think Omar's the mastermind.
we're like setting up things that people don't understand. Describe the game,
but they will.
Let's have Omar describe the game though.
Oh man, are you ready for this?
No.
Danganronpa. Trigger Happy Havoc. I'm actually genuinely surprised you knew that name. I usually don't remember anything. That's
what do you mean?
It's in the fucking title.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the title, to be honest.
You dummy.
How do you not?
Tell us about the game.
My eyes are closed when I play games.
Tell me about the game.
Danganronpa. Spike Chunsoft. Same people made 999.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite games.
I love that game.
It was a really good game.
It's interesting as well because the director of this thing, I hate these names. Why are I always stuck with these Japanese names? Kazutaka Kodaka.
Japanese games.
Kazutaka Odaka?
I'm gonna pretend like you said the right thing.
I did. I think
they're actually friends. The guy who made 999 and this guy.
Oh,
They're like a lot of the like designs are like, because of each other. Okay. More Danganronpa than 999. I'll probably talk about it later with like the characters. But yeah, they're like homies, and you can kind of tell what their kind of gimmick they got going on. But I didn't know this. I genuinely didn't know. This game this is a PS Portable, like a PSP game.
Yeah, it's a PSP
only
game.
2010. Oh, Japan, obviously.
Yeah.
And they ported it to the like iOS and Android in like 2012.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2014. They finally gave it to us.
I realized that last night that I could have been playing this on my phone the whole time.
Yeah.
Probably would have made.
But only recently they released it for the phone for us. So Kazutaka over here. So he presented this game to a Chunsoft, and they were obviously like, no, because this game is about like high school kids killing each other. Okay. So they were like, that's dark. We can't do that. But enough like pushback from him, and we're like, he kind of made it more not as dark as it, because he wanted to make this game darker, like 999 darker. Sure. But like with the same setting. But then they were like, no, how about let's just not do that? And he's like, all right. So he kind of made it more lighthearted in some aspects.
Does that explain the color of the blood?
Yes, because they were like, it was a way to make it not as gruesome. Mm-hmm. But if you like linger on it too long, it makes you realize how kind of fucked up it is too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like it's one of those things where like it's not gruesome, but then when you think about it more, like no, it actually really is.
For the audience, the color of the blood in this game is pink. Like a neon pink,
which I think is perfect. That's great.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a PC mod of this game that makes the blood red.
I think there's pictures of the game with the blood actually red.
Yeah, I'm curious
of the first person who gets killed. They have like them in red, and it's really like uncomfortable to be honest. When I like that, I'm like
promotional images, right?
Because this game went through a lot of like change. Originally, I was gonna bring this up later, but I'll actually bring this up now. Sure. So originally, the game was gonna be called Distrust. It was a completely different game. No, not completely different, but like it was different than what it came out to be. Yeah. I'll try to show you guys personally, but like the art style was different. It wasn't as like anime. I also can kind of see it from where I'm standing, where it's right here, but like it looks different. A lot of the characters' designs are like completely different when we're talking about the character designs later. But like some characters look completely different. Some characters are like their names are completely different. Yeah. But and we'll probably talk about when the spoilers, like some of the plot stuff that turn out to be different.
You're gonna talk about the beta.
Yeah, and all that other stuff as well. Yeah, that shit's weird. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I have not seen Beta Monokuma.
It's really weird.
You beat the game and it gives you like archive files, and I saw it there.
Yeah, I guess I never took time to look through that much.
Spoiler to your opinions. But like that kind of went through, and then they were like, this is very dark. Like no, we cannot keep this. And then it became more Danganronpa, and it became the art style also, which I personally enjoyed the art style. I bless my heart for this one. Yeah. Komatsusaki.
Bless you.
Thank you. That's the artist. This person's been the artist since like the beginning. They still do the art like now for like a lot of the other stuff too, which we'll talk about later. Where like how big this franchise has become. Yeah. That guy or girl, I don't know. Person artist draws it like all the time. Yeah. But when I have to look at his name again. Kozakataka would the creator of this guy.
Just give them the titles, like the writer, the artist, the whatever.
The ultimate writer.
The ultimate creator. When he was like making the game, he had like his own idea, but when the artist kind of drew them, I think it happened in 999 as well, where like he kind of changed like how some of the characters were, and then specifically for the main character Makoto, the voice actors, Japanese voice actors, when she did some of the voice lines, he changed his character even more. Okay. Because how she was doing the voices or whatever. And I doubt it, but I assume you guys not played the Japanese.
No.
Like the voice acting Japanese version of this game.
I played the English dub.
Should I have?
No. I'm just in case. Like, if you guys are like, wait a minute, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I'm a loser, I've obviously played the Japanese version.
What
3 times.
No comment.
It's not different. It's really just the voice actors. But I think because the translation is what it's weird. And I'll talk about when we talk about the characters. Where like some things. This game is 2009, 10, right? Like. Yeah. So like stuff that was like, and I think I talked about 999 was like anime wasn't as big as it is now, so they kind of translate certain things that now you would understand it, but back then they didn't think people would understand them as well. Yeah, like certain character, what their ultimates are or whatever. So I remember when I was playing them, I'm like, what does that even mean? Yeah. And then when I looked up the Japanese versions of it, it's like, oh, that makes like 100% more sense. Yeah. And I think the creator as well were like he was thinking like action adventure games were like being like not as well sold as like let me make this like mystery kind of game, and games like Ace Attorney and those ones obviously were inspirations to this. Oh, for sure. And like the movie, I don't know if you guys have heard of the movie Cube. when I was doing research for this movie, this game.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I have, actually.
You have? And
it's like a mystery thing. There's like a guy trapped in a cube kind of thing.
There's multiple people in the cube.
Yeah, multiple people. Yeah. I've heard about it. I just haven't seen it.
But, so things like that as well, like, kind of inspired that, like, idea. And, like, the cube one probably more because, like, it's a lot of, like, math and, like, fucking big brain things than, like, more than it should be, probably.
I guess so. And
I think Saw, obviously, because of the gore and, like, the punishments of this game.
Sure.
Yeah.
As well. I think he wanted to make because like I mentioned Ace Attorney. I doubt you guys have played Ace Attorney.
Actually, I just bought the Ace Attorney collection.
Really?
It was like on sale on PlayStation for like $15.
And I know what it is.
I had to play all of them.
They're like this game, but not. As in, this game is way more fast. Like those games are slow. Like
they're more
the way
methodical.
Yeah. So like he was like, I don't want it to be like that. So like he wanted like it didn't start it that way, but as he was making the game, he's like, this has to be faster. So it became more fast paced and became, as I describe it, sexier. Where like instead of just generic like I interrupt, like there's like you shoot a fucking gun and you fucking like you have fucking what's it called, brain blast moments and shit like that. Like they make it more
Hangman's Gambit.
Yeah, like unique or whatever.
Yeah.
And as the other games, they add more stuff and more gimmicks to it or whatever as well.
Gross.
And it makes it like not just as like just generic, I'm going to interrupt you by pushing a button. Let me look through all my facts and pull shit out. Like it's diversity.
Yeah.
Like mini games or whatever.
Yeah. So Omar, can you tell us a little bit about the game, the story of the game?
This game I've never heard of until now. It's about 15, I don't know, it's a different number. 15 high school students, well not just any old day old high school students, ultimates of their specific talents. Some might be baseball players, other athletes, computer nerds,
a lucky
authors,
person,
police, a guy with a gun. No. Like there's different ultimates or whatever.
Yeah.
And you play as the main character, Makoto Naegi, who has no ultimate. He was just luckily drawn in through a lottery system.
Yeah, he's considered
the ultimate luck because he won the lottery or whatever. And you're in there in the school with these 15 other students, but you learn it's not just any day old school. It's a murder school.
Just like the one you have us in right now.
Exactly how it is right now. Where those kids are stuck there forever unless you kill someone. But you have to have a class trial, which is the half of this game.
Yeah.
Half of it's regular visual novel dialogue, while the other half is a class trial aspect where you kind of have to figure out who killed one of your own classmates. And if the guy or girl who killed that person is not caught, then they're scot-free and everyone else dies. But if everyone votes for the right person who did kill the person, what they're called the blackened, they die themselves, but everyone else stays in the school and life goes on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, you learn the mystery of like why you're here, what's going on, why is the school being shut down, but like no one's coming to save you guys because you're like 15-year-old, 16-year-old kids or whatever. And there's like a mastermind bear who is Alex's favorite character.
I hate that dude.
Monokuma. He's a white bear, half black bear. Yeah, probably. I think everyone probably seen that picture, to be honest. He's probably the most famous.
Yeah, he's got a cool design, but I find him unbearable. You know.
So, no, that's Teddy's line.
Every bear character, honestly, probably does that.
But yeah, his music cues like is so annoying, and I hate every time it would start playing. I would try to get through his lines as quickly as possible. But anyway, sorry, we're not critiquing him.
I just don't want to hear his music.
Yeah.
But that's kind of just like the basic summary
Okay.
of this game, where it's kind of split into like story time, and there's also free time where you can personally hang out with any character that's still alive. You can hang out with them, you can get to learn them more about them or whatever.
Oh, isn't the game like split up into 3 different parts?
Yes, it's free time. I believe
no, daily life, deadly life, and something else. Class trial.
You could probably that's probably the like actual technical names. I kind of like know them how I know them.
Because Omar's a dumb kid.
You should know this. You're the one with the facts.
I'm the kind of guy where like, if I know that as whatever I think it is, I will remember that forever.
Yeah.
Like I will not know the technical name. There are certain characters I don't know how to pronounce their name because I call them the way I think they should be called.
Oh, that's gonna kill me. It is
going to.
I'm gonna correct you on that.
Because when we talk about characters, it's gonna be that.
I'm gonna call them by their last names.
I don't know. I'm gonna call them by whatever name comes to mind, anyways.
I think history-wise, obviously I have the biggest history, but I feel like Sam probably has the least.
Yeah, I just heard about this game on Twitter. That's pretty much it. Like I've never seen the anime, never heard, like I've heard about.
It's funny
this
you
game.
say that, like anime, like that anime is from this game. So.
Yeah, but I've just never bothered to buy it because it's just like, I mean, it took me so long to buy the Ace Attorney games, even though I know they're really good. It takes a lot to get me invested into like a visual novel type game, even if there is like investigation, mini games and stuff. It just doesn't seem that engaging to me as a general premise. So that's all I got for this one. Alex?
Well, I think I have less history than you because again, I've only heard about it in Twitter, but like you hear all the like good things about it. I've heard that the community is just like terrible.
I bet you.
And if you're out there, I'm sorry, I don't mean it. Yeah, but
Do not cancel us.
do not, yeah. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Like, besides you, I don't know anyone else that's talked about it.
I think, yeah, like, you know me, I just every day talk about
He
it.
plays every visual novel. What do you
I'm glad you brought that up, what Alex said. And I think as I'm older, I've like shaped my opinion less. Where like, I find it wrong to judge a game based off its fandom. I'm not saying you are, but like that idea, people do that a lot. They're like, oh, like say like anime, you know, they're like, oh, this new anime getting popular. Like people are just gonna hate it because they just don't like popular things. But then people are gonna be like, I don't want to watch it because the fans are like, are toxic or annoying about it. And like now that I'm older, I'm like, I feel like that's such a dumb thing to say.
I can understand that, but I think you can also kind of gauge what kind of story it is based on the kind of fans there
I
are.
don't though.
Like Black Butler fans, you know, like I'm like I think
Yeah.
I think I know what you like about this, and I don't like that.
I think for me, it's like anything. You can be talks about anything though.
That's
like,
true.
I'm super into sports.
Yeah,
But like sports fans aren't like symbolizing what the team is about at all.
yeah.
But there are toxic fans of like every team because like people are just so crazy, like they're so tribal about things like that.
100%.
So like I think for like me, like in mediums as well, like I just find it's unfair because like it's not the product's fault.
I think every fandom has its.
Like, I think any
downsides.
fandom can has bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you like, if you try,
like on a base level, I understand what you mean, but also like if like with the Black Butler idea,
like I think that's just like an but like, you would never even watch it to begin with, though, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I
I'm
mean,
saying.
though.
I
Like,
wasn't interested, and I'm even less interested.
Some
because of
fandoms
it.
are more louder than the others.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like if you're interested in it and the only thing stopping you is because of fandom
Yeah.
that shouldn't be the thing.
Like I've seen stuff from like fan cams and stuff for Danganronpa like within the last couple of hours because I was doing research, and like yeah, some of it is kind of cringe, but I overall like it doesn't affect how I feel about the game, you know?
Yes.
Like
I don't know if it's for this game or another fandom, but I do remember hearing a story about like someone's like just putting a comment out there that they didn't like this game, and then like 2 hours later they were doxxed.
yeah, I think that is Danganronpa.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry guys. I like this game, just so you know.
No, if you're
Please
those
don't kill
people,
me.
fucking off. You guys can suck a dick. I don't give a fuck.
Listen, we need some BBC stands. Just we need some stands around.
I
But-
think, anyways.
Yeah, your history with Danganronpa.
So Danganronpa with me, honestly, I have the most, and I'm gonna link this with like more history as well since I'm in it or whatever.
Sure, why not?
So honestly, me Danganronpa playing the first time, I was like in awe because I've never played a game like this.
Mhm.
So I was like, this is fucking epic, and I blasted the first one, and I blasted the second one. And then everyone's saying the third one was bad, so I didn't play it. Which goes back to me saying like, "Why I should have played it when I got it."
Yeah.
But I'm like, no one liked the third one,
Okay.
especially at the time. I think it just came out when I got into it.
Yeah.
Because the reviews on Steam was like all negative, and now I think it's positive now.
Yeah.
Because it's been like years now. But like there is an anime for the game,
Yeah.
and then there's an anime for post this game.
Oh.
There's mangas. I have one of them.
I saw episode 1 and I hated it.
Of which one?
Of the adaptation.
The
or
anime.
Yeah, that's
The voices are
honestly,
different, and
yeah,
there's some stuff that's cut out.
making usually animes out of a video game usually don't go well.
Yeah.
Because usually they don't get the voice actors, and you have to condense like a 30-hour game into like 12 episodes, which usually doesn't go well.
This one was especially bad.
So like, but there is an anime for like post stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a sequel. There's a spin-off game, the Ultimate, not
Despair
Ultimate.
Girls.
Yeah, it is. It is called Ultimate Despairs.
Yeah.
There's a third game, obviously.
V3. Yeah.
There's recently it came out with the spin-off game, the summer beach time or something like that.
I don't know.
I own it on my Switch.
Awesome.
I'm embarrassed. But like there are light novels, short stories. There's a live action play. But like Danganronpa became bigger because the guy didn't think he wasn't even gonna make a sequel
Okay.
to this game.
I didn't know this went like outside of the anime. I thought the
there's
anime
a
was the last thing.
lot. There are a lot
Danganronpa
of
is one of the biggest
things like it came
out.
out
Oh my
type
God.
games. Yeah.
Which is ironic because like the third game like tackles like some those themes of that. And I mean maybe I'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But like, but me playing this originally, now this probably will bleed into what our thoughts are of this game. Where I enjoy this game because of the characters. Like the characters were interesting, and you think like the games I've been playing at the time, they were like all those characters to me were like boring. One of those games I was playing, So when I got these characters, I'm like, these are like completely different characters of I've ever seen before at the time of me playing this game. And I was like, this is so new and interesting to me, and I'm just sold in. Let's not dancing around the topic. Let's talk about the game.
The deadly game, the deadly trial, the deadly. What is the phrase?
I hate that. No, I purposely. I always just skip this shit. I thought you said it once, and I'm like, no, he kept saying it. And
Let's
I was like,
go.
Fuck that. Let's fucking go. Imagine someone said that.
I do not think we have been introduced. I am Celestia Ludenberg.
Oh, thanks, Celeste. Anyways, shut up. Never talk again. No one likes you. So this game. I've been waiting. Sam, I'll let you have the board here. The board, the classroom.
Ball?
I don't know. Speak.
So what do you want? What do you want to know, Omar? Huh?
I want to know your deepest, darkest secrets.
Well, let me tell you something. I really didn't like this game at the beginning. Me and Diego, my younger brother, were like talking mad shit about this game during the prologue. And I was like, man, this is just not interesting or whatever. And I hate these characters. There's one specific character that I never got around to liking, and I will talk about him in a bit. But
him.
As I kept playing the game, I was like, man, I'm getting more and more interested. Like, this is kind of good. Like, there are still some things I don't like about the game, but overall, like, it's a good game that gets in its own way sometimes. But overall, it's better than 999. I will say that now.
So I'm in a net positive now, baby. I got Sam to turn around. That was the biggest thing I want him to admit.
Sure.
Okay.
If I was fucked or not.
I mean, it's better than 999. So
That's not a bar, though. I think you said it last
That's
time.
a
I'm
very
like,
low
that's not a high bar, anyways.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
That's how we can end the podcast.
But Alex, what did you think about this game?
I fucking hated this game.
Wait, didn't you say in the chat that you liked it though?
But I'm kind of in the same boat as Sam. Where, like, I started the
Prologue.
first chapter, and I'm just like, I did it like as soon as we finished recording Catherine. I got the game the next day.
Oh, okay.
And I started it early. I'm like, this is so boring. I hate it.
Yeah.
And then the more I played it, the more I'm like, I want to know where this story's going. I don't agree that it's better than 999.
Wow.
Well, he was way more positive.
Yeah,
That's true,
but
that's
it's
true.
definitely a good game.
Yeah.
Not as good as 999.
It's not bad,
Yeah.
but that's not saying much.
Yes.
I'm glad you guys admit that I didn't suggest a bad.
It's still very boring at first, Omar. So
Oh yeah, that intro part is not good.
That doesn't affect me at all.
It doesn't get good
because your
till, like-
overall positives are still.
it doesn't get good till like
No,
halfway through the game.
But even then, like, there's still a lot of things that I don't like about this game.
That's fine. Like I don't like expect you guys. I thought you guys gonna shit on it more than you guys. Like I thought I was gonna be fucked. Like I was like, well, I'm just gonna be play pro like offense.
Yeah.
He
all
was
day
waiting
now.
for this class trial to the beta.
That's why I was like, fuck, I'm
Yeah.
fucked.
No. I mean, like, the things I liked about it in terms of the story was really good. There's some aspects of the story that I'm not really
Oh,
cool about. You know, I think it's
Get
kind of
into that.
stupid sometimes. Obviously, I mentioned some characters I really didn't like, but then some of them I actually grew to like a lot more than I thought I would. But the biggest issue with me with this game was presentation, like especially during the class trial segments. All this floating shit and all these things coming around, like, it's too much. Chill out a bit. Like, I understand the creator wanted to make it more intense and high paced, but I actually like the Ace Attorney games. I like how methodical and slow it is, and like it makes you think a lot. In this one, it's like, all right, so you got to shoot these words, but sometimes words come in front of it, so you got to time it right and slow down time, or shoot the words that are coming in front of it. And then sometimes there's a rhythm game section that's not a very good rhythm game. But anyway, sorry. But my least favorite mini game in general was like the Hangman's Gambit.
No,
like
it was
those were the
easy.
least interesting ones because they were so easy. It's like I knew the word.
I love the song for that though.
It's fun. But it's like so intense for like a fucking fill in the blank hangman thing. Like sometimes it's kind of weird how the music shifts, like during the during the class trial segment when you're shooting down words, it's got this really like amped up music. Shoot down the wrong word, or the right word, it goes like break, and then it like keeps playing the music, and then right before Makoto starts talking, it just stops playing and then switches to a much slower paced song, and I'm like, that transition's kind of rough. Like it's so weird going from like, yeah, I'm partying to, all right, so this is what happened.
you know, I disagree with you
Yeah.
by like a lot of what you said, to be honest.
That's perfectly fine.
No, Fight me.
I
Class trial.
I just like the Ace Attorney stuff more.
You start, like,
I'm sorry.
all you just see is fucking white words everywhere. You're like, wait a minute. I think the opposite. Where like I've seen my friend play Ace Attorney in front of me, and I'm like, this is so boring. Like it's just so like there's no fun to it. And maybe because I've already played Danganronpa.
Yeah.
But like to me, that's just like it just makes it interesting. Where like if it was just like, oh, let me reply to you real quick and let me find the thing all the time, I'd be like, this is boring. But like I think it gives you like things you can do while also like listening to the plot, so you're not, for me, like bored.
Yeah.
Where like one minute you gotta shoot a thing, the next minute like, oh, I gotta think big brain, I gotta have a brain blast moment.
Yeah.
The next I had to like do a multiple choice, not that hard, but like I'll talk about the difficulty of the game, making no difficulty.
Yeah.
But like I think to me that makes it more fun. And I think with the music thing I disagree, because it's like that time is supposed to be intense because you're trying to figure out where's the lie. So you're not supposed to be calm. You're supposed to be like,
Yeah.
No, I
freaking
understand,
out. And then when you transition, because now you're calm because you found the answer.
You
so
know
now you're
what-
like,
you know
I'm
what to
the
in.
say.
transition is so abrupt that it feels so like
I don't feel that.
It
No.
feels cheap.
I don't
at
think
least
that.
try to do fade to blacks or like fade out transitions when I edit audio.
Wow, this guy, just because he edits, now he's like, this editing is
No,
wrong.
yeah, actually, I've listened to like audio podcasts now, and I get weirded out by audio cues.
That's the
now.
issue when you make content. You notice the
Sam.
smaller
Like I
things.
listen to NPR and I hear a cut and I'm like, well, that was not good. That was awful. So like with this, when they would transition between songs, it was just a hard cut. It wasn't a fade out and then it would start playing the next song and fading in. And it bothered me personally. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
There's
I'm
nothing to
the audio-
sorry about, dude. It's your opinion.
I'm sorry I'm the audio freak with this.
You don't have to be sorry.
No, but I do like the methodical approach of the Ace Attorney game. So maybe that's just my thing. But Alex,
I think I'm gonna have to agree with Omar.
that's fine.
Cause I mean, I was thinking of it more like back in high school when we used to do like debates. Like that's how I would feel. Like I'd be like I'd be trying to gather my thoughts in my head. I mean,
No, that's wrong.
Hangman's Gambit in my
fucking
bed.
words floating. You're like,
yeah,
what
no,
the
everything's
fuck?
so intense. And then like when you're actually talking and like you're saying the stuff, you're more calm than when you're trying to think of what I'm going to say. And that's what the music cue like in between.
Yeah. I understand.
I feel that
the music choices are fine. It's the
and then the
that's my
transition
issue.
too. Like he's like you're
It's
transitioning
just the hard
between.
cut. It's literally the hard cut that fucks with me. I'm sorry.
He's more it's about the
Yeah.
technical aspect.
Yeah.
Like it's just the presentation.
But I think it works for this game.
it's like so nice, but sometimes it's like too much. Like like during the crash trials, there's like the HUD overlay of like a sphere kind of thing, and then there's like this weird text that's like circling through the screen that says class trial,
Yeah.
and then there's like things across the screen. Like it's so busy, and I'm like, just to show some text box like that someone's talking. Like I think it's too busy sometimes, but it's fine if they're trying to get an amped up, trying to excite people thing, you know.
There was like a thing like in a corner that just said class trial number 1 or 2 or 3, and I'm like, this doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, like it's a little too busy sometimes, but
Yes.
overall it doesn't hurt the game. It's just like a thing that's like, you had a good game and you could have made it a little nicer, but it wouldn't have made if you fixed that, it wouldn't have elevated it to a better game personally. Anyways, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe we should just specifically just talk about the characters, the most important aspect of this game. Omar, you have a kind of a list going on. I can see it on your computer behind you.
It just doesn't. I can remember their names. I forget names. As I mentioned before, I'm really bad with names in general.
Yeah.
Where like, if I don't, if a character doesn't say their name every like 100 seconds,
Yeah.
like
You're just gonna forget.
it is out one ear, out the other.
So you can kind of just tell us who this person is, what their ultimate is, and then I guess we can just talk about our general feelings about them.
Yeah.
No
I think
spoiler thoughts.
As well, I mentioned earlier with the translation, I have the Japanese names, not their characters. The characters' names are still the same.
Do their names
But,
change
like,
in
no,
between?
their names are still the exact same.
Okay.
It's just that the way they say it, but it's not important.
Yeah.
But their ultimate's title is different.
Oh.
For some of them are completely different, and
Yeah,
the other ones are kind of the same.
You can tell us both.
Yeah, so that's not.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm informing you. So you're
Okay.
like, what are you talking about? I have
Okay.
their English and Japanese ultimate names.
All right.
Cool. Well,
Before you start, I will say that I think there was too many characters in this.
there are too many. But it solves the problem by whittling
yes.
them down. I think they knew
Yeah.
exactly how many characters they wanted to live and which ones they did want to live, and they're like, everyone else can just die eventually.
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, let's start off first and foremost with, why don't we start with the protagonist? Or do you want to start with someone else, Omar?
Let me start with the protagonist. My own idea. No, I'm just
Whoa.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Makoto Naegi. I'd have to look for the list. I remember his name.
Mr. Naegi.
So he's the main character. We play as a little boy, my Naegi.
not-
Alex's favorite voice actor.
He's not a little boy.
Is he though? He looks like one. Alex is your favorite voice actor, isn't it?
Who?
Bryce Handrick, whatever.
Who?
Brad Pepper.
I don't know who that is.
You never seen Sword Art Online?
No.
Is this the Kirito guy?
Yes.
Oh, God,
He's in everything, and it's not that he's a bad voice actor. It's just that I'm tired of hearing that same voice coming out of every character.
Well, I think a lot of the characters that he plays look very similar.
He sounds like Kirito in this.
he's like a young boy almost all the time.
Nice.
Like a high school boy.
What was his ultimate title?
So English is the lucky student or whatever. And I think the Japanese
ultimate lucky.
The Japanese ones, they don't call them ultimates.
Oh, what are they?
They're super high school level.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big fan of that. That's a lot of words.
Well,
okay.
I do notice that they use super a lot for some other stuff, so maybe it just follows that.
And I think Danganronpa 2 is like called Super Danganronpa or something like that. So they love just using the word super in general.
I think so, yeah.
But like, so all of them are like called the super high school level and then
Blank.
something or whatever. His is the same as the who is his good luck.
Okay.
Because they don't just say student, they kind of just say like the thing itself or whatever.
Yeah.
I think Makoto, his character, like, because like obviously you're playing as him, so like his personality can only be so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I still think he has like obviously the whole luck thing going on with him.
He definitely has his own distinct character. He's not like a self-insert.
And I think with him though, it's like I mentioned it off pod where like he's short as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's because the game is supposed to be third person.
Oh.
So like you're supposed to be short enough where you can see like other characters, and like also to kind of show that he's like the Japanese, they call it herbivore men. They're like the guys who are like pussies. Okay. They're like they don't go after like they'll be like, oh man, women don't like me, but they don't actually ask out women.
By
they don't
that
do anything.
title, by that like phrase,
betas.
Yeah,
that's a better.
By that phrase, I thought you were gonna say he's like he doesn't eat meat.
That's a literal definition.
He's a vegetarian.
That's like the Japanese. They call men like him like herbivores, who are like not active and pursuing women. And
sure.
Okay.
So like they kind of show that like if he's smaller, then he's weaker than most of the other characters of this game.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if you guys know, like he has like a hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it's because like in the third person he's supposed to have the hoodie on, so you can't see him as much. So again, because it's like it's supposed to be you, the character. But as the game, as I mentioned, like the game goes on, like they kind of change that character, especially with the voice actress is a woman who does Makoto in this game. She like the way she did his voice. The guy was like, I'm gonna make him more strong-willed than he really was. He was gonna be like pussy, like pushed around all the time. He'd be like, oh shit, man. But like as the game went on, then when she did the voices, he was like, I had to make him more strong-willed than he actually was.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, you guys not played the other Danganronpa games. The main characters, it's kind of hard to judge them because it's like it's kind of you are trying to be the main character, but at the same time they have a personality.
Yeah.
So it's like it is difficult to do something like that. But I think the third game protagonist is probably the best way it's done. I won't go into it because it's a lot of spoilers. But like, character's probably the best. The second game, he's a bit more like natural, if you know what makes sense. Like he's not such a nice guy.
Okay.
Like he's just like a regular guy. And Makoto's is just so nice. It's like that to me that it does get annoying.
It felt almost fake. Like it's.
Which characters like in other medias we talk about like they bring that up, like they don't believe him because he's so nice.
Yeah, it's forced upon you.
Yeah, but I mean, like we've played other games that are like this, like Junpei from 909 or Vincent even, or
I feel like Junpei felt more like his own person.
Yeah, more so than Makoto, but Makoto seemed just like the ultimate, almost like the ultimate yes man.
Yes,
like, just going with whatever other characters are kind of telling him, believing them 100%, or sometimes doubting them. But he's like, I don't want to doubt them. Like I want to be their friend.
He only doubts them when they say he's the killer.
Yeah,
like I think he's like the prototype like anime main character where like they have to be nice and they have to be want to be friends with everyone, even though if those people are like fucking, and not in this case, well I guess it is like when people like murderers, like let's still be friends. You know what I mean? Like unless they're like those characters are just pure evil, like they're usually like let's just be friends, please.
Well, maybe that's why they chose Bryce Papenbrook to voice him in English, because they're like, oh well, this is the beta like whatever standard male.
If I heard his voice and I saw him in the streets, I would think he's a beta male. So, it worked a charm.
Next character, Omar.
My favorite character, no, it's not. Sayaka. I know, I can't pronounce names. Sayaka Mizuno. What?
Miyazono.
She's not Italian.
Yeah.
Mamma mia, Frecciolinonis.
Yeah, Sayaka Mizuno.
Ultimate pop sensation for an English, and that is the same as idol, because obviously they don't really America. We don't really have like idol kind of stuff. Idols. So, but for them, it's obviously she's an idol.
Yeah,
her character is like kind of she's basically like the prototypical like childhood friend character.
Yeah, but she's done interestingly. I mean, it's in the spoiler section. We'll talk a bit more about her, but in general, she's I guess you could call her like June from 999. Yeah, like the basic love interest woman character. But yeah, she doesn't really have a lot going on with her.
I think as well, we're like that. I know you guys like don't consume a lot of visual novels, so I'm the expert in this end. Where like when there's a character who's like super famous, but like the main character knew them when they were younger, and it's like that kind of gimmick does happen a lot.
Does it really?
Yes.
I mean, I think
so
a
like,
lot of visual novels are just very tropey.
Yeah. So like that, this kind of builds off of that, like where she's kind of that kind of character as well. And well, there's another character we'll talk about later, but like she was like the model for like most of the all the female characters. Like they made Sayaka's character first, like model wise, and all the like women characters are based off of her model.
Oh, okay.
So she's like the base model, not literally, but like the way to do the faces and like, the heights. Like she's like the prototype female character.
Yeah, the default.
Yeah, like she's kind of like the default character.
Yeah. I think that also goes into her character because she was used to introduce you to like the daily life mechanic and the deadly life mechanic. Like she's used to like she's almost like a tutorial.
Yeah,
she kind of feels also like Makoto, more like
she's like the first character that you hang out with. Yeah. So in general, she's used as you're in to get introduced to everything.
She's not as fleshed out as the others because of that, I believe.
Yeah, I think her character is like it sucks. 'Cause a lot of these characters like we can't say much because like a lot of it. I think a lot of this game I think it's perfect when you don't come in knowing shit.
Yeah,
like, if you don't know anything and you walk into this, it's perfect. I think.
Well, I did spoil some of it by myself. Again,
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
I've also got spoiled myself. Again, let's move.
Oh, me too.
Later. So the other character, the other prototype character I was bringing up, I didn't know he was an next on the list. I completely forgot. Leon Kawada.
Oh yeah,
the ultimate baseball player.
Okay.
The, super high school baseball is the same thing. His character is interesting because it's like he's like the first one where he doesn't give a he doesn't want to be the whatever he's the ultimate of. He's immediately like, no, I don't want to be the ultimate.
I don't want to play baseball. What are you
like
talking
this is
about?
dumb. But like his character, his design, obviously he's like a punk kid or whatever. Basically, he has longer hair. He has like braids and like piercings and shit.
Yeah,
like his character design. I think a lot of these characters like they're just unique. Like you see him from a distance, you're like that's Leon, that's Sayaka, that's Makoto. You can't even see Makoto, but like you can like you see that guy from a distance. You cannot confuse this man with anyone else.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, he's the male version prototype, where like they base off of the male characters off him a lot. I don't know if you guys want to say anything more.
I don't know. He wasn't really my favorite. I don't have
he's
much
not a very memorable character.
Yeah, I don't have much of an opinion on him.
Kyoko Kirigiri,
the best character
in this game. In the beginning, you don't know her ultimate. She doesn't tell you shit, so you can't really. There's no Japanese, I guess, super high school level question mark.
Spoiler.
Yes.
Yeah. We can't really talk about it. Well, just because she's a very closed.
Yeah, she's very like quiet character.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting with her though, because we're like. She's wearing like fucking like her clothes,
her outfit, and the way she acts kind of gives it away. Pretty
it really does.
Yeah.
So it's not hard if you're a smart person.
If you're a normal, logical thinking human being, and you're not me who walks in like brain off. I know nothing of life. I'm going to play this.
If
game.
you do her free time stuff like I did, like right after the beginning, honestly, you also know.
Like after the first chapter, if you don't know what her fucking ultimate is, like
come on, you can't beat this game if you can't figure it out. I'm sorry.
This next guy, Jesus. Byakuga?
Byakuya.
I always call him Byakugan because of the fucking
Naruto thing. In your notes, do you have anything? He's like, okay, so I'll quickly describe him before I get into it, but he's like kind of the pompous rich dude. He believes he's above everyone else. He comes from a very, very wealthy family.
Yes.
Is he like at all based on Seto Kaiba? 'Cause I got those vibes from him.
He does kind of like have that like Seto Kaiba character. Real quick, this is one of the characters I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this means. The affluent prodigy.
Oh, that makes sense. He's like the really smart, really rich.
That's the English version.
Yeah.
The Japanese version, the super high school level heir.
That's he is the heir to a thing. That makes sense.
I'm saying the English version. I didn't know what the fucking affluent whatever meant. So I was just like, I don't know.
Look up affluent.
Yeah, no, I will do again. I play these games. I had nothing.
I'm pretty sure Makoto tells you what
I think
it is.
He does.
No, I know what he was, but when I read that description, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything to me.
You went, but like, if it's not 4 letters,
this is like one of those things where I'm like, they were pulling on loose straws. Where like Ultimate Heir, where like he's just a rich kid.
Yeah.
Like that's not
fine.
a talent.
It's like
no, but it's like it's a different personality. He's Seto
that's not like a ultimate
he even
though.
looks kind of like Kaiba.
Like to me that's where I'm like, this is weird.
I don't think so.
Where like I'm like, what does that mean? Like everyone else has a talent.
Mm-hmm.
What is his talent? He's rich.
Well, yeah, but
and
I
that's
mean,
it.
like
he was born into rich. Not even like that's not a talent.
And that's the difference maker for him. Like because he's born with a silver spoon up his ass, and that's what makes him different than everyone else.
But no, I feel like you put the English name in there too. He's like a prodigy.
Yeah.
He's just better than the rest of the other heirs.
He's like a top tier. Like he's not some like rich kid who's like vacationing in Lake Geneva.
Yeah.
Like no, I get it.
Like this dude is smart.
I'm not saying I didn't know that. I'm just saying like I was just like
you thought
like,
it was
that's
weird
just weird
compared.
that like everyone else like Kiwata's like the best baseball player. Aizenou's an idol, and then he's like I'm just a guy who was born rich.
Yeah.
And then he had things given to him that he could actually do or whatever. I think like anyone could be that.
That's
if
true.
they were born in his position.
That's true.
That was like I'm not saying like
maybe that's why they changed his name.
Yeah.
I do
Or his
like his
ultimate.
character, to be fair.
I do like
his character.
I hated him at first, but I ended up liking him.
And I think his one of his voice lines, I just say it all the time, where he's like, naturally.
Naturally.
He says it all the time. And ever since, I always think about that.
No, honestly, like the moment I made the connection to Seto Kaiba, I was like, oh, this guy's great. Like now I like him because he's Kaiba.
I like him more now because of that.
Yeah. So, who's next?
Aoi Ashiyama. I don't know if I said her last name right.
Aoi Asahina.
I couldn't read. I'm
Hina?
sorry.
Yeah.
I love
This
Hina.
fucking thing is like letters are so
That's
tight.
best girl
I can't
number
see
2,
shit.
right?
I guess.
For who?
For Alan.
In general.
Her Japanese one's almost the same thing as the English one, like the ultimate pro swimmer. But I think the thing they don't really bring up a lot, where she's like, they say it, where like she's basically an athlete in anything.
Yeah, she's
where like she's not just a swimmer, but like that's just like the thing she does or whatever.
Yeah,
I think her character, I was like, you look like an ice cream cone because of her hair. Like
yeah,
her
she kind of
hair.
does. Yeah,
A lot of the hairs, I associate an image with these characters, and
Ice
she was like
cream
one of the
cone.
first ones because her hair is really long,
But
like upwards at least.
but I think it's character design 101. Like, if
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
identify somebody from a shadow. Like, there you
I
go.
just thought it was funny because she looks like an ice cream cone.
It is funny,
Especially
yeah.
because like she's dark skinned as well, so like it just looks like a chocolate like ice cream cone or whatever.
I just figured it was part of her personality because she's kind of like the athlete who eats. a
Yeah.
lot.
Like,
Yeah.
She's the athlete. Like so usually like they're tan because they're outside all the time. or
I wasn't talking
whatever.
about the tan. Just like because her hair is shaped like an ice cream cone because she eats a lot and she likes sweets and all that stuff.
She likes donuts.
She likes donuts, not
She
ice
loves
cream.
donuts.
Why did you have a donut head then?
Because that would look goofy as hell.
like every other character in this game, everyone was just as
Yeah.
goofy. Honestly.
Yeah, I guess so.
If she had a donut head, I would be like, all right.
I think I started to like her more when I found out who her voice actor is.
I don't even who is that?
Morgana.
Morgana.
Oh,
She's
okay.
Morgana.
I didn't like her more because of that. She just naturally just grew on me over time.
Yeah, that too.
No, if I associate with Morgana, I'd hate her. I'd like her less.
You would
I'd be
hate
like,
Morgana.
Yeah, I don't like Morgana.
Have
I
you
think I
seen?
played this before Danganronpa.
Have you seen
Persona
Morgana's
anyways.
voice actress?
That doesn't change the
She's
voice.
smoking.
All right, Alex. You're weird perversions. This is 2D.
We're not going to use our platform to just call out hot women, okay? Moving on. What's the next character?
Mondo Owada.
Another hot woman.
Dude, Mondo.
The ultimate bike gang leader. I think the Japanese version, they just call him a gang leader. They don't even mention bikes.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just a gang leader, which I
Yeah.
think it makes more sense English-wise to say bike, since
Okay.
he's putting a fucking bike thing all the time.
kind of gangs, yeah.
Yeah. His character, I don't know if you guys like noticed.
Yes,
that,
we did. it's the thing I pointed out, right?
What?
The
He's
reference?
Just a walking JoJo reference.
His gang.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Crazy
Crazy
Diamond gang.
Diamond.
Yeah.
And he has Josuke's hair. He has a jacket similar to
Well, to be
Jotaro's.
fair, that's a prototype character in Japan, anyways. Like the delinquent character.
Yeah,
they're
with
naturally
a
have they have those.
pompadour.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
I'm not saying Joshi's not the original,
I mean,
like, but is it his like?
just look
he's
at
like a
him.
The way
Just look at him.
Mondo's pompadour sucks ass. Like it looks so weird, especially from
The
the side.
color.
Yeah, the
I
color.
like the color as much.
The side views, it doesn't look good. And I was talking to Diego. I'm like, Diego, does this look like Al Pastor, like on the side?
Oh my god!
Like red with like bumps on it. It's Al Pastor.
People who don't know what that means. That's pork.
It's like a pork.
taco.
Yeah, it's a kind of a
meat.
pork that's like put on a
taco
skewer and cooked like in a round thing. But yeah, the texture of like Al Pastor on the kebab thing
Yeah.
looks like Mondo's hair to me.
I'm glad I'm not playing this game again, so I don't have to see that ever. That visual is a strange visual.
It is an extremely strange visual, but his hair looks like shit, man. Like, I'm sorry. Thankfully, he's not like Josuke and he's not going to beat me up for it.
Well, in this case, he might beat you
He
up.
might
You say
beat me
some
up
shit like
for it,
that too.
actually.
Honestly, you don't
Yeah.
have to say that. He'll just beat you up or whatever.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the aggressor. I think he's like the tallest guy too.
I think so, yeah.
Cause he's like when you stand with him as Makoto, you have to like crack your neck and be like, oh shit, Mondo, what's up?
Big bro, what's up?
Oh god, this character. This is one of my least favorite characters.
Who?
Toko Fuwaka.
Oh, Toko.
I do not like
kinda
her
liked
character. She's the ultimate writing prodigy. The literature girl is the Japanese version.
She was
It's the
fine.
I did not like her.
I liked her late in the game.
Yeah,
My
I
opinion-
understand that.
My opinion never changed when I was playing as her. No, in the beginning, I won't lie, I was debated, and after like 10 minutes, I'm like, never again.
Yeah, there's certain aspects of her that I'm like, nah.
No,
I'm
her
good.
her introduction kind of. She's like, "Are you undressing me with those eyes?" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
Ma'am, yes.
But later
What
in
are
the
you gonna do
game,
about it?
later in the game, you find something out about her, and I like that better.
Yeah.
That she's still ugly. God,
She's ugly on the inside
and on the outside. And she smells.
And
It's a character trait that she has.
Stinky, stinky.
It is a character trait.
character
It is. I remember.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I think he's probably one of my favorite male characters.
Who?
Kiyotaka Ishimura.
I love Taka.
I love that guy. He's so great.
I don't
the
like.
boy.
I don't
So
like.
this
him.
one's the Japanese translation is a little. Sam's like, oh, you're what a fool! I'll fight you too.
Yeah, I really like the death stare.
It's the ultimate moral compass is the English version, and the Japanese one it's the public morals committee member. In Japan, that's like a normal thing. They have
Like
those kind of
committee.
like committee members. He's kind of just like the hall monitor.
It would have been nice if it was just like the model student or something.
Yeah, like
that would
moral
be cool.
compass is like that's like a figurator, like a metaphor of like talent. That's a weird thing to be a talent of.
Yeah, model
Yeah.
student would have made more sense.
It's
But
like if you
anyway.
call like Leon like the ultimate baseball, like just a ball. Like he's not a player, he's just a ball. But
The
you
ultimate
get it,
baseball.
though. Yeah, his character is so fun. I think because like he's just the antithesis of like every other character.
Yeah.
because he's just so straight and narrow and antisocial. He doesn't understand like social things.
Yeah.
he's just. I think he's perfect as well. Did you recognize his voice actor, Alex? He's in Persona as well.
Persona. Taka is in Persona.
Yes,
Who is it?
he's Mishimakun.
Oh,
I like Mishima.
Junpei.
He's
He's Junpei.
in what?
Is it?
In 3?
No, in fucking 999.
No,
Isn't he
Santa's. He's
Oh,
Santa.
right.
Oh,
was like,
right.
I like Santa.
Yeah, that's the same
too.
voice.
My bad.
He's
I
the same
like
voice
all
actor.
these characters.
He's the voice. I think it's great because like he's just like he's more aggressive in this.
Yeah.
Like, he does not have a tone down. He just like constantly just like. It's not that he's yelling. He just sounds angry.
Yeah, he's
but
like,
just like his natural.
You were 10
Yeah.
minutes late to the meeting, man. What the fuck?
like we don't know who we are, but what the fuck, dude? There's rules.
What are you doing? We gotta be here at breakfast.
Oh god, he's one of my other least favorite characters.
Sam's least favorite.
Hifumi Yamada.
There you
God,
go.
I fucking hate
I see you
this
got
kid.
nothing written there.
Yeah. Oh, this is a protest. I think it's one of the things where like the translations are difficult. Where like in English he's the ultimate fanfic
Yeah.
Okay.
creator, and in Japanese he's like the doujin author.
Oh.
And like in English that's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
Doujin's kind of like.
Oh, no, I know what a dojo
Yeah, I
is.
know, but I have to explain to people who don't know.
I don't.
Yeah, Alex. They're basically it's basically like fan fiction, but it's open in Japan, where like people make mangas of like already created things, and then they have a convention that's basically like Comic-Con,
Uh-huh.
but for them, so I think it's like Comet.
Oh,
and they
Comic-Con.
have Comet, yeah, and they have like I think 2 times a year, and like they're fucking. It's like that thing's like bigger than like anything in America convention wise.
Yeah.
And it's like they make money off of it, and people are praising them as opposed to like fanfics. They're like,
look down
like if
on
I said, and I'm a fanfic writer, like people would be like, you guys would be like, you fucking loser.
Yeah.
But like over there, it's like it's so much more open,
Okay.
and like people don't like care as
So
much.
you dislike this character because he's you.
Yeah, I want to make a joke that he's basically the natural Danganronpa fan is Hifumi.
We've given too much time to this character
I
already.
hate this fucking character. Like, ignore the fact that he's like obese, which is so funny. That is actually really fun. That he's like just morbidly fat.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt he can see his own feet.
And
Yeah.
he's stupid.
And he's...
There's like a handful of times he just says something smart. But other than that, and it's so
No.
gross
Is
that his
there?
hands are bigger than his like anything.
I don't know. I never looked at his
His arms are like sticks, and then his hands are fucking massive because he points sometimes, and his hands are just fucking massive.
Yeah, I don't
They're
remember
gross.
that.
Oh, God.
The only thing I do like about his face, he looks like a hamster.
I'm sorry. this
Next character.
sucks.
I actually like this character a lot. Sakura Ogami.
Okay.
yeah, Sakura-
I
she's
like
cool.
her a lot. She's the ultimate martial artist, ultimate fighter in
Yeah.
the Japanese version. His character is like I'm sorry. I'm like every other character. I
Excuse
called her
me?
he.
It's
Yeah.
a her.
She's very interesting. I think I genuinely like her a lot.
Yeah.
Because again, she's also like she's normal.
Mhm.
Like even though she's an ultimate, she's just not eccentric as every other character.
I gotta say one thing about her, though. Does her character, like... her art design looked different than the other characters. I got a lot of like Dragon Ball Z vibes from her.
No, so her character, there was like a lot of like, that wasn't that crazy, but like the debate how they should make her. Mm-hmm. The original creator, he wanted her to be how she looks basically, but the other ones when they wanted to draw her to be more.
They want her more lean.
Yes.
Okay.
And some of them were just making him a guy, just make it a guy in general.
Yeah.
And I think in the Distrust like version of the game, she looks completely different. Like she kind of looks like a dude basically, but like skinnier, not as muscular, but she's still buff. She kind of looks like Mondo, just like with a skirt basically. But like her character now is like she's like a beefcake.
Yeah.
Like she's bigger than everyone by like a mile or whatever.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
But there's quickly back to Fume, a fact I learned by reading. He has the biggest chest out of every Danganronpa character in all Danganronpa, even including Sakura.
Okay.
Which show how fat that guy is.
Nice.
But her character as well, like there are designs of her. I'll show you guys later. Where like there is her like where she's just black. Like she's a black character.
Oh, okay.
And she's just a bodybuilder, not even a martial artist.
Huh.
And then there are models of her when she's skinny. Like like how everyone else looks like, but she's still like but she has the hair and she's pale. So there are like there's multiple designs of her. She probably has like the character with maybe the most designs and like the kind of because again her character's like they're debating how they should want to make her.
Yeah,
I think the way she made her, I think is perfect because she's unique. Like she's just not just like every other like she's not just super skinny. She's not like a fat either. She's just all muscle. Yeah, fucking like a tank. But then her character like is the opposite of that.
Yeah, she definitely stands out a lot more than the other characters.
I feel like she'd be like the fan least favorite. And
a lot of people like her.
Yeah, I know that now.
Yeah, you
like,
think that, right?
after playing the game, but like just thinking it, like when I went in, I'm like, she's gonna die like first. Come on.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But like, I think as well, where like you looking at her, that sounds mean, but like you're not like, oh yeah, like I want her, like you know what I mean? Like every other character, you can kind of think that way, but her it's not. But I think that kind of shows how like I like her character, and it's not. I just like her character. Yeah. Just to begin with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just really care more about the inside than the outside.
Well, she's just not a stereotypically like anime character. Yeah. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, she's the babe. Like,
and usually like women are drawn obviously more feminine.
Yeah.
So sometimes even boys are drawn feminine.
Well, I mean, there's a joke that like she
people think she's a guy. There's a character who still thinks she's a guy until the first trial. Yeah. And he calls her a guy. Yeah. I think your character immediately finds like, oh, it's a girl. I'm glad I didn't say anything or whatever.
Yeah.
My favorite character's up next, Celeste Ludenberg.
Okay.
The ultimate gambler, the exact same thing. Japan.
She's cool.
I think her character design is also unique because she's like obviously just like she pale as white. She's just white at this point. Like not even like she's literally just white.
Yeah.
She's wearing the Lolita clothes. She's basically like a female Chinubi. I don't know if you guys know what Chinubis are.
I know what a Chinubi. Have you ever seen Love Chinubi on Other Delusions?
No, I don't like that.
It's a good show.
I'll explain what Alex, because again he does not know. They're basically like people who are older than like middle schoolers who like pretend they have superpowers. Usually, like people who are like, I have to activate my secret eye ability, but they're just regular kids. So they're pretending. No. I'm just saying that like. She's pretending to be something she's not.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Not a spoiler. Like the melee character questions that's not her real name, Celeste Ludenberg, because she's Japanese. But then she's like, no, I'm European. This is why my name. But like you can tell her that's not her fucking name. So she's kind of like a female of a stereotypical Chinubi character. Because in Danganronpa 2, there's a character exactly like her, but just male version. But he's more eccentric about it. But she's kind of just like she wants to be European. Like she looks like a doll, like on purpose, or what. She acts like a Victorian. Like she says like proper words and like. Like giggle shit like that. Cut me laughing like a girl. That's weird. I do like her, and I like her hair as well.
I think the thing I like about her the most is actually the ring she has on her finger.
Her jewelry. The artist mentioned that like cool. He loved her character, but hated drawing her because she has so much shit going on.
Yeah,
we're almost there. We literally have like 3 more characters. Another least favorite character, Yashihiro Hagakura.
You didn't like Yashihiro, man?
That man is a man, first of all. I have to say that. He's an adult.
He is an adult.
They say that immediately. He's 21. And these guys are like high schoolers, and he's like, I'm 21.
I got held back a couple times, okay?
I forgot to say real quick, sorry. Ultimate Clairvoyant.
Yeah. Okay.
In Japanese, they just call him fortune tellers. Same fucking shit. Anyways, go ahead.
If this game wasn't made for the kids, he'd be the ultimate stoner.
Yeah, he's basically that. Like, he's just like all these characters, he's kind of like a Fume, where he just kind of just says random ass shit, and you're like, why are you talking?
They're actually in my notes. I have a couple times where I'm like, why the fuck is he here, like saying this?
And but his character is like his design, his hair is just wild.
Yeah. It's all over the
They're
place.
literally just like needles for hair. He's like Sonic. He just fucking has like these fucking quills
Like
just stabbing up.
Sonic.
And he's also actually my thing. He might be taller than Mondo. I don't know. He's also really tall.
Yeah.
But the fair, he's 21. I do love he's no shame either. He's like, yeah, I'm 21. I got held back. No long story. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, man.
And I was like, all right, buddy. Here's my original favorite character. I'll talk more about what happened with her. Junko Ishida. There's another weird
Isn't
one
it
with a
Juko
translation.
Enoshima?
Again, this is one of the things I pronounce it how I read it.
Yeah.
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly. Her translation is a little bit weird as well because she's called the ultimate fashionista, but in Japanese it's different. I apologize for butchering this word. I can never pronounce this word.
What?
Gyaru.
Oh.
I always say gyro, even though I know that's not as pronounced.
Yeah.
It's spelled completely differently.
Okay.
But that is like that word means like there's no. I don't know how to properly describe it with one word. But to describe it, it's basically like it's a fashion sense.
Yeah.
Over in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
where like it's usually women, but men can do it too. Where like they usually are tanned skin and they have blonde hair because normally Japanese people don't have blonde hair, they just have black hair.
Yeah.
Or brown, so they blonde their hair or they dye it another like wacky color, like
It's
pink or
usually
whatever.
bleached.
Yeah, they bleach it a different color. They're kind of like what the stereotypical people think of like it sounds, I don't know, something offensive,
It's
but
like
it's like a white girl. No, like they're acting like
Japanese.
they're white facing, I guess,
Yeah,
but not
yeah.
really though.
They're like trying to be like, like super on trend. And
Yeah, like
trying
they're
to-
like they talk like with like the whole like, oh my god, like that's how they, but in Japanese, like it's completely different. But like that's kind of me explaining it to you, you can make sense to you.
Yeah.
And they have a certain fashion style. Way that she looks is kind of how they naturally look. Like that's like their style.
Except she doesn't have the darker skin. So I'm
No,
kinda
but
curious.
that's not everyone though.
Oh, okay.
That's not like that's just like there is that is
general-
a
usually
type,
when you
whatever.
see it,
Yes,
yeah.
It's kind of like punk was a fashion sense for a long
That-
time. Like that like people like would like make their skin whiter and then like they put lipstick on. Like that's kind of how like gyro was for them. But like early on, like in like I think the 70s.
I know what it is. You're looking at me. I know what it is.
No, I know. I'm explaining. Like,
I know
so
the
like,
inspiration behind Jinx the Pokemon.
But I think, but back then it was like now it's not as popular as it was back then. But again, since 2009, it's like,
Yeah.
and even then it's still characters like they make characters like
It's
that
still-
thing or whatever.
It's still something that's in the public.
Yeah, it's not like it's like a
no.
nobody or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of like I mentioned, like it's kind of like like if a character makes like a punk model, like obviously like punk's not a thing like big as it is now as it was back then, but you would recognize it. So like that I understand why you wouldn't translate that to English because that's a weird thing to translate. Or whatever.
For sure, that makes sense.
I think her character is funny because like I guess not spoilers. Like the beginning, she's literally like, "You don't look the same," and she's just like, "Dude, it's like Photoshop, bro." Like, what don't you understand about that?
Yeah,
It's like funny because like now it's like even bigger. Like people
Yeah.
like Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian,
There's
shit
so
like
much
that,
of
where they're
that,
just
yeah.
like, "Oh, she's so beautiful," but like, have you seen like what the pictures actually look
Yeah.
like? That shit just like
There's a lot of
was
Photoshop
scuffed
on
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh, do you have one more character, or is that the last one?
Sam, you didn't notice who the last character I haven't brought up? I purposely put this character last.
Oh, my waifu?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow, what a fake fan. You didn't even remember. You didn't even notice it. Chihiro Fujisaki,
Hell
Ultimate
yeah.
Programmer. The same thing, the other one as well.
A woman after
Okay.
my own heart.
I think she's like the smallest character as well.
I think so, yeah.
She's like short. I think you might be taller than her. I don't remember.
It was one of those things where like I immediately saw her character and like got her character introduction. I'm like, oh, you're gonna be the one. I'm like,
You're like, I'm in.
I'm in immediately.
Yeah, no, I saw her. I'm like, this is gonna be Sam's favorite.
I didn't even think. I think because I was like, I can't even imagine what your characters like. Who you guys would even attach yourselves to.
Yeah.
I didn't think Chihiro's gonna be that one for you.
Really?
I don't know. I was just like I couldn't even think who you would like or not. Maybe because I thought like you weren't gonna like it anyways. You're gonna be like, I'm not gonna like it.
I'm gonna
anymore.
hate like
Yeah.
play this game.
So
Yeah,
were
yeah.
you like probably not gonna like it?
Well, I
anymore.
mean, even when we played 999, he said his favorite.
Yeah, I did.
Who?
The belly dancer lady.
You don't remember her name? Wow, fake fan. No,
Oh,
I'm
I
just
didn't
kidding.
like 999.
Yeah, her character. Again, I can't talk much anyways, but like, she's just basically like the cute character. Like you just see her and you're just like, I'm in or whatever.
Yeah, she's like a very like she keeps to herself but different than Toko because Toko is like shuts herself down from conversation but like
She's just
Chihiro
socially
is, like-
awkward.
She's
Yeah.
shy.
she's just shy and
She's like cute shy as opposed
Yeah.
to Toko's annoying shy.
yeah
Yeah.
but at the same time she wants to like be useful to the conversation and help people out.
And I think with like her like I forgot to bring this up with Aoi where like her design. I think maybe because what happened we talked about.
Yeah.
I forgot to bring that up.
Yeah.
Where like they were debating on her and Chihiro because Chihiro is like she's kind of the stereotypical like a little sister character because again she's like the smaller character. or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Like almost borderline the same from the original one to this one.
Okay.
I actually disagree, Alex. This is such a long time ago now. You were like, "There's too many characters." I actually think like I wish there were a little bit more characters, like maybe 2 more characters or 1.
Let me rephrase that. At first, I thought it was too many characters.
Are you talking about at first in general before they die, or like are you just saying like?
I think
like,
I would have personally liked to spend more time with each.
Yeah,
character.
that's
I do agree with
game
that.
starts, I'd like to spend more time with the characters.
I agree and disagree. Maybe we'll talk about that more with spoilers because a lot of this game. I think we probably the most we talk about is this is the end point. Honestly,
yeah.
Where like Max, I can kind of just say like, I think Sam might have brought this up earlier. Where like the plot, it is interesting because like a mystery to me is like. You want to answer it, and if it works well enough, you want to keep following the story, and you want to actually answer it. But I think to me, once you get to that answer, it's unsatisfying for me. 100%. The answer to me, I like was like, really, this is the answer. Yeah, and I hated it. That didn't affect me somehow, which is rare because I think the endings if they don't land for me, I'm like, this is dumb. Mm-hmm. I think I enjoyed the journey enough where I'm like, I'm fine, but the ending, I'm just like. Oh, this is it. Yeah. Like this is the explanation for everything, and I'm just like this. Oh, okay. And I think as the game was going on, I was beginning to think not that the end specific ending was gonna happen because there's no way I would have guessed that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I was like, is it going like this isn't going a good direction. I'm not liking the direction we're going right now. Mm-hmm. And as the game kept, especially at the last chapter 6, where they tell you everything. I'm like, this isn't going well, is it? Yeah. And then the ending, and I'm just like, oh fuck. Well, here, now we've talked about all the characters. I've kind of briefly talked about how I feel about class trials. I don't know, Omar, Alex, if you guys have some general thoughts about the game, I'd love to hear them. No. I think we discussed. I have no opinion. You want to get into spoilers? Yeah, I want. Yeah, we probably might have to it's just a jump in. That's fine. Then let's just take a break and then we'll jump right into spoilers. Well, let's probably talk if we want to recommend this game or not. Oh yeah, it's so funny. I forgot about that segment. The one guy who keeps reminding me every episode forgot it, even though I don't know why you keep reminding me. Yeah, I keep forgetting. It's funny, right? Because I think when Catherine. I would like all dance Danganronpa, and I was like, "Fuck!" Shit. And I think me playing it again, it rekindled my love again. Really? I think when I played it, I would say I loved it. And as time goes on, I didn't like it as much. And then me playing it again, I'm like, "No, I'm in." Now I know why. I remember why I liked it. Mm-hmm. I think I've become too cynical in a lot of my views, and it's like I became more cynical in this game. But now that I played it again, I'm like, but the fun I had, like it's emboldened you. Yes, I'm like. It's like the anime thing where like when you're old and you do something when you're a kid, you're like, oh, you have that memory again. And I'm like, oh man, I remembered all of this. I'm like, I had so much fun. This is fun. I do like this game. Yeah. That doesn't change my opinion on the plot. Yeah. It does. I think it fumbles the bag in my opinion. I recommend it. I've recommended it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you asked me, post Catherine, me playing this, I would be like, no, don't recommend it. Me not playing it again, I'm like, no, 100% recommend this again. Yeah. I understand why I put this on the list. But if a friend came up to you and was like, should I get Catherine or Danganronpa? I say Danganronpa. Really? No, I just wanted you to get mad. I was hoping Sam would be like, I'm not gonna get mad, but I am like interested. Like, no, well, like I think it depends. Like it depends what friends you have. It's a lot of. It's one of those things that I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm trying to defend Danganronpa. It's just like some people just like certain things, other people don't like. If you know that person, if I had a coworker who was an anime fan who likes anime, and they were like, oh, I have Catherine, I have Danganronpa. What should I play first? I would probably say Danganronpa. So when you play Catherine, you'll probably like it more. And that's not me trying to shit Danganronpa. It is that Catherine is just so fucking good. Yeah. And if you play that first, then Danganronpa, which is what you guys end up doing. You're ruining Danganronpa. I'm not saying this changed your opinion or anything. It's probably as much. Yeah. But like Catherine just it's like when you make a peak thing. Yeah. And then anything else beyond that, after that, you're just fucked. Which that still, I understand why I was still like, fuck, why am I the next one? Especially as an anime game. It's like a visual novel too. I'm like, fuck. I wish it was a filler. Yeah. I wish there was like a buff period. Mm. And then it would be me and like maybe it wouldn't be as bad. But literally last game we played was Catherine, which is the fucking best game. Yeah. And now I'm like, fuck. So yes, I would say play Danganronpa first, probably because it's worse. Yeah. And then you play Catherine. Well, here, I'm going to be actually a little more positive than you, I would say. Because like, if I have a friend who's like really into anime or even kind of into anime, I would probably recommend Danganronpa. Like, it's not a bad idea, especially if they're not super into playing video games, which I know a lot of people that like that. Like, they like anime, but they don't like video games as much. So this is a very entry-level game for somebody to play. It's not that difficult, especially if you're on the easier difficulties. It's not recommended. You don't need to manage 2 different sticks and like inventories and all this stuff going on. It's very simple, right? And I think it's not a bad time.
but I can't recommend this to somebody who's like a gamer who like plays 2K and Call of Duty all the time. Like
yeah, like fucking they're playing Apex. They got like 3 monitors and shit.
Like
they're just like, oh,
you have the prerequisite for this game is you have to like anime. Like I don't think if you
100%.
if you don't like anime or you're even kind of on the fence, this is not the game that will get you to like it. Because you'll see
you probably like shit on it more.
Yeah, you'll be bored at the beginning, and then you see Hifumi, and you're like, I hate this game because this character's a fucking weirdo.
this is everyone who recommended me this game is Hifumi.
So you recommend it?
I would recommend it
to a certain audience
if you're an anime fan. Okay, but that's it.
I also the same thing. Like I would not recommend it to like a dude who does not know anything about anime, and I was like, play Danganronpa.
Hey, you should play Danganronpa.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys because. Honestly, I'm intrigued. I'm in for the ride. I want to play the next 2.
Yeah, and I'm glad about the trilogy because I'm curious.
I will say, I think I've said before. Like, I think the second one is my favorite.
Okay,
it is better.
Okay,
but we'll talk about spoilers from some other
when we talked about 999, you told me play the second one. Not the third one. Is this the case too?
No, first of all, I wouldn't even recommend the second one because you were just like, and I'm like, sure, but I'm like, the second one's worse.
Okay,
999 is the peak. Which says much.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's. I think we all have our recommendations. I'm more alleviated than I thought I would ever be. So I'm in the positive again. But I guess we'll take a quick school break. I hear the recess bell ringing.
It's lunchtime.
Yeah. Let's go
People have recess in high school. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Heya! I'm Aoi Asahina, but my friends just call me Hina.
Wow, man, lunch was great. I don't know. Did we have lunch?
I'm stuffed.
Oh, I'm gonna vomit again.
Can't take another bite.
God, guys, I have to tell you, it's honest truth. I hate this game. It fucking sucks.
Trying to play footsie with me, Sam?
I'm trying to do more than just play footsie.
I haven't played footsie since middle school.
Like these characters.
So, general spoiler thoughts.
Prerequisite. Before people want to call us out that we're child predators, these characters are technically 18. Not in a legal aspect, like plot-wise, they are 18.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because you learn early.
Oh, yeah.
You learn later that they're.
I totally forgot.
Time has been erased.
Yeah.
And in Japan, they start high school when they're 16 because they only have 3 years.
And they're 2 years.
So it's 2 years. So now they're 18.
Yeah.
So. We're not the bad guys here. I'm just saying that. Preface it. Maybe we should put that in the beginning. I don't know. So people don't arrest us. No, I just want to say that now, so people have that in their head that I'm not a fucking weirdo.
So should we start from chapter 1? Though?
I jerk off a lot. Not to this though. I just wanted to bring that up.
Just in general.
It's a general thought.
I mean,
all right. So. The beginning, I do agree. The prologue is really fucking boring.
Yeah.
Especially how Makoto's like a little dick sucker.
He's like I was talking to Diego about it, and it's like in the early 2000s, like, my name is blah, 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 and I'm blah years old, and I'm going to blah, blah, blah high school, and here's everybody I'm going to school with, and then just talking about them. And I'm like, this is...
Him gushing about these kids.
Lame.
You're a loser.
Yeah.
I did watch the first episode of the anime.
That's all he does, right?
No, they...
they cut it out?
They completely glanced over that, and every time
I watched all 12 episodes.
Every time you meet a new character, there's just like a character sheet pops up, and I think that would have been better.
That's kind of cool, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you find out what you need to know, but, like... If you want to read that is, but like you'll meet the character throughout the story. You'll learn what you need to.
I think what they were trying to do was like set up the world, because this world kind of isn't normal. Obviously, where like this whole ultimate concept and blah blah. I just think they just went too fanboy.
Yeah,
where like they're going it through Makoto's eyes, who's just like a fucking like super fanboy about this shit.
Like they hung on to that just
too much.
Yeah,
and I've always hated when characters like I'm just average normal boy.
Yeah,
he says like I'm the average guy like so many fucking times.
I wonder why they're picking me for this school.
I'm just a normal, and every time you see another character, he's like, oh man, they're so much more talented than me.
Yeah.
I'm a loser. I was like, fuck, man. Stop showing me a mirror to myself.
Yeah. I also took note of just some of the wording. Like, sometimes the translation is fine, and sometimes, like, they use weird, like, when he talks about falling asleep, it's either, like, when he's about to fall asleep or right when he wakes up, he's like, I think I zonked off there. I'm like, what is that?
There's so many visual novels I've played. They translate some shit so wild.
Yeah.
You know, like the Japanese, like when they either like eat tamaki, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
There's some of them. Sometimes they say that. There's some of them. I makes me. The one guy's like rub a dub dub trying to eat some grub.
Itadakimasu thing.
Yeah.
I've seen some that
it's
are
so
like,
funny.
that are just like, oh, thank you for the food.
Yeah, that's just what. That's fine. No, That's some guy be like, rub-a-dub, scrub-a-dub, tell me eat this food, scoop-a-doo-bop. And I was like, what the fuck am I reading?
That's his fucking super mega pit. I'm sure Matt went.
So.
I think he said.
Oh yeah. Matt does that all the time. Yeah, Itadaki.
Maybe he plays
he says it badly.
Yeah, but there was one time where he said the
rub-a-dub. You're right, he did say that.
I would have.
Time for some grub.
Maybe he's a visual novel lover like I am.
And then it starts off once you fall asleep. Then you wake up and you're introduced to all the students. We've already talked about everybody.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I think it's interesting because like, you're showed the pictures, the CGs are a bit different art style because like there's a bit more time. They had more details or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember when I saw the CGs of the characters, because when you meet them, you meet the CG first. And I thought that was going to be the art style, even though I've already seen the cover of the game.
Yeah.
You'd think I would know that. So when I saw them for real, I'm like, wait a minute. They look a little different here.
You're a little off here. But,
and especially when I met Sakura, I was like, oh my God, you're so tall. You're so big and scary. Jesus Christ. But I think it's interesting when like they only show you 5 characters at a time instead of like pick all 16 for 15 or no 14. I guess 14. Jesus.
Yeah, because it's you. Yeah.
I can't do math anymore. Like all 14 of them are right there. You're just like, oh, I gotta pick each one. Like they kind of like, oh, here's a couple, here's a couple, here's a couple.
Yeah. I will say that in my notes, I just have in really big words, just waifu alert. The moment I saw Chihiro, so I was like, all right, cool. I like this game now.
See, I didn't get that till the end because they show you Kyoko last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't remember my initial reaction to everyone. But because I've already played it twice, I think like Sayaka's like in the first wave or whatever. So I was like, I'll do her last. So I talked to Leon first, or like the second to last.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he goes on a long tangent with you.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to Sayaka, and the second she starts a tangent, like fucking Taka's like, stop doing tangents. This is introduction, not chit chat time. I'm like, me and Leon just had like a 10-minute conversation about him wanting to be not a baseball star, like because like you're supposed to do it the order like of the characters lined up, but because I kind of jumped. Because I'm like, I'll talk to Sayaka last. It's just funny that way. Right? Just like he just like, Leon, no, but he's like simp. He's like, shut up, bro.
Yeah, I wrote that. Yeah, as the pop singer, your childhood friend. I said Hifumi Yamada's a dork. Mondo says the fuck word.
He's like the only really character who curses a lot.
Well, at the beginning, yeah. There's other characters who curse later
Taka.
on. Who?
Yes. Taka.
Oh yeah, Taka does.
Well, like I mean, like he immediately just like fuck.
Yeah. Like in his introduction, he's like, oh, something fuck, whatever. I think it's always funny when anime games do that
because they don't curse, even if it's like an immature game.
Yeah,
like,
they don't curse. Like in Persona 5, Ryuji like, always says what the f, or
and then when he says fuck, it's not voiced.
Yeah,
I think once maybe he might have voiced fuck. Well, other than that, he never says.
They did in Strikers, but you guys didn't play that.
Yeah. So in general, like I always note that I'm like, oh, this guy said the fuck word.
Sometimes when I watch anime, when I hear a character I'm like bitch, and I'm just like, whoa,
It'll like take me out. I'm like,
yeah, my day.
Even if it's like an adult thing, I'm like, wait a minute.
It's like wrestling. When like wrestlers like bitch, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a PG show.
I can't remember that happening anywhere.
What, an anime?
Yeah,
I've seen some animes.
Yeah, I also really like the pop-up book art style. Like,
yeah,
in general.
it's so fun.
It's really interesting, but I got bored of it really.
Yeah, I was about to say that
because like at the beginning I was like, oh, this is really neat and cool and different, and then like towards the end and like the middle of the game, I was like, I just need this scene to load.
It takes so long to load all those cutscenes because they're coming up from the ground.
Yeah, they're not all coming up at once. They're coming like part by part, and I'm like, I just need to enter this room to leave the room. I don't need to see it set up.
It was cool at first.
Yeah,
I don't think I was. Not that I was bored, but I was like, I didn't really like mind the time or whatever.
Oh,
because like at the time, I mean, like I didn't play that many games that load like fast anyway. So I've been used to like, because back then those games were like it's a loading screen or like a black screen, load.
I can imagine playing this on the PSP and hearing the on the disc in the back. Oh my god!
I think obviously now games have been better at loading times.
Yeah.
So maybe like I don't know. Maybe back then I was just like, who cares? I didn't really notice.
Yeah, but I did like in general like how the mixed. I did like the mixed media. You mentioned earlier how the CG scenes look different in a different art style than the main scenes, but I thought it was interesting. Like it wasn't. I didn't hate it, you know. And then even parts where like when what's his name Monokuma would like press a button to like signal a punishment.
Yeah. Like, that's like a 3D.
Yeah.
Like his 3D, then it goes to 8-bit.
Like it's a lot of different types of media, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's visually interesting.
Yeah.
So, but prologue thoughts. Oh yeah, I wrote a whole thing. Oh my god, let me see. I'm glad they made it easy to like some characters and dislike others, because I did.
Yeah, like I mean, like you only have what they give you, so like if they say some dumb shit, you're like, fuck you.
But it was way too slow to be interesting. But I'm hopeful it will get better. So I'm even though I did like it, I didn't like it at the beginning. I was still hopeful. I still wanted to like this game. Just so you know, I didn't hate this immediately.
I think like when I played it, I think because I was just so like open to anything, I was just like, I'm fine. Like the prologue could have gone for like way longer, and I probably would have still been like, yeah. Like me now, again, I played this like years ago. It's not like I played it like now. Like back then, I had so much more free time. Yeah, and I didn't care. But like now, like if I had to do that now and I play this, I'd be like, okay, like I get the gimmick, I understand the gimmick, I know, like, okay, you're the idol, okay, shut up. Yeah. And like, cause like you already know obviously ahead of time this is gonna be like a murder thing. Yeah. So everyone's like, murder. Okay, get over it. Like that was the biggest thing I had with this game, where like people take too long to get with the time of this game.
In general, I think there's a pacing issue, because I noted early on in chapter 1 that I don't like that whenever you would have a conversation with multiple people, you would talk with one person, and then that conversation would end, and then you have to select the next person to talk to continue the conversation, and then it would back out, and then you got to go back to the next person. Like, I wish it would just like in other visual novels.
Like you just keep going and going. Keep going. You don't have to pick someone.
Yeah, to continue the conversation.
There's times where you're already like mid conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it backs out and it's like, oh, you got to talk to the same person actually.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what the fuck? Just let me continue it.
And I think a lot of times we're like, and we'll talk about probably the class trials, where like, if you solve it yourself ahead of time, you're fucked, because you just have to wait for the game to be like, every character to be like, oh, I'm in line with you. Yeah. Especially with the fucking first chapter. Sam had a different experience than I did. I forgot what Alex said. Oh no, you had the same thing as me. I think. Yeah. Because I'm getting ahead of myself because I was getting upset about that. Cause I hated that. Because I saw that too fast, and I'm like, this is bad. I'm scared of the rest of the game.
I definitely noticed it the second time you go in there.
So you start. We mentioned her the Sayaka's there or whatever, and she's kind of like. I think it's interesting because when I played it again, I realized some of the stuff they kind of do to make you hang out with her more on purpose. Because I think usually you have like when you have the free time or with the school life, whatever thing you call. Sorry, I was
just like right outside your room.
It's
right?
Like you have 3. Yeah. I think that chapter is the only chapter you have 2 because your first one automatically has to be hers.
Yes.
And the game kind of makes it like as you mentioned, like we walk out of the room, she's there. Yeah. So you normally should hang out with her first. I want to say this. I think it's so funny that. Every person I hanged out with, they died the next that chapter because we're already exposed anyways. I was so into Junko. I was like, I'm gonna hang out with her. The second I have a chance, I'm gonna go hang out with her. So I went to hang out with her. I'm like, yeah, I'm in, bro. Spoiler, she fucking dies immediately, and I was like, fuck, man. I was like, maybe I should reload and just hang out with Sayaka because Sayaka's like, obviously I have to hang out with her. I did not reload. I played.
Well, for a second, I thought I had seen so much art of Junko that I was like, oh, I messed up. Like,
oh, you fuck! Like, there's a thing that happened.
I thought there were alternate routes or something, and I'm like, there's no way she dies.
I think you asked me.
Yes.
Both of you guys asked me, is there? And I was like, yes. There's one. And I think might have a guy in your head or something. Because if I should have just said no, there isn't. Because there isn't. There never is. Yeah. There is one in this game, but that's like pretty hard to do on purpose. Okay. But other than that, the story does not change no matter what you do. Okay. So I think you guys were like, oh, maybe there's another like. I should have been like, nah.
There's no way Junko dies now. What the fuck?
Yeah, I see Junko everywhere. I'm like, no.
I was like,
there's no way this character gets so much fucking attention and she's in it for like an hour.
I remember when I played it, I was like, oh. This is serious.
Like, we're doing this now.
Okay. I guess that's the point. Yeah. You gotta show like, oh, you can die. Like
it's supposed to take
this is death like, or whatever. Yeah.
If you're like, oh, this is a cute little like charming game, hanging out with people, and then it's like
maybe there is no death game, and maybe like, you know.
I mean, should we get back to the first murder? That's like
no, she dies first.
No,
Junko dies first. I think
the second one.
Oh yeah,
is she?
Right. She gets killed right before the trial.
Yeah, because they confront each other. In the
right. Yeah. I'm just so impassioned about her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's go back. So. And this is the other thing I have an issue with this game a lot of the times. It's that the mystery aspect, not the mystery, no, let me say it's better. Okay. I feel like these guys had a start point, end point, but they didn't work backwards, they worked forwards. And I think that annoys me because I notice I'm like, so many things happen coincidentally all the time. Where like someone's like, hey, pick up that sword, put it in the room, that'd be cool, right? And then it's like, what happens to be in the trial? The sword that you brought. Other things like, oh, this character said that one thing to you one time. Oh, that's actually really important. Like 2 minutes later or whatever. And I was like, so many consequential things had to be. everyone should have been fucking the ultimate lucky student. Because a lot of these murders were fucking lucky that they weren't caught immediately. Yeah. Because there's so many happenstance things that I was like, that should not have happened.
Like definitely the first two are like that. The last 3 are better.
Well, the other one's a bit different anyway.
The later ones are more interesting, but definitely.
But like earlier on, I was like, this is so like. You were like, this person's gonna kill this person. How are we gonna make this that you can't fucking figure this out immediately?
Yeah, I mean, like, so with that first crime scene, first off, before we even get to that, I thought it was really interesting, the motivation aspect when he brought in the DVDs to like motivate everyone. And that's the first hint that something's like off in the outside world or whatever. And I thought it was really interesting because I kind of could tell what Sayaka was gonna do, because she was like, "Oh, will you do anything to help me or whatever?"
And she's already said before, she's like, "I did anything to be an idol."
She wants to leave and do all
she has like
that.
the eyes, like her character, like sometimes like she has like all white eyes or whatever, so she's like in or whatever, like a psycho. Yeah,
and I thought it was gonna be where she tries to kill you or something.
Yeah.
And then when this whole goes down, I'm sorry. Omar put something on his screen and it's
gonna be important. I'm gonna bring up why.
I'm sorry. So
I purposely scrolled on this one.
Sorry. So yeah, I got freaked out that it didn't go that way. And then when I went to the crime scene, I was like, oh, of course, like you said, of course the sword is here. Of course, all this is here. I didn't think the bathroom locking thing was going to play into it until someone pointed out. Like, I forgot about that. So when Kyoko was like, you remember about the doors, right? And I'm like,
you're like, what?
No. And then in the trial, it's like, oh, yeah.
And you're just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like when there's like a thing, like a note. Sakura.
And she doesn't really say it again. Like
she acknowledges that like numbers at first, and I'm like, yeah, I guess they kind of look like numbers, but they look like something, and I couldn't spell it out. Like for some reason, I had dyslexia or something because I'm like, what does that spell? Like it should spell something.
we are beating around the bush for some reason. We don't have to anymore. Fucking. So the first person
to die
is Sayaka.
Yeah.
And obviously the murder you'll learn later on in the trial, but like I remember when I played it. I do think with me, I'm like when they set up where like before you open that door, you're like, I don't want to open it. Yeah. I think to me it's a better if you just like I just opened, like there is no you having a like this is a bad thing to open. Something bad's gonna happen right now the second I open this door. Yeah. I don't know what though, but it's scary. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, the fucking shit someone got me. You just told me like 5 seconds ago someone's dead.
Yeah.
Like that's why I get upset about that, because I'm like, who died in your room? Obviously it's fucking Sayaka because she was the one in your room.
Yeah.
If you just open the bed, because you're like, oh, where's Sayaka? And you just open the bed, oh shit, she's fucking dead.
I think it was meant to be obvious that she was gonna die first. I think the shocking part about this is her reasoning.
I'm not saying that like that I should be shocked that she died. I should be shocked anyone dies. Like I don't want like them to constantly be like, this is bad. I have a bad. Oh,
I've got a bad feeling.
Like, why isn't this one character? There's a pit in my stomach.
Missing.
We have to find. And then like there's a whole search. And then guess what? He actually is dead. Like because they keep doing that throughout all the games. They kind of like build you up. I'm like, I want to be shocked.
Yeah.
Like when the character, because I don't feel as shocked when they are, because they're like, oh, but I'm like, you already pre-built me in my head already. Like something's not okay the second I open this door.
100%.
And I've been specifically because this one is like, she's gonna be there because this is your room, and the whole plan beforehand is she's in your room.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it'd be better, in my opinion, if you just like, oh, let me open the bathroom. Oh, because the way the CG shot is like, and like it slowly goes to her, so you don't like notice it immediately, but like. Because I already know it's her, because it's like, this is the fucking my room. Like why else would someone get murdered in this room? It's not fucking her.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just like a personal gripe I have with this whole franchise, honestly, with the way a lot of murder things are like that in general. They're like, I don't like this. I shouldn't open this door, but I'm just gonna open the door.
Of course, this thing I was psyching myself up for is here.
I think they foreshadow too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're just doing it to spoil me at this point.
Yeah. Even in later trials, I could like. Halfway through, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna kill somebody, aren't you?" Like,
again, like the whole thing where like you solve it before the game does.
Yeah.
So then, like, you just feel like you're just wasting time.
Well, you just have to figure out the way the game wants you to figure it out.
That as well, but like also like you're like, oh, this person's gonna kill someone, but like, and no character knows that. But when you're like, that person's definitely gonna kill someone, you like, it feels like you're wasting time because everyone's gonna be like, but you would never kill someone, and you're just like, I would never, and I'm just like, it's obvious you fucking did it. I have to waste like 2 hours to explain why you obviously fucking did it, you psychopath. Like sometimes it makes sense, yes, but other times I'm like the first one it actually does. I couldn't even guess.
Yeah.
Minus the obvious clue. If you
tells
take that
you.
clue, if you take that clue away,
Yeah.
I'm like, how would you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
really good. But other times I'm like, okay, I think it's obvious who the fucking killer is, guys. But they were just like, I don't understand. There's not enough clues. And I'm like, y'all fucking retarded. Sorry, I just could have cut that part out. I don't know. Fuck, you guys are stupid.
There's one where they leave a clue in one of the characters' dialogues, and only if you know the thing, like
That times like that,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But there are times where they're just like,
Yeah.
okay, I think
I think I know who did.
We're getting wait. I'm getting way too excited.
We're gonna finish up with the first chapter.
Yeah.
I'm just so passionate about this stuff.
Alex, you said you were shocked at how it went down though. You knew Sayaka was gonna die, but
Yes.
the reasoning for it. Yeah, I was shocked by that too.
yeah, like she wanted to blame you. She wanted to kill someone and blame. Yeah,
She would never.
Yeah.
She wanted to blame Makoto for like the killing, and that's why she stayed in your room. So like you knew she was gonna die, but like you didn't know that's her
That was
reasoning.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, you thought that somebody was gonna kill
like
her.
Yeah.
Makoto thought.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because when they're like, what if she did it on purpose?
Yeah.
You'd be like, what? What are you talking about? She would never. Which is why, like, it's perfect build, though, because she's supposed to be, like, the stereotypical, like, childhood friend. Like,
Nice
who's
girl,
famous.
yeah.
And then, but she recognizes you because of a random thing you did with a swan. You fucked a swan in the pool. And everyone thought you were cool for doing that. But she was like, you're super cool. So, like, fucking, like, that makes you, like, you have trust in her. So when you're like, oh, no, she tried to frame it on you. You're
Yeah.
like, what? I think that's a perfect first trial. Where like it sets up and like this is no holds barred. None of these people are your fucking friends.
Yeah.
Like even though the main character Makoto is like, will we all be friends? Like you're like, I didn't want you fucking kill me
Anyone could turn on anyone.
or kill someone else. Like
Yeah.
none of everyone's safe or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think that's perfect with the setup is, and especially with the killer when you learn. For me and Alex is immediately. It's Leon Kawada.
Yeah.
Because she writes his name backwards, upside. Oh no, just 180 completely,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
upside down. I saw that. I'm like Leon. Like I did not even think about it. I'm like, this is Leon. Fuck, it's Leon.
No, at first you're like you see it looks like numbers.
Especially when they zoom in.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is Leon.
It looks
It
like
just says it's Leon.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's obvious.
But it looks like numbers, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should go talk to the ultimate programmer to see what these numbers
and
mean.
even the character was like, hey, it's the nerd. Like, don't you know those numbers mean something? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then the programmer, she tells you that
Chihiro.
Chihiro.
Say her name.
Yeah, I forgot. She tells you that it's oh yeah, I don't think these are numbers. They don't mean anything.
I like that dialogue where I think it's Mondo, right? Mondo's like, "Oh, are you a nerd? Don't you fucking know that?"
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Oh, I'm a." No, they don't mean anything. Like she was gonna explain to him, but she's like, "This is not gonna get it." I think so. I'm just gonna be like, "It's just
yeah.
there's numbers."
Once she said that, I'm like, okay, there's something I'm not like seeing. So I go back, I look at it, I'm like, I said Leon.
Yeah. Well, before actually, I want to keep talking. I was skimming my notes, and I thought I was actually kind of funny in some of these. You know, not to toot my own horn a bit, but after I found out Sayaka died, I wrote, I kind of like Sayaka, but at least my waifu was safe. And then after that, I wrote Sayaka and Junko are gone, and then I put a dash that said baller, more time for Chihiro.
Baller time. It's like the meme. You're just like, oh shit, the glasses on. You're like, no issue with me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have to waste time with these.
That's a
items now.
fucking big spider. That's over your head.
Oh my god! Where? I don't see it. Where the hell was it?
like right on top of
How big was it?
I was dead, but
God damn! It was massive. Pause. I also just wrote, I want this fat fuck dead. I wrote that so many times that I wanted Hifumi dead. Just so we're clear.
this fucking I think as well when because again obviously I already played it, so I when I play the trial again, I'm like, I'm interested how the killer acts, because I already know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys are not gonna, well maybe Alex, but like the way he acted, it was kind of pretty like, not obvious that he's the dude, but like all he says is like, well, that's Makoto.
Yeah.
Obviously Makoto did
Yeah,
it.
that's something that happens in all the trials. Like the
Like
actual
the killer is usually the
Yeah.
same, but I think the one in the second one I think is a little less.
maybe.
But in this one, he's like, but he doesn't even talk that much either, which is the smart thing to do, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they say every once in a while, I'll be like, "Boy, it's Makoto," like Makoto. Then I'm in my head, I'm like, well, everyone's already against me.
Yeah.
So like he's just one like everyone. Like only person fucking who agrees with me is Kyoko, and that's it. So like because he said it, I never thought he's the guy. Besides me, obviously knowing the fucking fact.
Yeah.
But I feel like for you, Sam, you're probably like, how long did it take you to realize he is Leon? Leon is the guy.
When the game wanted me to figure it out.
You were like, wait a
And it was like, doesn't that spell something? And I was like, yeah, I think so.
Doesn't it throw you
And I
into
kept
like
looking at it, and then it was like 3 options, and I'm like, the only one that starts with an L. Like, I guess it's that one then.
I think it's funny that Kyoko's. I think she's just like, oh, turn it 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I kind of forgot, but I'm like, but it's a game, like it's a picture, like the characters can't physically look at it. I'm like, oh, it's on the fucking iPad they have. I forgot.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's so fucking like turn it 180. I'm like, me as a gamer, I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, I guess the PSP, you just
with the PSP,
turn it upside down.
I did struggle in this at the very end because I didn't understand the bullet time battle for some reason. Like I wasn't able to time it, and I lost the first bullet.
That's crazy, really.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying yesterday, that I liked the Childs except for one thing.
Bullet time?
The bullet time, because I read the instructions. I read it multiple times, and I did it. And it doesn't tell you that you can lock on to multiple things before you press triangle. And you're supposed to press triangle. It's just like, oh, press X and triangle to do this. It doesn't tell you what they do, though.
And I was mostly just frustrated because I'm like, I thought I proved myself pretty well.
Yeah.
Why do I have to scream against this? Because I don't know, what is the actual representation of the bullet time battle?
It's like this person's so frenzied, they're not going to listen to you.
Okay.
Because they're like, because in this case, Leon, where you're just like, stupid. He just says fucking stupid. Like, he's just delusional. He's like, the game wants you to make the killer actually admit it. So like, this is you being like, this is a hard evidence, listen to fuck what I said. And then they're like, oh shit,
you're right.
fuck.
Yes, of course.
Like, well, no, that's saying you're right. They're just like, fuck. Like, you finally got them to be like, fuck, I'm fucked.
To admit it.
Yes.
I guess
I understand. I do agree with, like, sometimes I'm like,
I was like, this doesn't need to be a unanimous vote. Like
everyone
else convinced.
There was a second trial that isn't a unanimous vote, and they're like, he's just like, oh, don't do it next time, but who cares?
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, we don't need to convince everyone, as long as like at least like 50% of us understand he's a killer, we're fine.
Yeah, we're good. Like, I don't need to convince this guy. He can deny it all he wants until he dies.
I see where it would be better if it was unanimous, because then like everyone's gonna die if they get it wrong. So
there are times, especially in the trials, where there's always like, it's this guy, and then they're like, so like Kyoko's always like fucking one. It's like, what if we talk about this for a few seconds? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, there's infinite time. Like, there is no time for the trial. Like, you're gonna fucking die if you get her wrong. Like, you guys should really be like, all right, let's just rationalize. Because it's like, this guy.
It has to be him.
They're like, oh, here's some evidence. No, it's this guy. And I'm like, y'all would have died immediately if it wasn't for Kyoko. Like, she's the fucking, her back broken. She got no titty. But her back's still broken for carrying this fucking trials.
Hey,
what?
Watch it.
Yeah,
I do watch it.
Watch that tone, man.
I do watch her all the time.
So yeah.
Me too.
Overall, though, like, I didn't feel that bad about the first chapter. I was still kind of like down on it, but I wasn't like, this is awful. I was still like, this is alright.
Yeah.
And then, oh, sorry, go.
I was gonna mention, I brought it up earlier, where the whole like the Leon and Sayaka were the tutorial characters. So that's the reason why they died first.
Yeah, that makes
because
sense.
the dudes were just so fucking tired of looking at them all the time. They're like, we're gonna kill him first. Fuck him. Which I think is so funny because it ended up working perfectly, more specifically for Sayaka.
Yeah.
Because like, because Sayaka, Kyoko becomes what Sayaka was supposed to be, where like the character stays with you the whole time and like helps you the most. Kyoko just ends up doing that instead.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like a swerve where you're just like, oh, the one you think it is, we just fucking kill her.
I mean, so does Byakuya, kind of.
He's a bit interesting. He's a bit different, and maybe it's second trial. Maybe talk more about that character. He's wildin'. But chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
There too.
I was kind of like not writing notes for a bit. My first note was about the bathhouse bro down when Taka and Mondo were like,
interesting when that happened.
I was weird. I was like, what's going on here?
What is going on here? That's exactly what I said too.
Yeah.
I was like, where's this going?
Yeah. Well, basically, it's just them like getting into an argument about like who's the more of a man or something like that. And then eventually they decide to like whoever survives longer in the sauna.
I think it's unfair because Mondo has more clothes on, so I don't know why he just like if you survive just the same long.
You wanted to.
No, but I'm saying that like if they survived equally, like hypothetically, it's a battle. And he like survived equally, you'd be like, no, I'm still Mondo won.
Yeah,
because he has way more fucking layers than him. Like that picture, best picture. Like fucking. I will mention that like as I mentioned, the females are like sexualized a lot. The men, they do a fair amount as well, or they show the men like have their fucking 8-packs or whatever. And there's some promotional art where they show those guys with no fucking shirts on all the time too. Nice. So I do think it's like it's not equal, but I think it is fair that they do have pictures of men
with no shirt on.
Yes, it is not that great. You wouldn't want to see it. Anyways, I remember when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. There's like two guys being friends.
Two guys being bros.
Yeah. I'm like, yes. I'm like, thank God, because I don't want to, like, I'm tired. It's great and all, but like me all being friends with all the females all the time. It's like, I'm glad there's men being like, let's just be bros. We're bros. They always be like, yo, bro, yo, bro. And I was like, bro.
But I like how like everyone else is like, duh,
shut up. Like, God damn.
Please stop.
But then it's like, hey, bro.
Hey, bro, I love my brother, you know?
What's that meme where it's like, bro, close your eyes, bro? And it's like, what do you see? Nothing, bro. Like, that's my life without you, bro. That's that. That's the bottom of during that chapter.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I was like, I thought it was really weird because like, what the fuck is this? But eventually I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool with this.
I have that kind of bro relationship. So.
I've never said bro like that.
No, I haven't.
But I've had those. Those relationships are like, it's so weird to be like, it's so fun to have those. But like, I don't know, just because you're just happy all the time. You're just like, yo, bro.
It is a good time.
Especially like if you're like workout bro, you're just like, bro, pump the iron, bro. You're like, yeah, bro. Like shit like that.
My favorite is that like that one meme where like the girls are like asking, why do you guys act so gay around the bros? And I'm just like, I feel that one so much because like I would go up to my boy Chewy and be like, Chewy, that ass is looking mighty fine today. And he'd be like, bro, shut the fuck up.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. But speaking of
just me.
Speaking of homosexuality, this chapter, a certain character meets its end.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah,
good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Sam, you want to take this one on?
So,
a little bit more?
You eventually discover that Chihiro was murdered.
Yes.
R.I.P.
Murdered in the girls' locker room. And it's important because after some examinations from Kyoko, you discover that Chihiro was actually a guy. I'm okay with that regardless anyways.
I am too.
Yes. I mean, you find that in the middle of a trial,
in the middle of the trial,
not even before.
Can we take a break to go check this body out?
Kyoko's like, I could do something interesting, and like Monokuma's like, okay, sure. He's like, no. He's like, but it'll be fun, and he's like, all right, bet.
Yeah,
you son of a bitch, I'm in. Like that meme, but so Chihiro gets murdered, and the way they set this chapter up, it is a total swerve because they start talking about Genocide Jack a bit. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, it makes sense. Genocide Jack killed this
What's
person.
Genocide Jack?
Genocide Jack.
We never went over it.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. They
Toko, my least favorite character.
Well, I won't get into that just
not yet.
But, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a spoiler section. Who cares? But there's a process to the story.
Yeah.
They start talking about this character.
I just get excited. I was like, fuck this character.
They start talking about this
Genocide Jack.
This guy named Genocide Jack who's going around murdering everybody. And they're like, well, he is the ultimate murderer. He might be here with us, you know? And
like there's no other like ultimate, like there's millions ultimates. Like why does this one specifically has to be here? Yeah. I'm like, I'm at whatever. Yeah, we'll go.
So everyone was freaking out about it, and they specifically start mentioning this in this chapter.
Specifically, Byakugan is the guy who brings it up the most. So he's like, hey, I found this book. Look at this murderer right here.
Yeah,
isn't that interesting? Anyways, and
and then later on, like, you start reading into the case and finding out about it. So I have a note that says, oh, this Genocide Jack case is a slam dunk.
He's Byakuya was trying to make you think it's him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
I also have a note though. I hated this part with Byakuya where he's like, "Of course, there's a secret shadow organization controlling the world. What do you mean?"
Dumbass. And I was like,
why does anime have to do this, man? I hate this. This is my least favorite thing about this game. Just like that, there's like secret shadow shit going on in the background that's above everybody else, and only some people know about it.
I feel like that goes more into the next games. That there's more of that.
Probably, yeah. And I mean, like, it leads into stuff later on too that I hate. But I mean, like, it's just something that I naturally didn't like. I mean, it's why I didn't like 999 as much, because I'm like, this makes no sense. Anyways, so then you find out that you're blaming. Who do you start blaming at the beginning? It's not Genocide Jack. Oh yeah,
because immediately is like, oh, we know the murderer. It's Genocide Jack. And then they're like,
who's Genocide Jack then?
And then he's like, Makoto, inform these plebeians who Genocide Jack is.
And then I got stuck on the Hangman's Gambit for this for a
bit,
because it's like, the word is schizo.
I thought it said split.
That doesn't mean.
I saw S-H and I'm like, split. Even though I know it's spelled differently. But I saw S-H and I think it was L. And I was like, split. It's split because split personality disorder.
Yes.
And then it was like, no, it was like S and then it was like C. And I'm like, C? What? C with what?
Yeah.
I was like, what am I spelling?
It was weird because I knew it was going to be schizophrenia. But it's not the whole. It's not the whole word. It's
that's what I'm like.
It's just
Split
schizo.
would make the most sense.
Yeah, because schizophrenia is like not that.
And
Schizophrenia
split
is not
is the same. Like starts with the S.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of letters.
I thought that's what it was
So I was
gonna
like,
be.
I kept hitting like P. And it's like no,
he
no.
mentioned schizophrenia earlier, so I'm just like,
Did he?
okay, he did.
He might have, but I was like,
I think he did.
split.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was the first one. So I'm like, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Even me playing it again, I'm like split because it's split personality disorder.
You
And I'm like,
forgot it was-
and it's schizo. And I was like, fuck it, I died here, I think, because I was like, this is not schizo. What does that even mean?
Yeah, and then once you solve that, then you can bring out Genocide Jill, actually, because you find out it's Toko.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down that the Genocide Jill sprite looks scuffed as fuck. They intentionally like make her like really like kind of not garbagey looking, but like the way her art
Yeah, like it was
design
like
is.
shaky,
Yeah, shaky and like kind of like weird.
blurred almost.
I
Kinda
liked it.
I think it's also gonna be like she's technically the same person, but like it's not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole Clark Kent Superman, where like they're the same person, but technically people kind of see Clark like more blurry because he's.
I'm surprised it took that long to find her because like you find out later that she changes.
She does it that often.
She
yeah.
changes on a sneeze.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing where like I get upset about, where I'm like the first time in this chapter when you meet Chihiro her dead body, his dead body, she passes out, but then if she wakes up, she's not in the genocide.
chill
She's like in a weird like passed out state, like a weird like half awake, I guess.
I mean, maybe it was Genocide Jill, and she's just like faking it because they don't know she's there yet.
No, I don't think so. I think
Because
it's
she's
just-
pretty open about everything. Like the second she's out,
She's like, yeah, what's up? Hey guys.
she just shows up and like she's just like, I'm in the trial now,
She's like,
bitch.
what's up, fucker?
Yeah, like
I liked her more than Togo.
And I think right after that, I wrote down a quote that Mondo just says, "What the fuck is this?"
I like to imagine he said it that way. Like, what the fuck?
I think I did want to use that as an audio clip at some point.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, but yeah, he does say that, and I wrote it down because I was like, I love this. But yeah, as soon as that was brought into it, I'm like, wait a minute, like this doesn't make any sense. And then yeah, I wrote down the bingo bullseye right on the money from the TikTok song. I was like, oh, I know where this comes from now.
Bingo bullseye right on the money.
So yeah, but throughout the trial, I was just kind of stumped because it was like it was forced into one direction by
Yes.
Byakuya, and then it was like, well, then what now? Like, what's
What do we have? What are we grasping with?
Yeah.
And again, Kyoko's like, what if we have a different thing? You're like, thank you, Kyoko. Because fuck, I don't know what to do.
You straight up asked Genocide Jill, "Did you do it?" And she's just like, "No, I
to be
would
fair,
own it if I did."
What did you believe her? Because
Yeah,
she's
I
a
wouldn't
mass
believe
fucking murderer.
But yeah, then you have to prove like
Yeah.
the differences in the
And they
situation.
trials or whatever.
And then how do you end up figuring out that it was Mondo?
So I
Oh.
remember, you can say if you want, but I remember I was like, oh yeah, that's just a small thing.
The jacket.
Yeah, the jacket.
The jacket.
Yes.
That was
Celeste
so,
wore the
like-
jacket, and that was it because Chihiro was gonna start working out with Mondo.
Yeah, and Mondo said it was a blue jacket, but the
jacket.
color of the jacket was never specified, and that's how you find it.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw that, I was like, how many are there just exactly 15 different colors? I'm like, what if he just wore blue because it's a boy color? Like,
Yeah, or what if that was the only he what if Mondo knew that was the only color that was in the
yeah,
warehouse?
like Mondo's the fucking. He probably works out. He just takes his jacket off and probably just works out. Like, you don't think he knows? I was very kind of like,
Well,
that's how we find
no,
out that Mondo.
no,
there was another thing.
The color of the jacket she grabbed was the same one that the person who killed her had. So he knew the color of his jacket was blue, so
yeah.
hers should have been blue. And it lined up with what Celeste said, that she did have a blue jacket in there.
He had a blue
He
jacket.
had a
We
blue
need to
jacket.
specify, 'cause this is an
Yes.
issue I have later on
Yes.
with Alter Ego. Because it's like, anyways, we'll get into that later. But yes, it's a he. Chihiro had
Yes.
a jacket. But yeah, I forgot totally how we figured out that it was Mondo.
Yeah,
And
and then
then-
you also learn that the way Mondo talks about Chihiro, he says in a more like a masculine.
He calls her a dude.
In
Yeah.
the
Calls him
English
a dude.
one, it's a bit different to explain. But in Japanese, like in Spanish, like they
Yeah.
use gender specific words a lot.
Yeah.
So I assume that's meant he just said gender specific, like male words to her in Japanese, because there are certain words that they say differently depending on what gender.
Yeah.
So obviously for English it's different, but Spanish, I mean, for us we kind of get that too, anyways.
I gotta play the Spanish dub of Danganronpa.
So they're like, you say. That's so funny when Kyoko says like, you say dude.
Yeah.
You only call guys dude.
I was like, oh, that's a weird. All right, I guess. I was like, should I listen back to this whole trial again? Because I don't remember him saying that. I'm like, I believe her. Fuck it. Whatever. I was gonna be like Makoto for real. I'm like, I'll just believe you.
Well,
Fuck it.
when they bring
know.
stuff up like that, they show you like a little flashback.
Yeah.
But I think with this one, it's like maybe I don't remember how my initial reaction was, but the whole Genocide Jill thing, I was very like off-putted by it.
Okay.
So I'm like, you're only bringing this up just to be a swerve.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, it's not obvious. There's no way it's gonna be this obvious in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there never is. And every time it's a mystery, the obvious answer is never the right answer most of the time.
That's true.
So when he's going on about, I'm like, there's no way she fucking. This obviously is not gonna be her.
Yeah, no, it
So
wouldn't.
then when you find out, when we find out it's her who it is, I'm like, obviously someone involved has to, because why the fuck do they keep bringing up this character?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be involved at all. That'd be even worse.
Yeah.
So then like it's her. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But then I'm like, obviously it's not her. And I'm like, halfway in, I'm like, it's not her. Like, it obviously has to be someone fucking else.
Halfway in this, you find that out 10 minutes into the trial when these trials last hours.
Like, and that's the whole thing where like, if you find out earlier, you're just like,
Well, okay.
now you just feel like you're hanging out with a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, why are we bringing this up?
There's so many times
And you
characters
are.
will just say random shit like Hifumi would. Like earlier we mentioned, like the game over. I'm logging out.
He's like, quit without saving. And he puts his glasses up too.
Yeah, it's like
Somebody's Yashiro, the clairvoyance guy.
yeah, he'll
he
just
says
say random shit.
He's like, I predicted this. He's like, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking?
He's like, I'm only right 30% of the time.
I'm like, that's your only fact. Shut the fuck up.
Please shut up, please. But
It's like he's stuck in like the actual game where like sometimes he only says certain lines out loud. So he's just only saying the lines he knows. He doesn't realize he can say more than one like fucking sentence because he just says the same. Obviously he says more shit, especially in the next trial.
Yeah.
But like I'm just like sometimes I'm like some people just need to not talk during these trials.
Yeah.
Like maybe half of these people
Look,
should just not be.
sit back,
There should be a rule that like, all right,
let the
no
adults
one talks.
Yeah.
Obviously that defeats the whole purpose of the whole like the some of the trial gimmicks or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm just like, y'all just saying some shit for no reason, and you're just like, no, you're annoying me, and you're just fucking. There's a murder. Your friend got murdered, and you're just like, quit without. I'm like, what the fuck? I think in that one, yeah, when they found Chihiro's a boy, Toko like says a joke. And literally, I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, this is a dead body. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, because so there's another thing that translation's a bit weird, where like, she's in Toko or her genocide Jill. She's into gay men.
Oh yeah.
But like in Japan, there's a certain word. It's like fujoshi, which means like dirty girl because they're into like two men going at it or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of why like she's like a stinky character because that's like a dirty thing to have or whatever. And then I think the chapter's called like boy's life something. Yeah. And because for like gay stories in Japan they call it BL. Boys love, so it's like BL, boy's life or something like that. I was like, I mean, it's not crazy. I just remember that now because I remember she says something. I think she means like, "Whoa, Chiak was a boy this whole time," and Mondo, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" There's a character in My Team Romantic Comedy that's like that. I remember her. I fucking hate her because all she does is just says that shit. And I'm just like, you're so weird. Why are you saying that shit? Because like her character doesn't do that as much. But there are times where I'm like, stop, don't be fucking weird. I have to be weird. Even with like do with two girls as well, I don't stop. Like you're like, oh, her big fat titties, I'm gonna rope. I'm like, stop, you fucking weirdo. I don't care if you're a guy or girl. Don't be fucking weird, man. So I don't care the gender or what the gender talking about. I'm always like, stop. Especially in this game where it's about murder. And people you know are and maybe her because she's a fucking psychopath, obviously. Yeah. But other times, other characters say goofy shit, and I'm like, we're talking about a dead body right now. Stop.
Yeah. Aside from that, once you figure out it's Mondo goes to execution, and I'm kind of confused how he dies.
So I'll talk about that because I had to look it up, and it doesn't explain much, but it still explains it.
Doesn't disintegrate.
But it's a triple force thing, and then electrocution.
It's based off a Japanese story. That's why.
Okay.
I have to find his dumb boy character.
American Sam here doesn't understand that.
Oh, I had no idea. I had to look it up, and I saw that. I'm like, oh. But before we talk about that, I do think it's interesting, and that's another thing I don't like about this game. It's funny because I feel like I'm sounding the most negative now out of all of us. Where Taka like is super defensive, obviously, because it's his bro. Yeah, he's just like because like after we give up the whole genocide shit, we stopped caring about that. Yeah, and now we're like it's Mondo, and he's the one that's mostly like, oh what? Nah, he would never. It's funny. He's like, he would never. Would do that. He's like, he would never hurt anyone. I'm like, literally in the prologue, he punches fucking Makoto in the face and he knocks him the fuck out. I think he would do something. Yeah, that's why I think I mentioned earlier. Where like Mondo doesn't really. He kind of defends himself, but like at a certain point, he just like I'm fucked. Yeah, he's like, all right. But then it's fucking Taka who's just like, no, this doesn't make any sense. Like he's my bro. He would never. Yeah, you would believe that because like if say hypothetically one of us like was like you're a killer, we're gonna be like, nah, fucking Sam would never kill anyone. But then like then we learn more facts. Yep. Like obviously he's gonna deny. That's why he's the whatever the fucking beat thing or whatever. I already forgot what it's called. Bullet time because he's the one in denial more than Mondo. Mondo accepts it because he's like a man's man. He's like, I did it. Fuck it. I admit it. And Taka's just like no. But the thing I have an issue with, and it goes on in each game, and in this game as well, where like you have one character and they get development, kill them.
Yeah.
They die that same chapter.
Yeah.
And in this case, and I think Taka's, they do him dirty. I hate what they did with his character immediately after this. Not how he dies. Taka, how that happens.
How
to
they
him.
change his character.
No, I love that. I hate what
that?
happens after that part.
Okay.
Because I'm always upset where it's like you have. I assume they know who character is gonna live the longest.
For sure.
And there are certain characters who they do have character development. Then there's Yashihiro, the Clairvoyance guy, who has no character development.
He's just there.
And I'm just like,
why is he?
like, kill him or like
Make him better.
because like holy like Mondo and Chihiro's like gimmick. I liked it a lot. I remember the first time I was like, who cares? But after playing it again, I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Where like it's the polar opposites or whatever. But guess what? They all die.
Yeah.
Now they're just dead now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then we have Taka, his character, who just like they become bros, and now they're dead. Now one's dead now. So you only have like maybe less than a chapter to kind of like believe that. So unless like we were like already like, yeah, bro, because we're kind of like yeah. But, like, if you don't accept that immediately, you're just like, shut the fuck up, Taka. Mondo, kill him, fuck off, or whatever.
Should we also talk about his reasoning, Mondo's reasoning for killing Chihiro?
Yeah, you want.
It's pretty big reasoning.
Yeah, if you wanna.
Yeah, basically he wanted to. Oh, did he become bros with Chihiro too?
No,
Kind of, but I mean,
not really.
I mean, he. So Mondo has this thing where he's like, I give you my like, my word, like,
it's my man's like
my
word.
my man's word. Yeah.
I don't want to. I mean, I think you might be stumbling a little bit.
What do you mean?
I think what you're like skipping the Chihiro part, because that doesn't happen until Chihiro tells him what everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm saying you should probably explain the Chihiro thing first.
No,
Explain why she would, whether even be a code.
No, because this thing got introduced first in like chapter 1.
Yeah, in chapter 1, I think Mondo talks about like his man's honor.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in this specific trial.
Well, no, Chihiro knew that he had a man's honor. Like, if you tell him something, he's not gonna go around telling people. So he was like, I can tell him my secret, and his secret was he's a boy. He's not a girl.
He's not a woman.
And he's like, I tell Mondo, Mondo's not gonna know. So Mondo also like has a secret.
Well, everyone does.
Yeah, everyone has.
I think Byakugan.
Makoto's is so stupid.
I forget what was his.
I
remember. The second I asked it, I'm like, oh, I remember. I think Byakugan's like when he says that, I think because Taka's like, let's just all say it. Yeah. Byakugan's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
If you think because you're fine with it, not everyone else is.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like a lot of characters, because like you have a character who will say that to you and be like, no, you idiot. Like, not everyone's like that. Then you have another character being like, no, but you're wrong. Like, you know what I mean? But anyways,
back to Mondo's reasonings. He knows that if no one gets killed, Monokuma's gonna tell everybody their secrets. People are gonna find out he killed his brother. People are gonna find out that Chihiro's a boy. So he like makes like out of like anger kills Chihiro, but he's like, now both our secrets will like possibly not come out. Yeah, because if I put Chihiro in the girl's bathroom, people are gonna think she's a girl still, nothing wrong. And then Monokuma's not gonna tell the secret of me killing my brother. I just have to make people believe that I didn't kill her, so
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. That's his reasoning.
I don't think he thought about the Chihiro thing immediately.
I think he did.
I think because the way he tells the story says after he tells him the secret, and he's like, oh, I chose you because you're strong, and then he's like, oh, he has no self-esteem about that whole thing because of his old brother. Yeah. He's like, I blacked out, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh fuck, I killed him. Yeah. So I don't think he killed him because like, oh, well, if I kill him, no one's gonna find the secret.
He killed him because of that, but then like after the fact,
yeah, after. But I think the way you said it made it seem like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and then that'll be fine. Yeah. No, like he did it. He's like, oh fuck, I killed him. Shit. But then the fact that he's like, I should keep the thing. I think you said it too early. It made it seem like he did it for both. He's like, I got both of us. Don't worry.
I killed you to protect you, man. Don't worry about it.
You're welcome. I think that's also like a great of his character, which is like, even though after killing him, he's like, I'm gonna protect the secret.
And that's what made me not like Taka as much, because he's like protecting his bro, and I'm like, but your bro's protecting someone else, man. Let him be the hero.
I think he's just blinded. Like, I just don't want him to die. Yeah, he just doesn't care about anything right now. He's just like, I don't want my. It's like if you had a girlfriend, like, we're gonna kill your girlfriend, but if they explain a good reason, you're like, no, but fuck, that's my girlfriend. What the fuck?
Like seriously, man, come on. Like, you just started dating her.
They'll have to shoot you with a truth bullet. They'll be like, oh, you're right, just kill her. Yeah. But like, I think as well, we're like I think we didn't bring it up earlier. We're like they had to do like a summary bit, And the summer bit's also like in a different art style as well.
Yeah.
It's like a comic booky, and I think it's so interesting. 'Cause it looks nice, but it's so creepy because like the murderers are blacked out, even though you obviously know who the
Like at
murderer
that
is.
point, you know who the murderer
But like,
is.
it's just so funny looking because they make weird faces.
Yeah.
Because they have no like other personality face. Like it's just like a creepy like
grin,
smile, or them
Yeah.
be like they're supposed to show how they're like uneasy, but because there's like no other like facial thing except for the smile, it's like it's so weird to tell what the fuck that character's trying to think in that moment.
Yeah.
Like obviously you know, but it's kind of like it's just weird. But I think it's funny. Like it's fun that they have like a whole.
It's nice, but at the same time, it's like
It is annoying, especially later on. Where I'm like, okay, I know what the. I don't know what the small circle is.
Yeah.
It's so small. And then when they show it in the thing, you're like, oh, it zooms out and explains everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
how the fuck was I supposed to know?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking Justice Hammer 4 was this because it's just a picture of the hammer.
Yes.
Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah, no.
that shit pisses me off a lot. Where I'm like, this picture's so fucking small.
It'd be nice if it showed you the full panel.
Yeah,
but
like maybe if it's zoomed in, like this is what the picture looks like. No, it's just a small little button. And you're like, I think it goes over there. That shit pissed me off.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, so his death. I remember when I played it like 3 times. And I'm still like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this supposed to mean something?
What?
Like his Mondo's like execution.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, what the fuck? So basically, there's like a folk story in Japan where like an Indian boy and it's like a poor village and they have like no food. And they're like attacked by tigers.
Yeah.
So I guess he like fucking runs in circles and the tigers just keep fucking running and they just disintegrate into butter. So they use the butter in their food or whatever. So that's why in the thing there's like tigers and shit like that. And I think like in the writing, the motorcycle is Japanese, you can't. There's not translated, but like this says stuff like that or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what it means. That doesn't explain 100% everything.
Yeah, 'cause then
but that explains what that actually is.
Like
though.
it's what it's
Okay.
supposed to signify. but,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he
Like
just
there's no
ends up-
symbol. I think it's just like we're just gonna kill you, and we'll just do that because there are a lot of like references they use. Like we mentioned JoJo, that's because we like JoJo. It's more popular now.
Yeah.
But I imagine back then it wasn't as popular, so people probably wouldn't even see those references.
Yeah.
And there are other references that I've read. I'm like, I didn't even know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like a manga from like 1960s, but like that's a reference for this character, and like they say a lot of stuff. So I can see that a lot of that shit for us is like just goes
Right over.
over our heads. I think later on they do better at like calming that shit down.
Yeah.
Especially with the executions, they make more sense.
I mean, if we played this game like a couple months ago, I wouldn't have gotten any of these JoJo references.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you wouldn't even gotten some of them or whatever. But I think
Yeah.
Mono's the only one I was like,
He's a walking JoJo reference.
well, that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like his execution, I was always like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Should we jump into chapter 3?
Yeah, chapter 3 is nice because it starts off with Taka immediately like dejected, and he's like, my bro's dead." Like,
Yeah, I
not
think
talking.
chapter 3 is what the game caught me. It wasn't as boring anymore. I wanted to know what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. And it starts off, everyone's still kind of uneasy, especially Taka. And then eventually, it starts off with Aoi Hina seeing a little flicker of light. and
Before
getting
that,
scared
though,
by it.
I think it's
What?
interesting that they're like, oh, opening chapter, it's her in her bed with her like underwear on,
Oh, yeah,
hugging
that
a
was weird.
pillow.
I was like,
I was
oh,
like,
yeah.
what is this for? What? And
Yeah.
I'm like, are we playing as her? And they're like, nah, you're just gonna follow her for a bit. Her
Yeah.
being sad, crying, and she's like, I want food.
I need a donut.
I hungies for human flesh.
Yeah. And then she sees a flickering light and gets scared and then leaves. And then originally calls it a ghost, which is like weird, but okay.
That's such a like a. They do that a lot. As we're referencing JoJo so much, where they're like, where they think it's one thing and they just keep saying it so many times.
Yeah.
They're trying to make you believe it, but I'm like, that's not that. There's no way that's that. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
They're like, that was a ghost. I'm like, no, that was just a stand. Obviously, it's a fuck. We understand this world has stands.
Yeah.
This one, I'm like, there's no ghost in this world. There's no way there's fucking. If there is, that's just insane. Now we're throwing ghosts in
We're
this
throwing
fucking.
so much into this.
Yeah,
already.
and I'm like, fuck. What to be fair though, what they introduced is also kind of like
Yeah.
wild. Not that crazy, but still, I was like,
Oh yeah.
okay.
And then eventually everyone goes to investigate. We find this computer that Chihiro, thankfully, had set up with essentially just his own
Hacker boy.
image.
It's
called
AI.
called
Artificial
Alter
AI.
Ego.
Alter ego.
And they're figuring out that they can help out the group and all that. And then I get really annoyed with Hifumi and the way, because Hifumi keeps calling him she. This is
Don't
a
they
she
correct
AI.
him? They correct him.
No.
I thought someone was like, nah. It's not
I think
like,
someone does, but then he keeps going.
Yeah, he just keeps going.
He never stops, and I was just like, "Guy, come on! Like, you find out it's a guy. Like, even though it's an AI of a person, like it's still an AI
like
of a guy.
like even like I believe he knows the truth, but the fact that he just keeps going with that because he wants to believe what he's saying is true.
Yeah,
is like I'm just like dog.
Yeah,
cheat. Like well he does. Thank you, die. Please die.
Yeah,
like fuck, bro. Like don't be weird. I remember this. Ironically enough, this was for me like it was like I was slowly going downwards. Yeah. So I'm like, holy fucking shit, Hifumi, how are you still alive?
Yes.
I hate you. And this whole gimmick of that, of him with the AI alter ego, he's like, my precious,
my 2D little baby,
whatever. It's like, call me Oni-chan.
He dies like, master. Yeah.
Well, I think in Japanese, I think they say Oni-chan or something like that.
He dies in the chapter, so.
I was like, holy fucking shit. If he doesn't die, I swear. And then the opposite happens with a different character.
Yeah.
Taka goes fucking Super Saiyan God.
Actually, yeah, I wrote down SSJ Taka
so
in my
fucking
notes.
Cool. There's an art picture of him in the game.
Yeah.
They have like he looks like he has like a stand. Like Mondo is his stand.
Oh.
So, like it's his ghost behind him.
That's sick.
And he's like, because they're doing like the pointing pose.
Yeah.
And Mondo's behind him like doing the exact same pose as his ghost.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, yo, this is so fucking cool.
Can you show us that?
I love Taka. What?
Can you show us that? Real
I have to boot up the game, but like,
yeah.
it's in the game. But I was like, oh fuck yeah, Taka, because again he's still depressed and you feel sad for him.
So you feel good for him now that he's
so when
better.
he's like, he's back and he's like, everyone more rules.
Yeah, but then he also starts saying the fuck word.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, because he breaks his own rules, but he's still like, but we're still doing rules.
Yeah.
It sounds so weird coming from him.
It did, yeah. And then I just wasn't taking that many notes, and then I wrote. I hope this is where the chapter where Hifumi dies.
I was also like, God, Jesus.
And then I wrote the next, the fucking murder happened.
Yeah,
you see, the robot, and I said, I hope this giant robot kills a Hifumi. And then I saw Hifumi in the library, and I just wrote, "Hey yo!" Hey, yo! And then I was upset when I found out Hifumi wasn't dead. So I was like, "Oh,
he's like, gotcha, bitch."
Yeah. But yeah, that whole case was actually really interesting, just the way it was set up. And I liked, at this point in the game, I was like, oh, I'm in. Like, I like solving these cases. I like going through and trying to figure out how to break down these. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, imagine him in the trial
with ghosts. Oh my god,
that would be so fucking cool.
Like using the ghosts of Mondo to like.
That would be cool.
Oh my god! So I wasn't paying attention. I'm just kidding. I was paying attention because I already know.
So yeah, at this point of the game, I was just really invested and like really interested, like into solving these cases. And even though this one was kind of weird, like I at some point I was like, oh, Celeste is kind of acting weird.
Yes, I see.
And at the beginning of the chapter, they solidify that she's really good at lying, coming up with shit on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, she must be involved with this murder somehow.
Yeah.
And then, I was really happy Hifumi was dead. That's cool. And then we get to the trial, and I'm like, oh well, I don't know how this works out. Like I was like, there's no way Celeste did this. And eventually, like halfway through the trial, once we realized that Hifumi was working with someone, I was like, "Oh, he's a simp. Oh, he worked with Celeste, didn't he?"
So, I forgot about this at the second chapter. Where I mentioned like everyone I hanged out with died.
Yeah.
In the second chapter, I did hang out with Chihiro.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, well, I like Chihiro, and she's cute at the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, she died, and I'm like, oh, and that's a he, and I'm like, well, that didn't change my opinion, but fuck, she died. And in this one, I was like, I'm hanging out with Taka. Because he's the fucking GOAT in this, man. He's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
I don't think we said that 2 people die in this chapter.
Yeah, I remember. So I remember when I played this, I was like, man, Celeste is real talking a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when she's like, I saw something. I like her model when she's like in the just like her like half eye kind of clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
That model looked really cool. So I was like, oh, Celeste. But then like after a while, I'm like, you're talking. Like you're the only one being like, hey, look over there, look over there.
Yeah.
Then when you find Taka, I was like, no. No. I was like, fuck, man. And I'm like, Hifume's still alive. And then when he died, I was like, holy fuck. Oh, like, I redeemed everything.
You're like an eye for an eye, okay.
It is like Nike. Like, but I remember when I saw him, and I was like, he looks weird. Because they mentioned it, like, there's blood on his glasses.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. Because I remember when I looked at it, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I was like, Hifume's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking in. Like,
10 out of 10.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck if I'm wrong. Anyone can die after this point. I don't give a fuck. I'm in. But then obviously, like, you learn that he finds his body again. And that part, I was like, this is dumb. I hate this.
Yeah.
Where he finds his body a second time, and then he's like, Hina is like, oh fuck, man, I don't know if he wasn't dead. And he's like, oh, actually, I'm alive again because a woman touched me. And then he's just like, she cries. Yeah, she cried, and a tear landed in his mouth. He's like, and he's like, delicious.
The power of a woman's touch.
He's like, I've never felt this since I was born. And then he's fucking like, I'm back. And then classic thing. Oh, I'm back. Who killed you? Oh, yeah, I remember. Who killed me? I know exactly who killed me. Kill me, kill me. He just said, oh, just say the fucking word.
Please say the name.
And he's like, Yashihiro. And I'm like, who? Who's that? And they're like, oh, the voice guy's named Yashihiro. I'm like, really? No one's ever said that. Because the game, they don't talk. He doesn't say that anyway. No one really says his name anyway.
No one really talks to him.
Yeah, I ignore him. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, say Celeste. Why don't you say fucking Celeste?
Yeah, why doesn't he say Celeste?
Because
if you said, obviously, if you say it, the whole thing's fucked. Like, it's over fast. But I'm naturally, I'm like, if I got killed by someone who's a fake name, but everyone knows the fake, I'm not gonna be like,
their real name.
I'm their real name. Who? Like, I'm dead now. It's like, too late, bitch. I would have been like, Celeste. Oh, at least because like, oh, he was the last name, Ludenberg.
Yeah,
that's it. Everyone would have known exactly. If you were so like, I gotta say her name, I'm gonna say the name that no one knows at the time.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're an idiot.
So
I'm glad you're dead.
Yeah,
you deserve to die.
Good.
I'm hoping he died a painful death. He probably didn't. But I remember because I'm like, oh, but Hifume got up, and I'm like, what if Taka's not dead?
Oh yeah.
I was like, what if he's like, what if he's faking it or something?
He's the power of Mondo's spirit.
Because that'd be cool, right?
That would've been awesome.
Why did it die? Because I'm like, I saw him, and I'm like, that man would not die by Hifume. Hifume's a weak bitch.
Yeah.
Like, Taka would survive that and probably kill Hifume.
Oh
I was like, that's what happened, right?
Oh.
No, he died by like a bitch.
Yeah.
By Hifume, which is the worst fate you can have.
Hifume used his nerd rage on him. His
And I was like,
rage.
holy fuck, bro. And then the reasoning, holy shit. In my head, I had a different reason for some reason. I don't know if that because I read a fanfic or some shit like that.
Yeah, like,
for some reason, my brain, I had a different reason what I thought it really was happening. And then when the game told me, I'm like, that's better than what I thought it was. You're still a fucking idiot.
I thought this was like the only case where I like figured out myself like way before the trial.
I was like, oh, he's a simp. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, Fumi's not dead. He watched himself up. People are like, well, yeah.
There's no way anything else could have happened.
Yeah, they're
he
like,
has to still be alive.
There's like a whole thing like they're trying to figure out how did Hifumi get all the way from the first floor to the fourth floor if he's dead.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, because he wasn't
carried him.
I'm like, and then did they mention like, oh, he didn't have blood on his glasses the second time we found him, and I'm like, yeah, because he faked it till like he's dead now, but he faked it the first time, so he's obviously working with someone.
Yeah,
I remember it took me a while to realize it was Celeste. So I was like, Hifume just a weirdo. Like,
she gave it away when she was like, oh, I saw the robot. He ran that way.
I think because I was so like, I was just like, oh yeah, I gotta trust her. Like,
I need
because I hanged out with Taka. And I hanged out with Celeste. That chat for so I'm like, I like you, Celeste. I'm in. Died. Dead. But like, I do think it's interesting because hers, unlike Leon, who just obviously just gave in, which to be fair, is you would probably. Yeah. But again, it kind of shows her character where she's like, where she obviously brings up the whole fact, like, oh yeah, she hear the fucking clever dude did blah blah blah. She's constantly saying that, but then the second they debunk that, she stops talking about that at all. Yeah. She kind of stops talking for a bit. And then once it started making more theories, she's like, yeah, it's that. And then she kind of like keeps making it like her way.
Some other way.
And I'm like, I'm glad they wrote her character. Like, that's what her character would do. She wasn't just being like, no. They're like, we're done. We've already established. Yeah. No, but Yasha.
It had to have been him.
Who's in the suit? They're like, the suit wasn't involved. But the suit, like she kind of like adapted with the thing.
Yeah.
I think in general her character was probably like the only character that kind of like not trust you, but like follows your conversations throughout the trials.
Yeah,
like she's one of the few who like isn't stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
When they're like, but this thing, she's usually like, oh yeah, you're right. Like with the Chiaki thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I already forgot if I said his name right. I don't even know.
Fujisai?
No, fucking Chisahaki, whatever the fuck. What the fuck? Computer boy. I already forgot his name.
Chihiro.
Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying.
Fujisaki is her last name.
Yeah, that's why. I think that's why I got confused. Where he's just like, she's like, like when he's like, oh, but like you're the only one, and she's like, oh yeah, you're right. So why would Mondo? Like she kind of caught on with you guys. But everyone's like, why are you bringing up the blue thing? And I was like, God, you guys are all stupid.
Oh my God.
So then I'm like, she's the killer. I'm like, fuck, we lost like all that smart character. We're all fucked. at least Byakugan, he was pretty good in this. Because he was like, we kind of like glossed over his second trial shit.
Byakuya's
what a fucking
asshole.
Psychopath as well.
Like framing, like entirely changing the whole scene.
They're like, why'd you do it? Make it more fun.
Yeah.
It'd be more fun that way.
You plebeians. He's the fucking dude who like reads like The Greatest Hunt or whatever. Where he's like, I hunt humans, and he's like, oh, I'd do that too. Like that's what he would do.
Like I said, I hated him at first, but then I ended up liking him.
Especially when he gets like kind of like, well, he got literally slapped, but then he also got figuratively slapped later on as well. But like in this one, he's been mellowed out, where he kind of helps you, but he's also kind of fucks with you too. But he's kind of like, I think Makoto like answers his question. He's still like, bitch. And then I was like, damn, bro, just answer the question you asked me. What the fuck? But other times he kind of like does like, hey, fucking Celeste, that was kind of stupid because this other he just solves it, right? He's like, you said the one thing that doesn't make sense. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, look at that. He solved it before fucking Kyoko did. Because Kyoko, I don't think said shit.
Yeah, I don't think Kyoko.
Oh, because she was gone. I forgot. She was gone in that chapter. Remember?
Was she gone?
Because that was the chapter she like disappeared.
Yes, she did.
She disappeared. So like, so that's why she couldn't help you as much. Yeah. She was like, what if we solve this individually? That's the kind of, but Byakugan was like, I have the more specific hints, and then you kind of go off him.
He went into this, I don't know who it was.
And I think, I mentioned earlier, like, Yashihiro, like, at least in this chapter, like, in this trial, he does show more emotion. Like, because they're obviously accusing him. So he finally shows something. Yeah. But then they immediately go back to him being a dumbass. Like, that same trial. Yeah. He's immediately back, like, oh, the weapon obviously was the hammer. And it's like, which one? The justice hammer? It's like, no, you fucking, we were just talking about why it's not the hammer. Yeah. And he's like, oh, shit, I don't know. And I'm like, God, shut the fuck up, dog.
I really liked Celeste's voice when she like broke down.
Yeah, her real voice.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
That was cool.
It's funny because it's so completely different. But if you listen back to her like natural Celeste, like her real Celeste, her fake Celeste voice, it's pretty obvious that she's like, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not a good voice.
But like when the switch happens, you're like, what the? She's been faking it. What the fuck? like obviously she has, but like you kind of that's like your slap. You're like, oh my fucking.
There's like a hint early on that she like has.
She yells at Hifume. I think so. In the second chapter, I think. Because he brings her like the wrong tea.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, you fucking pig. You don't fucking know tea. And he's like, what? He's like, I mean, you brought the wrong tea.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but
I remember everything about Celeste.
Like literally before we came over today, like I was listening to clips of her voice because I was like, I really like that.
Oh, I had that same thing for a different character that we'll get into later.
But I think it's funny also because she's like, oh, bitch or whatever. She also curses and shit or whatever.
Fucking asshole! No shit.
That's so funny.
With her dope ass ring finger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was so cool, man. Yeah. And then her execution's really cool too. Like,
her execution, it's interesting because at the end where you're like, oh, it's her, and then at the time, like she gives up. She's like, I lost. I'm fucked, I guess. Yeah. And she kind of like trying to go to pretend to be back because like she's lying to herself that she's not scared. Yeah. That scene makes me kind of sad. Oh yeah. Obviously, fuck her, right? Because she fucking killed. She's like, I'm gonna kill Hifume, and I obviously am fine with Taka dying too. Like she doesn't give a fuck about people. Yeah. But still, I'm kind of like the way she's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And you're like, Makoto's like, she wasn't fine. Yeah. What's that mean? We're like, she was fine, but she wasn't. No, she wasn't. And then when she died, when her execution is like, oh, burn the witch. Yeah. Well, I think the name's like Versailles or whatever.
The burning at Versailles or something like that.
And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And I looked it up. It's like a palace in France. Yeah. Which is like her thing. Yeah. But I was like, it's so interesting because like it swerves you in the execution as well. Yeah. She's like, oh, she's just gonna get burned. Oh, fire truck! Just right through it. Because like the way it's set up, she's like no selling it, and then like you kind of know she's like slowly freaking out more. You're like, oh, she's gonna finally scream. Yeah. Nah, the fucking this fire truck just
shows up and
piles her, kills her, and it's so funny because Monokuma's like burn the little torch, like, oh shit, I gotta put the fire out. Yeah, and he's like, I did it. I was like, Jesus Christ, because we didn't bring it up. Like every trial, every execution, he's like goofy as fuck. Yeah, because when Leon dies, they show everyone's like reaction, him ever being scared, and then they show his too, like, oh shit, like he was like not the one who just killed him. Yeah. I think with Mondo, he eats the pancakes or whatever. Yeah, so he's like that's also fucked as well because he's eating a fucking human. Well, he's also not real, but whatever. Yeah. But this one, well, like I think I have like that small comedic shit. Yeah. Where like again, it's not as dark because that kind of shit happens. You kind of laugh.
Like I like this comedic stuff more than the Mondo theaters. Those were like.
I was like, if you listen to some of them, they do explain. They foreshadow a lot of things. Yeah. I know. I'm not saying like I also hated them.
They're boring.
Because I remember when I played it, I'm like, I don't understand this. And then I read some like, oh, they explain things. And then like I listened to some of them, like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, but I played it for real again. I'm like, Shut up. I'm like, I skipped. I was like, skip. I'm like, I don't care if you foreshadow.
Was the skip button? Like
was
the
it
mega skip? I was like, oh, okay.
Second trial. He's like, Mono's best playing his origin story, but you can hit B. I had the Xbox controller.
Oh,
like, if you hit B, you skip it though, and I'm like, oh boy, Monokuma, fuck off.
Yeah. No, I was doing that whenever like the morning announcements.
Yeah. After a while, I thought like maybe it'll be different. Nah, it's the fucking same. I'm like, skip.
Yeah.
But yeah, her execution's like it's perfect.
It's also the most visually interesting one.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, actually, I really like watching that one.
Especially like her reactions.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But it makes me sick. I like Celeste a lot. Yeah. And I was like, fuck. I guess I'm the only one that their waifu like died through a trial, not because of anything other way or whatever.
I guess
yours lives, but
both of yours live.
Both of them.
And then I wonder why he picked them.
Mine gets murdered.
Mine gets executed.
Yeah,
and mine also got murdered at the beginning. Yeah, well. I had two as well that died.
Yeah,
and at the end,
I do. Yes, but I think it's funny because at that point you're like, okay, and for me at least. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm getting the gimmick now. Like, anyone can be the killer.
Mm-hmm. And,
like, so now you look at all the players left, the characters, and you're like, okay, who can and who can't? Because there are characters I'm like, oh, no way Hina's not going to kill anyone. Yeah. Sakura maybe, who knows? But, like, some characters I'm like, you're not going to kill people. And I'm like, who can?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Celeste throughout the whole game is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Because I think it's in the second one where she's like, oh, well, we have the pools now. And like because they die, so maybe their deaths aren't so bad after all. Yeah. And I was like, And then this one, I was like, she's obviously they're like she's a liar and blah blah blah, and I'm like, man, she like I think she might be a killer. Like, no, I don't think. But I was like, who, then I'm not because like who then will die? Then?
Yeah.
So after a while, I'm like, there's only so many killer potential.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, Killies though, like anyone can fucking die. But after this one, you're left with it's like what 7?
It's 8 has to be. What
is doing that? Okay,
there's
so
6
we have
left.
Makoto, Kyoko, Sakura, Hina, Byakugan, Toko, Yashihiro.
Yeah, so
that's
7.
Yeah. 7. You have 7 characters left.
Oh, Sakura?
Yeah, it's a Sakura.
Okay. Because you're right. No one in the next one. It's only one person.
But and we'll talk about that later. But like at that, because there's a double kill, like, and in the first one there's like a double kill,
and then triple kill.
So it's kind of like you're going through bodies.
Yeah.
So you're at 7 people and you're at chapter 4.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, there are only so many options left.
Yeah.
You have the idea that the mole character, and again, they kind of in the end of this chapter kind of say who it is basically.
Yeah.
Who the mole character is. But like in the back, you're like, you have the mole character. You assume the mastermind is probably one of us. You don't count because you're the main character. Yeah. So you really have 6 options, and at that point you can kind of like. One of these guys have to be something. Yeah. Like, there's only so many things left or whatever. So I think at this point, I was super in. Yeah. Because I'm just like, there's only so many options left. Yeah. There should not be surprises at this point.
It was at this point
that you fucked up.
At the end of chapter 3, I finished at the end of the night. I went to work the next day. I'm like, I wonder how long chapter 4 and chapter 5, chapter 6 are. And I see who the mastermind is. So I already knew that going into 4, 5, and 6. That's what I spoiled for myself.
Okay.
So I will blatantly admit this first. I don't remember at one point this was, but I'll say it now. It's not this chapter. I'll ask this real quick though. Did you guys ever find out the whole alternate ending thing I was telling you guys about?
No.
There is one.
No.
Okay, so there is one. It's in chapter 5. But I want to bring this up now because I think this is one of the time where I found out this fact. Okay. So this is the only point, and I'll bring this up with chapter 5 where I did not like this gimmick. Where there's one point you get an alternate ending. Okay. Where the game ends, like, and it doesn't end with a game, or it ends with like a thing, and then it's like, oh, you did the wrong thing, and then you have to do it again. Yeah. That's the only time it happens.
Oh, I think I know where that happens, but yeah, go for it.
This is chapter 5.
Yeah.
And
I was like, where in chapter 5?
Yeah. So, as I am a jerk off, so I'm like, well, I'm playing this game. Yeah. I gotta find the material, right? So I'm looking at material stuff, right? And I find a certain doujin. Yeah. And I read it. And they spoil what the alternate ending is. Oh. But I didn't know that was the alternate ending. I thought that was the real ending. I'll spoil what the alternate ending is, that Kyoko gets executed in chapter 5 instead of Makoto.
No. Okay.
So I only knew that part. Because I stopped reading it. The second I saw that, I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah. So I'm like, she's a killer. I didn't know I didn't know anything else about it. So I'm like, she's a killer. I'm never gonna hang out with her. I'm not gonna trust her anymore. She's gonna kill someone, 100%. Yeah. And I think it was around this time because I'm like, there's only so many characters I can hang out with. fuck you, I'm not gonna hang out with Kyoko. I
Yeah.
don't like Toko. So I think Hina's the only person I hang out. I've maxed her out, I think, because I'm like, obviously because she survives longer. But at this point in time, I'm like, Kyoko's evil.
No.
And like she disappears, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah, there's
god,
like so much of this.
she's evil. So at this point in time, I'm like, I do not trust her anymore. Because there are times when she says some sus things, and I'm like,
Oh, for sure. Like she figures something out a little too easily, and you're like,
I'm like, is she the mastermind? She's an evil person. So at this point in time, this is my headspace where I think Kyoko's evil, and there's 5 people left. You kind of figure out early on Sakura's the mole.
Yeah.
Especially at the end of that chapter, you kind of like
you find that at the beginning of chapter 4.
So it's like she's the mole. So now we're at fucking 4 people.
Yeah.
Yashihiro, no, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna. He's gonna get killed, and that's it. That's all he's left.
Yeah.
So you have Byakugan, Toko, and Sakura. Wait, no.
Kyoko.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hina, Toko,
Byakugan.
Byakugan.
Yes.
And I'm like, Hina, I doubt.
Yeah.
And then we have Toko and Byakugan, and I'm like, well, maybe not Toko, because she kind of her thing already happened. There's no way she's gonna have another thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm like Byakugan. So I'm stuck with like Byakugan's probably like the mastermind. Sakura's the mole, and Kyoko's gonna probably kill someone. That was me coming into this point where I'm just like, I figured this out. I
know
got
the whole
this.
story.
That's what happens when I jerk off. I did it with the second one and the third one. Maybe we'll talk about that. Who knows?
Good job.
But that was I got spoiled in the wrong way, and I was like, Kyoko's evil. I thought it was so funny, 'cause especially in this trial, it does a 180.
Yeah.
Instead of a murder, it's I guess it's still a
yeah,
murder.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this I just was like, oh, what's up with the spy subplot? I thought it was interesting.
Mhm.
And then my next note is less babes equals spend time with Toko.
You were in, huh?
Yeah, I was just like, well, I guess Toko. Like, all right.
because you
fine.
kind of like at that point you're also like anyone could die.
Yeah, I was
Like, I'm like, hopefully this person I'm gonna pick this does not die. And if they make it the next time, well, I'm just gonna keep hanging out with you because I already hanged out with you the first time.
Yeah, I was really weirded out. At the beginning of that chapter, there's a weird scene with Toko and Aoi.
Oh, that's one because Hina slaps Byakugan. Right?
It's before that. I'm talking about the arrow scene where like Toko is like talking a lot about like, oh, you're so lewd and like, oh, your boobs and all that. And
She's jealous.
Hina's just like, what?
Yeah, she's always like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And Toko's just like breathly, like I had to plug in my headphones on my controller because I'm like, I don't want anyone to walk by my room and just hear this girl like nutting or whatever. That was just really weird to me, and it ultimately means nothing.
Yeah,
in the plot.
yeah.
I'm like, why did they do that?
Her character constantly just like, 'cause she hates Hina.
Yeah,
Because again, she's basically like hot, and she doesn't think she is, so she's just like, I fucking hate you, bitch.
I'm just looking at
That's
more
his
notes,
character.
and I'm like, this case is even easier. You totally had to do it,
Bro,
I
so okay, we'll talk real quick. So as I mentioned earlier, like Sakura's the mole.
Yeah.
She's the fucking traitor or whatever.
And then you find her dead.
And then before that, like everyone's like, fuck you, Sakura, bitch.
Yeah.
And then like they all fucking fight between each other, and Sakura's like, I'll end this myself. And you're just like, you assume I wasn't actually intending to do her impression. I was just naturally doing a deep voice for no reason.
That was pretty good.
She just like in that time you're like, I'm gonna end this, or what? I see something like that degree.
Yeah,
And then you assume she's gonna kill someone because I think Manakuma's like, you have to kill someone.
yeah,
So you assume she's gonna kill someone, but in my head I'm like, but she wouldn't though,
yeah.
because like it's her character's. I like her. I'm so upset she died. I'm not gonna lie. I wish Yashihiro died and she didn't. I wish she was a survivor.
My
to be
character
honest.
did grow on me.
Because again, I know she starts like you could maybe like in the beginning, like, she could probably kill someone.
Yeah.
Physically she can't, but like even mentally maybe she could. But because she got best friends with Hina, like no way she's gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
Unless someone's like, I'm gonna kill Hina, and then she's like, fuck you, bitch, and like kills them instead. Other than that, I'm like, there's no other way this chick is gonna kill someone. So when I'm at that point, I'm like, what the fuck's gonna happen? And then when if she dies, I'm like, oh, she probably like made someone kill her on purpose.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, but Yashihiro's stupid. Like, so like they show it's Toko and him.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny
Yeah.
when he like glasses her.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is comedic at this point. This is like fucking Toko like, bitch, and then like Yoshi was like, oh bitch, and, like I'm like, is this a joke? Like, is this supposed to be funny? Like,
both hit
this is
her.
funny to me.
Yeah.
But like when he did it, I'm like, he didn't kill her.
Yeah,
There's no
no,
way he fucking killed her.
I was like, he had to do it, but at the same time, there's no way.
I also feel
the
like
fact that he thought he did too.
Yeah. Fuck. And then he like very hastily put Toko's name in blood.
He's such an idiot.
they did this one thing in the beginning where like they try to make you think about the crime scene. Like they're like, oh, someone had to like arrange it this way because the door is locked and all that. And as soon as they said that, and the hero came up, I'm like, it wasn't him. He's too dumb for this. He could not pull this off.
He would have pulled a Ryan Gosling from Nice Guys, like break the glass and lock it. I was like, just like die. Would it be so funny if you find his dead body
in there,
and then like when you open the door, Sakura, they're like, wait a minute, did they kill 2 people? Like, nah, he actually killed himself.
Yeah.
And what does he ignore his thing? And then just complete, it's like, he died, but no, whatever.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
Jesus.
No, but yeah, when she kills herself, that's why I'm like, Hina's character finally has like she didn't need it. In my head, I'm like, she didn't need development because I think her character was nice enough. Like she was just nice and like she's energetic and she's nice going. And then she's like best with Hina. Yeah. And then she's like, nah, fuck, I'm gonna kill all you fuckers. I'm like, this girl, I like you. Yeah. I'm like, you have the balls to be like, I'm gonna kill everyone. I'm gonna fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna take all you down with me.
That was wild. I was like, you're wild to be like.
I like how no one held a grudge against her.
Yeah, I think it's understandable. And also because Monokuma sets it up to make it like. Oh, it wasn't she naturally thought that. Monokuma was like, oh, she killed herself because of all you fuckers. So. I thought it was kind of BS because like he purposely intervenes, which he does again later, and I'm like, that's
the very next trial actually.
Yeah.
Exactly,
which is like less proof of the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and I'm like that kind of ruins like the whole like there's a mystery, the whole point of like the spare thing. Where I'm like, well, if you start it, it's supposed to be between them.
Yeah,
like you started, but like if you intervene midway, it's like if you're like, here's a gun. Kill someone, like, okay, well, you just basically did everything. Like, we just like, I wrote the letter, and I'm like, oh, okay, really, you wrote the letter, like,
well, it's even less about giving tools and it's about giving motivation, you know, like
like as long as you give the motivation, that's all you have to do. I didn't need him to like give the letter. I just thought that was like bogus.
Oh, for sure.
That's like that's what happened. That's how I said like, I just wrote a letter, and I'm like, oh. Like, what if you just do that all the time?
Yeah.
Why don't you do that every single fucking time? Because you're obviously setting this up to we can lose.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that earlier?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just like, oh, when fucking like Hafume died, like I don't know, maybe what if he cleaned his glasses for him so he fucking didn't have to wipe his dumbass glasses? You know what I mean? Like,
you guys are idiots. Like, what if you carried the body? You know?
Yeah. He's like, I got the bro. I got the muscles, dog. I carried his fat ass around. Yeah. But that was like, but I think I got really, I didn't cry, but I was very like, damn.
That is a very like emotional scene,
especially like the when you do the whole like reenact the trial and you have like a picture with the murderer, but this time it was Hina.
Yeah,
and you kind of do the classic like look into the sky and you can't see your eyes because you're probably crying because her friend just killed herself for us or whatever, and then obviously she's crying or whatever because your friend died.
Yeah,
but I think there's another one's references. I'm like, what the fuck? So wait, they find Sakura. That's a reference to like fucking a boxing manga. Where there's like a dude, I think the main character, he dies in the ring sitting down, and he's smiling. Like I think they went to 16 rounds, and then he dies in the 16th round, and he dies the exact same way, like sitting down, head down, with a smile, and the lights like shining on him. It's the exact same picture.
That was a really nice like drawn scene by the way.
I mean that's a reference to that, and I'm like, I would have fucking never have guessed it. Maybe who knows if Japanese people would like.
It's not Hajime no
I don't think so. It's a different because the main character's like named Joe something.
Oh, okay.
So they're just like it's like Joe versus like Joe or something. Like that same name. I swear. But yeah, her death was. I was like when he saw, especially that picture. So like, it's intense because also like there's like it's no like classic like blood. Like there's gore. Just like,
yeah, just like black and white. There you go.
And obviously there's blood on her, but it's like, it's not like it doesn't make it seem as gruesome really as like the other ones. You're just like, damn. But I remember, so at that point you're just like, wow, now we remove the mole character, and obviously in my head I'm like, Kyoko's the bad guy.
Yeah,
she's gonna have to. I'm like, she has to kill someone in this chapter. No. Like, this is it. And in this chapter, I think it does a fucking another swerve.
Chapter 5, yeah.
Chapter 5 goes another swerve.
Should we just do 5 and 6 together? Because
they're basically
they're pretty red. Like, yeah, and then that's pretty much it.
It's that swerve. I'll let Say's been doing like the whole explanation. My anger is to the other trial part more than anything.
Sure. So basically,
you want me to explain? I don't really care.
Makoto starts off as a sick little boy.
Yeah.
He gets a little fever.
He's too hot. Because he's so horny. Like, I gotta release my tension. Wait, before that though.
Oh yeah, before that.
Yeah, I just remember that.
With Kyoko and Byakuya. What is that about again? Why does Byakuya hate Kyoko? Why doesn't he trust Kyoko again?
Because she doesn't tell them like about her past.
Oh yeah.
She's like, well, I can't because I have amnesia.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna take your room key if you don't tell me at all,
bitch. Wait, and then is it this the one where Byakuya got bitch slapped? Like not like figuratively.
I think this is where he gets.
Is it the fifth one or the fourth one where they're like he's wrong?
I can't remember.
Was it the Sakura one where he's like, oh, Sakura died, and they're like, no, she killed herself, and he's like, wait, what?
Oh yeah.
And then because he basically metaphorically got bitch slapped.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, like you think everyone's like you, but no one is.
Because of the protein bottle.
Yeah.
The broken glass.
So that's why, because he was like, oh, that's what. I think after that point he mellows out.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, now he's kind of realizing like maybe
he's like, there's more to this than
and like if I want to survive,
he really is Seto Kaiba.
Yeah.
he got bitch slapped by the main character, not literally in this one.
Yeah.
At least sorry, I think it's one of the funniest things. Seto Kaiba, he's like, there's a duel with Hugh and Yugi, and like Yugi's gonna win, and Kaiba's like, I'm gonna jump off this tower if you attack me right now. So do what you gotta do, bitch. Yugi's like, I had my turn, bitch. I beat you. You suck. I was like, Joe, you're crazy.
Is that like a real thing?
Yeah, I forgot when it was. No, I've seen that. Like, he's like, because they're on a tower or something.
Yeah.
And he's like at the edge of it. He's like, I'm gonna fucking jump if you attack me. Do it, bitch. And he's like, no. He's like, I win. I'm a better duelist than you.
Oh my god.
I'm like, yo, God, bro.
You fucking
watch it be like I was wrong. And that was like a fan thing or something.
That'd be awesome,
I swear
though.
that's real though.
I still want to see that.
I can see his character doing that though.
But yeah, so Byakuya has this whole thing with Kyoko because she's, very secretive about her past, but not intentionally, just she can't remember any of it. So he decides as punishment he's gonna take her room key.
And he's like, you gotta sleep in my room, girl.
I thought Makoto was gonna share his room with her.
Yeah, that's gonna start like the more romance or whatever.
But that didn't end up happening, and instead,
disappointed Sam was.
Yeah,
I was sad.
I know you were sad.
Fever dream, Makoto is like freaking out, and he wakes up and there's like this masked person standing over him with this combat knife. And all of a sudden he blacks out, and then Kyoko.
A luchador mask, man.
Yeah.
A combat knife that he had.
The combat knife that he had. He was given.
Yes.
And then Kyoko just shows up behind the fucking guy, and then that's it. Then he fades
She's
away.
like, nothing personal, kid. beats the fucking masked man.
Yeah.
German suplex his ass, probably.
And then, this reminds me. In this chapter, so once you wake up, you're exploring the new area. This is the fifth floor now, right?
Yes.
Did the fifth? No, you played it on PC, Alex. Did the fifth floor have like slowdown or lag? Noticeable lag? I had lag.
I didn't notice.
Did you play it on PS4 or PS5?
PS5.
Oh, well, that's probably why. On PS4, there was it was like I was walking a lot slower than I normally do. Or, like when I would select something, it would like really slowly throw the question mark. And then once
I think I do remember that.
And then once I would go into the room, it was fine.
Yeah. There are times
I did
the game
I didn't get that.
Slows a bit down. I was like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
I got that every time you selected something, but I feel like just the game design.
Yeah, I think just maybe the game wasn't right, but
I think you're right. I think there was lag. I think that map is really big.
It is, yeah.
And it's open, so like there's no like closed walls or anything. So it's like I think it just takes a lot to load.
Yeah,
that's my guess. But I think I do remember that. I thought that was funny. He's like,
it was pretty funny, like throwing the question.
And I was like, I hit him like, did it not work? I just spam. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like this is a JoJo thing. Like what the fuck? I think it was so slow.
I did not come across that issue. I'm sorry.
It's funny. I'm gonna try to find a clip of that for you.
Race over here.
Yeah, honestly. So yeah, you start wandering around and you end up finding this garden.
What's that thing called? Like the Botan Garden, right? The
bio something garden.
Bio something garden. That's something garden.
It's Biolab.
No, something else.
Yeah,
botanical
that's
garden,
Bioshock. Yeah, botanical. That's what
botanical. Anyway, so you go to the garden and you see some stuff. Actually, you check out the garden beforehand, and there's like a plants and a chicken coop.
A Mario reference.
You find
piranha plants.
Oh yeah.
Like Yoshihiro's like, wait a minute, there's not
that plant is stupid. They made a Monokuma plant and didn't use it at all.
Yeah, it was just there. And then you go to the shed and you see a crazy diamond pickaxe, and you're like, "Whoa, did Mondo have a pickaxe? Was he a JoJo reference also?" Anyways,
I did a JoJo. I think I did his pose.
Yeah,
his pose like
it's like that or something.
Again, no one can see us.
Anyways,
doesn't matter.
So then later, after you have this fever dream, you go up there and then you find a body there, and it's the masked body and with a knife through its chest.
Also, I think we forgot to mention. I think that they show that character like at chapter 3. I think.
Yes, they do.
Because like Kyoko's like, here's this like, there's a secret passageway in the boys' bathroom, and then you get like, you find a book. Like, we're gonna answer the question. Bonk. Nah, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if you look at the map when you're on the second floor, you see that room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because when I played it originally, I'm like, what is that space? And I'm like, it's probably nothing. So like, you don't really think about it. But when I played it again recently, and I'm like, I put the map on, you can see it's like a small room.
Yeah.
Like right behind it. I don't know if that's supposed to be like just a cleaning room, but that doesn't make sense because it's in the room itself. So why would there be a smaller room outside the room for a room inside the room? So I think it's just like if you know what that is, you'll know what it is. But if you don't, it's like
just there.
Yeah, you'll be like, whatever, who cares?
I think before we continue on, we need to gonna talk about something else.
What?
My dead
The
waifus?
possibility of there being another student in
Oh,
The 16th student.
So this is I use it on Big Danganronpa, guys. That's a big meme.
What?
Kyoko being like, "There's a 16th student," like her right in his ear, being like,
to him.
"The 16th student." Makoto's like, "What?"
Yeah. What's her name?
That's a
again? I don't
meme.
even remember her name.
something.
Something.
Mukuro?
Mukuro
Oh, yeah.
Ikusa or something.
Mukuro
like that.
Ikubasa?
Yeah,
something
she
like
says her
that?
name and then goes, "The ultimate despair." And then, like, that's... What the fuck is that?
Okay, her first name's Mukuro for sure.
Yeah. It's Mukuro for sure.
Mukuro Ikusabe.
Ikusabe.
And...
Which is funny because it's not Junko's last name.
It's not.
Which is
But
weird.
we don't know anything about that
I know,
yet.
but in general... First of all, everyone's spoilers anyway. It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like...
dedicating this much time. Anyway, I feel like we've already dedicated a lot of time to these chapters. Anyways, so yeah. There's a 16th student, possibly. The ultimate despair is what Kyoko calls her. And then you end up going and finding this body. And
fucking explodes.
it explodes because Toko tries to take off the mask.
And then Toko fucking doesn't die. She takes a fucking C4 to the face and she's like, "Oh shit, I'm alright."
Yeah.
Again, that happens in the second game.
Nice.
Exact same thing, and the characters, they're like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "What the fuck? They just blow up in your face."
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that's the same chapter too, I think. What the fuck? Oh my god, these games are the same.
And then you end up seeing the body. It's like charred on the top, but like the bottom's still
legs
fine
okay.
and the hands are fine. And you end up trying to follow this path, like figuring out who this person is. You're like, "Oh, this has to be the 16th student." You find out that she was a soldier, part of this Fenrir mercenary group. And then I was like, "Oh, more shadow organizations, cool, thank you." And then Byakuya is like, you
heard
know
of those
about Fenrir."
shadows?
Yeah.
Dog, I'm just a regular kid. I watch Sayaka and jerk off to her. Like, I don't have time to know about the shadow organization. What the fuck?
Then this dude pulls up a file on her and he's just like, "Read it," but
He's
it's
like,
in French.
And he's like, "Ah, merci beaucoup," and then he reads everything.
No, he's just like, "How do you not know French?" Well, high school dudes.
Yeah, I was like,
high school
dude,
I'm like,
students
"Bro, we're
know
Japanese.
French.
What?"
Yeah. Totally.
We barely know English.
I totally skimmed over some notes. I was mentioning how the intrigue was ramping up. I'm locked in. And then there's the reveal that this is being streamed on TV.
Oh,
Yeah, World Star stuff.
World Star on every channel has
Like,
it.
"Oh
apparently."
shit, dude.
And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of neat." Like, I feel like I've seen that somewhere before, but I can't name anything specifically. But that happens anyway. Sorry. You find the body.
I do think like when that was introduced, I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
So I was just like, "Hey, if everyone sees this, they're like, why the fuck is like, why are we still in here?"
Yeah.
I'm like, why is no one trying to stop us? I'm like, what the fuck? That's how I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And that was like,
Oh, it's reminds me of fucking Jim Carrey. What's
The
movie?
Truman Show?
oh,
Truman Show.
Yeah, I guess
it's
Yeah.
not as gruesome, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I think this is the point where I'm like, this answer must be cool
Yeah.
and interesting.
And they're talking about like this ultimate tragedy. What do they call it again?
The worst,
the-
ultimate. It's like
most
the fucking.
heinous.
It's the fucking like Alexander's most horrendous, super scary, duper day. Whatever
Yeah.
the fuck that movie's called. It's the same fucking thing. I was like,
And
what?
they kept referencing that, and
So
like,
many times.
they referenced like this other class of people, like the class before them or something. So I thought the tragedy, because they in the 5th floor they find that room that's smeared in blood and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So I assumed, oh, the ultimate whatever tragedy must have been some heinous event that happened with the
In
last
school.
group of students in this school. Not that, anyways. But
well, yes.
maybe, I don't know, whatever.
We'll maybe talk about it later. But
Anyways, so then you're trying to do this. You're trying to solve the situation. I
think at this point where it's like, because you're trying to find out who killed the student,
Yes.
Makura, and then like, and this is again that kind of goes back to the whole Monokuma thing in chapter 4,
yeah,
where you learn it's like no one killed her.
yeah, it's a setup.
Yeah.
It was a setup on purpose to fucking kill one of you guys on purpose,
Well,
like, to fuck
Yeah,
with
to
you.
frame Kyoko.
But then like Makoto's like, I guess they swerved Monokuma by accident.
Yeah.
They'll be like, no, Makoto did it, and he's like, oh, oops. There's like, fuck, we'll kill him too, anyways. Like Makoto can die.
Yeah.
And there's a point. That's why I mentioned the whole alternate ending, where it's like, oh, can you want to call out Kyoko's lie? And if you do, she dies. You guys all vote for her, and then she gets killed in the conveyor belt.
I can't doubt waifu though.
Even though she's trying to kill you.
Yes.
Because she is trying to kill
Does
you.
alter ego not end up
No,
saving her?
she just dies.
Okay.
She just gets crushed.
Okay.
And then, so the ending is, it's so funny. So she dies, and they're like, no murder ever happened ever again. They lived in the school forever. And the picture, I shouldn't have closed it. I shouldn't have closed the game. I have the
Oh,
picture. There's
okay.
a picture. It's that all of you have sex with Hina. Not that's a picture, sorry, but like because she has kids with all of them.
Oh,
so there's a little Yashihiro baby with the hair, Byakugan baby with the glasses and the hair.
Wait,
and
Toko's still around.
Oh no, Toko dies.
What?
She dies because Byakugan has a picture of Toko as a dead body.
Oh,
and he just like fucking like, hey bitch, I guess she dead.
But that no more murders happened.
No, I forgot how she died. She just dies like
she just dies of old age or something.
Yeah, I think she exploded. I think that saw that story like she just exploded somewhere or something like that. But like, yeah, you also have sex with Hina, and they all have her kids. And I think someone was like, the order is Byakugan first, Yashihiro second, Makoto third. Because Makoto's baby is like a baby.
The newest one.
And like Byakugan's baby's like fucking like has glasses and he's standing. I think like Yashihiro's baby isn't. I forget how Yashihiro's baby looks like. Are you finding that picture?
Yeah, I found the picture.
So Alex.
Man? This is so weird.
That's the picture.
Oh my god.
We'll definitely have it on the screen if you're watching it on YouTube. Like,
No,
the picture
it's
looks like.
what's his name? Hero's baby last because he's the one that's being fed.
Oh, is he?
He's being nursed.
Yeah. This is weird. I don't like this.
You know what's funny? It's funny in that picture also because like Makoto's the only one's like us nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone's like normal, but Makoto's like, man, you got like the sloppies like thirds or whatever I guess in that situation.
Second.
But I remember, I don't know if this is real or not. I swear to God, I think it's fake because it's the idea of it's so funny. Someone was like, oh, but they're all Makoto's kids. Because they were like, that's the joke that like all three of them are actually Makoto's kids, so Makoto's the only one to have sex with Hina. And I'm like, the more I thought, I'm like, that sounds like a fan thing because they're like, oh, Hina will never have sex with anyone else. It's not Makoto. So I was like, that's crazy that Makoto's kids look exactly like Byakuga. That's like a fucking like you're lying to yourself. Like those kids like
they have to be Makoto.
Like, oh, like the kid turns out black, and you're like, oh, that's my son. And you're like,
As I was looking up Danganronpa alternate ending, the next picture that I saw was that picture of Hiro dead, like in
him getting
the
murdered.
thing.
Yeah.
And the fucking caption is, "How do I unlock this good ending in Danganronpa 1?"
But that's the alternate ending. I hate that.
Yeah,
that's like the only time. Not that like it's the only. As in like that's even a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
You can get like that's so weird.
It is really weird
because like the whole game is a plot. You can get a bad ending that like logically makes sense if you like want to be honest.
Sure.
And then it's like it's a bad ending, and you have to do the whole fucking trial all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you're like, no, you have to lie, which your character never done this whole time. Like, you have to lie on purpose.
It is weird.
The
like,
whole trial
Yeah.
is just so weird to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a lie. All of it's a lie, or everything's a lie, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, it's like no one killed her. Like it's a setup. And then no one actually is the murderer, but you have to vote like it is a murder, and everyone believes it's a murder. It's like, it is so weird to me. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think it's just so stupid. That's why I'm like, this is not going well.
This is weird, especially because it's like, if Monokuma really wanted to do this, then they shouldn't have gotten involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there are easier ways you can just fix this issue.
Yeah.
Because at this point, that's what I'm asking myself. I'm like, why is Monokuma doing all this?
Yeah.
If you're obviously trying to find a specific way to do this.
If you want to prove your point.
Yeah, I'm like, you're just the dumbest way to do it. This makes no logical sense.
I think that's why he set the rules, and that's why he technically doesn't break them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still like, game-wise, I'm like, this is breaking. Like,
the
game
the
itself.
logic, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, the logic that you set up, which is like, the logic is stupid, but at least you're living by it.
Yeah.
You're breaking it. I'm just like, this is, and then the next chapter, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. Like that's even worse.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So Makoto, in the right end, he gets found guilty.
Yes.
Makoto's like, fuck you, bitch. You ain't getting this.
Then his punishment starts.
His punishment, honestly, like, even though I saw Kyoko's first.
Yeah.
I was like, because obviously that's when I found out, obviously she's not the killer. I was like, oh, I'm retarded.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's not the fucking, she's not a bad person at all. Oops. I just read the hentai. Also, I didn't like the hentai anyways. That's beside the point. Anyways. But that's pretty fucked. Yeah. You can't see the thing behind you.
Yeah.
But you know it's like,
it's coming.
It's gonna crush you, and it's like, that's so fucking scary. That's probably one of the worst ones because you're just like, it's just pure anticipation.
Yeah.
I suppose the other ones are like torturous. He's just like, oh, am I next? No. Am I next? No.
Is this
no.
the next one?
No. It is funny though, because I don't know if you noticed it on the school the board. One of them is this like sex ed, where he just draws sperm cells going into an egg.
What?
Yeah.
That's one of the pictures on the fucking like the whiteboard or the chalkboard he draws or whatever. So one of them is like pun detention or something, and the next one's like him and like a sex ed or something. Japanese though.
Yeah.
But like it literally just an egg with sperms going at it, and he's just like, whoa, and I'm like,
check
what
it out,
the fuck? I'm like, he's trying to tell Makoto something.
Yeah, and then
Alter Ego's like, lol, no.
Yeah.
Saves Makoto.
Yeah.
Even Makoto's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen? And he's like, oh shit, whatever.
And he falls in trash.
He falls into the trash.
Yeah.
And here comes my favorite character, ramen noodle Kyoko. She's like, I've come to rescue you. And I'm like,
You got a little
got a Maruchan on your head? What's going on?
I thought that was adorable.
That's like the only time she blushes, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's that scene, isn't it? Like
if you max out her friendship.
Obviously, yes, I know you loser. I'm joking. But like, I think it's like in the story, she's just like,
yeah.
So then, you bust out of the trash thing. You confront Monokuma and you expose him for being a liar.
You meet all your friends. Like, hey, you guys try to kill me, but you know it's cool.
Yeah, but then you go, oh well, give us another chance to prove you wrong, or you can prove yourself right. Like, but the way you did it wasn't right to begin with. And then he's like, yeah, okay, cool.
No, he gives you. He says that, but then he's also like, you have to find out who you actually did the murder the last trial, and you have to find out every other mystery in the school.
Which is so ambiguous. Like, it's like you could be like, oh, you figured this one out, and it's like, we didn't know that was
like, oh, who peed on the toilet? Yeah. Like, I don't know. Well, fuck, you're all dead.
Or it's like, oh, what happened in the second floor dorms? You know, like everything's all fucked, but it's like you never figure that out. Really.
Yeah. So it's like, just say find out the truth of the school, and that's it. That's all you have to say. Basically, like, you find all the mysteries. I'm like, what? How many mysteries are there?
What are the mysteries?
And then you find out slowly over time all the mysteries.
Yeah.
So there are hints, a lot of hints, when you get photos of your friends being in like regular school situations or whatever, and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. We just started school like a day ago or whatever. But then you learn the whole massive plot. One, it's been 2 years since you got knocked out.
Yeah.
So you guys are 18, as I mentioned earlier. Just make sure. That's why I prefaced it earlier. And that the outside world is just fucking apocalypse now.
Which I hate.
It's just everyone's just fucking just dying. Everyone's being in despair.
I wanted to ask you about that. Is that true, or is that just the mastermind being the mastermind?
I'll answer that now, and I have more answers to it. Yes, it is true.
Okay.
Which is bullshit, but whatever.
Yes. It's
like, I hate it. I
kind of felt like the mastermind was lying about
right,
that.
you would think that. Yeah. Right? No, they ruined it. But I'll explain why they ruined it later. But yeah, like the way in the game, you don't know that though.
Yeah.
You just take all this information
as it's presented,
and so you don't know if it's true or not. Because again, this character's been lying to you half the fucking time, anyways.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, you learned that, and whatever the worst, most tragic incident, whatever the fuck it is, whatever. Which wasn't just one incident; it was multiple incidents. But again, I'll talk about that later. It's just so fucking stupid.
Really?
Yeah, it's so dumb. God. But like, okay, anyways. You learn all of that. You learn all your friends were actually friends. You guys were at high school for like at least like a couple months or something.
2 years. Oh,
no, you weren't. No. You were high schooling around for like I think like just a year.
At least a year.
And then you were in the underground world for like I think a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys got knocked the fuck out, and then you don't remember anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are like your day one characters or whatever. And then you're like, oh, all you guys are friends. So you killed all your friends, you bitch.
Which I don't like, by the way. I don't like that reasoning. Because I wrote down. Why would they feel upset about being betrayed by someone they don't even remember? Like, because that was eventually it's revealed that Junko was the murderer.
Yeah, the Junko that died in the beginning wasn't Junko. It was her twin sister Mukuro. Yeah, whatever. She was playing as Junko.
Yeah.
The whole time, and that she got murked.
Yeah, and that explains why she doesn't look the exact same.
Yeah, that's what I brought it earlier. Like, she has like freckles on her face and shit like that.
But Junko is like, oh, like I thought it'd be extra more despairful or whatever if you got betrayed by one of your friends, and it's like, well, we don't know you, like we don't have any memory of you, so this means nothing to me.
I think it's like when her character is so weird.
I hated her character once they revealed her
because it's like
I like the voice.
No, I hated every voice. I hated
once her voice when she started talking. I had to look up who the voice actor was.
So I think I mentioned way earlier that some characters play multiple characters.
Yeah,
Junko is another character as well, besides obviously Junko.
Yeah,
and her other
regular
fake Junko.
Yeah,
she's Toko.
Okay.
The same voice actress.
Okay.
And I don't know if any of you guys picked up. There's another Persona actor in this game that even I didn't know until just recently. Toko and Genocide Joe are not the same voice actors.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Chie from Persona 4, not the old one, the newer version of Chie.
That does sound like her. That does sound like
she's also some of the Junko personalities. I don't remember which ones.
Would have been nice if they got the old Chie.
That sounds
I don't think
like
he's done
her.
anything ever. Why do you keep fucking...
I like the old Chie.
Shut up!
I'm not gonna get over
She's
it.
dead!
She's in real estate?
No, that's the other one. That's a different Persona game.
It's like, why did the ones with good voices
that's
that
the
I
ones,
like always
the
get
ones
replaced?
you like.
All the ones I like are also replaced. Anyways. Persona 4 actually entirely, almost all of it's replaced.
Moving on.
Anyway, yeah, so that's the thing I was bringing up earlier, like that she does some of the Junko voices as well. The girl who does Jill. Genocide Jill also does some Junko. I don't remember which one. I think
So there's like
teacher
multiple
version
voices
and, like,
for
the other ones as well.
For Jill. For Junko?
For Junko.
Yeah, so the same two who do Toko and Genocide Jill also both do Junko and like other versions of Junko as well.
Okay.
That chick does some of the other like teacher Junko and like other I don't know all of them anymore.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention that in general.
Before we get into that, I just also quickly want to mention, I did think Hiro's moment at the very beginning of that second trial in the in chapter 6 is really funny when he's like, I know my answer. You're all the mastermind.
It is like, never change, Hiro.
Yeah.
Never change.
I was like, oh, this is really funny, but like, oh god.
This guy, man, why do
This
you
is
do
all
that?
you have to offer. You're just the funny man.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was really funny. So then Junko's first voice when she shows up is like the regal British one.
Yeah, British.
And I was like, Junko's real voice sucks balls.
That's what I thought at first. I'm like, this is not her real voice.
And then she changes the voice, and I'm like, oh, I guess she's faking the accent. And then and then it switches again. I'm like, no, I hate this other voice too. Like,
I hate all her voices.
I didn't like any of the
That's
voices.
They grew on me.
I did kind of like the sad girl one. That was nice, but like every other one, I was just like, please stop.
I liked them all.
The note I wrote when she reveals what the outside world is like, I just wrote goofy ass outside world because everything is switched to Monokuma.
Yeah, fucking the Eiffel Towers. And
Everybody's
shit like
wearing Monokuma hats. There's a fucking Monokuma Megazord destroying the city. Like, it's like goofy. Okay, cool. And then Junko talks about how excited she is that she gets to see her friends experience this despair.
Yeah.
So Junko plunged the whole world into chaos just so she could see like 5 teenagers experience all this shit. Like, what the hell is this?
Because I think it's one of those things where I think I mentioned this about 999, and this game does it worse because it's a bigger franchise where like they jump the shark like exponentially. I won't go through everything, but all the other content they made for this game is so extra for no fucking reason. They explain things that I didn't want to needed to be explained, and they like made it worse.
Okay.
But before I just accidentally jumped the shark. I'm gonna quick back with to the ending of Danganronpa or whatever.
Yeah, let's wrap up Danganronpa and then we can talk about extra content.
Again, I don't like her character, but it makes sense because you're not supposed to like her anyways. But not like it's like go away heat. I just realize that's a wrestling term, but like, it's one of those things where like you hate her, but you're also like I just don't want her in the screen. Not because I hate her, Like I just don't want her to be on my fucking. I don't want her to exist.
I don't like her character.
Like I don't want her to die. I just don't want it to even exist.
Was one of your favorites.
No, original OG Junko is.
You like Mukuro?
Yes, yes, I do. In
Mukuro,
every
but she was
aspect.
pretending to be.
Okay.
But she's not being her real self. Nah, I'm joking. But like, because I was like, you're not supposed to like her, whatever. And I was like, I hated it because you don't feel justified when she dies because she like no sells everything.
Yeah.
Like she gets every execution. She just like has fun. And I'm like, then when she dies for real, I'm like, that's just fucked up. Like she worked, I guess. I'm like, I wanted you to feel despair. I wanted you to fucking like cry. I was fucking get tortured. Nah, she just like gets destroyed by a bulldozer. She's like, I'm fine.
It makes sense. She gets off of despair.
I know, but I'm just like
if she just wanted to taste despair, she should have just killed herself, man. Like, come on.
She meant her sister to shoot her in the head or something. Fuck.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like it didn't justify when she dies because you just blah.
Yeah,
you're just like
I don't
feel justified.
You feel hollow.
I'm just like wow. I feel empty. Which maybe gets the point of the game, despair, whatever.
Yeah.
What a great game. Way to wait. Game to be like, feel despair at the end of the game. Good job.
I know I saw her die, but does she die?
Yes.
You said
But then
the
she still
other
comes
ones.
back.
How?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it jumps the shark.
Nice.
But yeah, she fucking. I do be fair. Her thing is like gory because she just explodes. Like, blood is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And imagine the red.
Yeah,
that'd
that
just be
would've been
gross.
awesome.
But yeah, she just fucking gets crushed or whatever.
I also didn't like her logic for a lot of this stuff where she's like, well, if I die, it doesn't matter because everything else is still fucked. And it's wouldn't the main person driving despair dying?
I think it's one of those things where like it's so fucked that they probably don't even know the origin anymore.
But it's not because
I know it's not. But her
what I'm saying is she specifically mentions that there's a lot of people trying to break in to the school.
Yeah.
So there's still a decent amount of people. That you know what I mean?
Help them out.
And it's funny because
if she dies, it's pretty easy.
And obviously her logic didn't work because as I'll explain later with the other media's like stuff happens or whatever. And then she dies, and then they're like, oh shit, and then you open the fucking door, and then the game ends. So you don't know what the fuck happens.
Yeah, I was really confused at the very end with that last bit of the trial when you had to shoot the dots of everyone's doubts with hope.
Yeah,
I was like, what am I?
I was down to one heart on that.
Yeah, because I was like, where's the contradiction? What am I contradicting here?
You're like, dark silence.
Yeah,
like, speak up more.
Yeah, and then I had to get a guide, and it's like, oh, you gotta absorb hope and then shoot the doubts with hope, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like,
that was weird.
Metaphorically, but this is another thing where it's like, this is the one time they introduce this concept where it's not that you're contradicting stuff, you're trying to motivate somebody. So I didn't get that, and then the rest of it's for the epilogue. So yeah, okay, sorry.
So there is a if story.
Okay.
Called Danganronpa if, literally. As when you beat Danganronpa 2, it's you get it or whatever.
Okay.
And it's relevant now. It doesn't matter if Danganronpa 2. It's a what if story about Makuro.
Okay.
Where it's completely different. Like no one gets murdered basically. So I'll just say real fast. Basically, it's like the night before Sayaka's like, hey, let's switch rooms about the whole plan. Makoto's like walks to a fucking like the Monokuma machines. Oh man, I'm gonna get into that in a bit. Yeah. About the whole thing, anyways. But that's not the point. Anyways, so he gets electrocuted and he passes out. And when he wakes up again, like he has a fever. So he has a fever earlier. And Sayaka, instead of being like, let's switch rooms, she's like, oh fuck, he's sick. You're my friend. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna go take care of him. So she kind of drops the whole I'm gonna kill Leon. Yeah. But then Junko as fucking
as the despair woman.
Yeah. Well, she's the ultimate whatever. But like, no one else. It doesn't matter. So she also shows up and she's like, oh shit, like we should take care of Makoto here or whatever. And then like it fast forwards a bit more, and then the whole she's gonna get killed happens. But Makoto, like last second, is like, no, wait. And he says her real name because he's seen her enough times. But he's like, wait a minute, you look like I know you, but not Junko. Yeah. So he like slowly becomes like, because they say like the shock is like kind of helping him like remember more than he should. So he's like, wait a minute, you don't look like Junko. And then he like says her name, so she dodges it, but he gets impaled. Oh. He doesn't die though, but he gets like fucking. I'm like, how does he not die? Yeah. But she didn't. But she's a fucking like soldier. Like what the fuck? Yeah. That's not the point. So he doesn't die, but he's like bleeding out everywhere. And then like Junko's like, oh fuck, this is bad. Yeah. So she's like, as Monokuma, she's like, oh, I got hacked. This is like a French dude or some fucking fake name. Yeah. And actually, Junko is actually Makura, and so she's the mastermind. So fucking kill her. Like she kind of just throws her immediately. Yeah. And then so everyone's like, oh shit, you're right. That makes sense. You don't look like Junko. Yeah. So then she obviously Makura's like, oh well, I'm not, blah blah, trying to defend herself. Yeah. So instead she just like takes Makoto's like corpse, like his dying body, and she's like, I'm gonna book it. And the Sakura's like, nah, bitch. So they fight. Yeah. And they're like, oh, Sakura's better because she's a fucking martial artist or whatever. Yeah. So she actually beats her. But that's why it's so interesting because she's like, oh, Toko's blood thing. So she throws blood at her and she becomes Genocide Jill. So they're like, oh, Genocide Jill. And they're like, oh shit, a fucking murderer. So they take her down. Yeah. But they're doing that, fucking Makura runs away with Makoto and takes her to the nurse office. And then Kyoko is like, wait a minute, this is kind of sus. So then I think, a Monokuma thing shows up to Makuro. Makuro kills it, but the machine's still there. Yeah. So Kyoko takes fucking Chihiro. It's like, okay, fucking work on this if you have a chance. And she's like, oh, activate the record thing and record everything that she says. And then I think like she asks like, hey, what's going on? And Makuro tells everything to Kyoko. And then they get chased again by a bunch of Makumas, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you, sis. Like, you fucked this up, bro. Like, I'm just gonna." It's like, "Oh, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wipe everyone's memory again, anyways.
We're just gonna restart.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep doing that, but I'm gonna make you be you again. Yeah. But you're just not gonna remember shit, so you're fucked. Yeah. So she basically like, threatened her or whatever. Yeah. And she like fights like a million Monokuma dolls, blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, she gets the motorcycle from the execution of Mondo's. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna kill you with this shit right now, fuck it. But then Mondo's actually on it, and he's like, nah, bro, I ain't letting no woman get hurt. So he saves her, and she's like, wait, I thought we were gonna kill me. He's like, nah, we listened to the thing, so we believe you now. So everyone like fights Monokuma or whatever. And then like Junko's like, oh, all right, let's do one last trial or something. And they're like, no, you dumbass. I think Taka's like, no, you stupid fuck. We all know what the truth is that we all remember now. Like, this is not gonna work a second time. Yeah. And then she's like, okay, bet, watch this. And like, it's the entrance door. Yeah. It's like, I have the button. If you can touch this button like 15 seconds, you win. Yeah. But then like a million Monokumas come on, they're gonna self-destruct or whatever. Yeah. So Makuro's like, all right, Sakura, just fucking throw me like a dart. Yeah. In the middle. And I'll take the L and I'll hit it or whatever. And she says something to Junko that distracts her for like 2 seconds, and then she actually does it. But they don't kill Junko. But she's like, I'm gonna charge up all my despair, and I'm gonna fuck you all up later. And they're all like, bitch. So then they're like, oh, we're gonna open the door, and we're all gonna leave. So we're all cool. But the Makuro's like, fuck, man, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I set this up. He's like, I'll kill myself or whatever, because like I shouldn't, like, I'm the reason why this happened.
Yeah.
Because she helped.
Yeah.
And she does.
Right.
But I think Byakugan is like, nah, dog. Like, if the Dogami thing still exists, I'll party. I don't give a fuck. Like, we're all cool.
Yeah.
And then she's like, nah. She put the fucking Junko thing back on, like a clown gimmick. Like,
Oh.
I am still Junko. Because she's like, oh, I'll take the L then. Like, I'm like, I am real Junko. Kill me.
Yeah.
And then that'll work. And they were like, oh, we'll think about it. And then the door opens and then it's over.
Yeah.
That's the if thing. I remember when I read that, I'm like, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And it's also interesting because they're like, oh, let's do all the like all the twists immediately right now. Like,
Yeah.
oh, just that chill fighter. Like that's just interesting or whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm like, this is fun. Then I learned there's more light novels and other stuff. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. No, that was the last interesting thing was if. Holy fucking shit.
You said there's like a sequel to it, right?
There is
Like what happens after?
Danganronpa 2,
Yeah.
which is connected to Danganronpa 1 by law. So I won't say much because I know you guys probably want to play it. So I won't say much about that.
Yeah.
But there's an anime that also links all of them together.
Okay.
It makes you think. Literally, anime's called Danganronpa 3.
Okay.
You think like that's it, but then they have literally the Danganronpa 3, but it's called V3.
Oh, that's why it's
called
that's
V3.
why the third game is
Yes.
called V3
Yes.
instead of Danganronpa
So it's different.
3. Okay.
I will
okay.
explain more stuff, but that's another big thing.
Yeah.
But the anime, I will explain. I'll say the anime stuff that connects to this game.
Should I watch the anime?
No, it sucks. They explain a lot of the stuff,
Okay.
but it also spoils 2. So if you
Okay.
beat 2 first, and then you watch the anime,
Okay.
so you won't get
Okay.
spoiled. Because it spoils a lot of 2. It spoils basically everything of 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the anime is basically like, and they make Makuro's character like a fucking, like she's like in love with her sister. Like she's like a lap dog. Like I think they shows up and she like, Junko throws a grenade at her and Makuro like kicks it. And she's like, oh, I love you, sister. Like she tries to kill Makuro all the time. And
Yeah.
she lives because she's a soldier.
Yeah.
And that's like how they show fucking, it's
Affection,
so
whatever.
like, they make every character one dimensional.
Yeah.
They make Junko so like generically despair and those other characters. And then you learn that super whatever the fuck incident. I won't say much because it
The
involves
tragedy.
2.
Yeah.
But like one, it's not one day. It's like a fucking. It makes it seem like it's like a month-long thing.
Okay.
And it doesn't make any sense because like, oh, a riot happens in the school. A riot happens for like a whole month or something, but they're still going to school. They're like, we're going to class. Oh man, those kids are rioting out there. Anyway, 7 plus 7 is 5. Like they're still doing school. So they're like, I wonder when the rioting is going to stop. They're like, oh, world leaders are dying and this, and they're like, oh shit. Anyways, music class, like it doesn't make any sense to me. I never understood that.
Yeah.
And then you learn there's multiple points where like the thing could have ended, quote unquote, or if a certain character does something, but then they do some dumbass shit and it doesn't end it.
Okay.
And there's one character, I remember, I'll never forget this one character. It's so weird. The ultimate boxer, whatever the fuck his ultimate dumbass thing is. I hate this guy. He's like an adult though. He's like, oh, he has Junko, and like I think it's his that he could kill her. Like he's strong enough to fight like everyone there, and he would win.
Yeah.
But then she's like, oh, but if you kill me, I'm gonna tell everyone that you're gay. And then he's like, no! And he like goes on his knees like, oh no, I don't want to be gay. And then she just like, checkmate, bitch. And then she walks away. And he's like, no!
Is he gay?
Yeah, he's gay.
Okay.
You learn he's gay.
That would be really funny if he wasn't. It's just like,
My ultimate is making you think you're gay. Just, no!
how could you lie like that?
I'm the ultimate gay. Like it's so stupid. Because you know he's gay. I'm not explaining the twist, but
It's whatever, yeah.
It's so stupid. But that's the reason why he doesn't kill her. He's like, I'm gonna tell everyone you're gay. I'm like, dude, there's a fucking apocalypse. You can end it right now.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck if you're gay? No one's like, oh, you're gay. Oh, but you saved everyone. Good job, bro. Maybe you'll
Yeah.
suck your dick. I don't know. Like, who gives a fuck? That was all. There's other characters that do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of that going on. They're like, we can end it. No.
What
Oh,
if
you're
I,
right.
What if I said this about you? Then?
Yeah, there's like, oh fuck, bro.
Omar, if you don't end this podcast, I'm gonna tell everyone you're gay.
Bro, fucking, I wish.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this podcast up.
But yeah, that shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, it explains things that I do not need to know.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's also Zero. I will say really fast. It's so dumb. They do explain how they lose the memory. There's the ultimate neurologist guy. And
Okay.
you learn he's involved in this way. He's the childhood friend of Junko.
Okay.
The whole thing though is pointed like, oh, this character you don't know who she is, and you learn she has memory loss. She's the ultimate fucking amnesic or whatever. You learn it's Junko.
What?
That they did the thing on her first.
Okay.
But the dude was like, I'm gonna keep doing it on you so you can never remember any of the thing you want to do because he knows everything's gonna happen.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm gonna keep making sure you're amnesiac so you'll never remember this, so this will just pass on and it will not happen. But obviously it doesn't work because you know it doesn't work. But the whole book makes you think like it's gonna work, like his plan is gonna activate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, No, because Danganronpa exists.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many things like that where they make it like this thing can prevent the accident. No, it's not gonna fucking prevent anything, because the series exists.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you're trying to make it seem like we can save it, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like
It doesn't save it.
Okay.
And then their third and the Danganronpa 3, the anime's ending. It's dumb. I didn't like it. And it wraps it up, and you're like, okay, it's over. Then V3 comes out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, V3 fucking like comes in clutch, like fucking Kobe Bryant, bro. Fucking hitting that shit. That shit's so. Danganronpa 3 is really good. I don't know why people shat on it. It's so stupid why people shat on it.
Well, from what I can understand,
I know why they shat on it, and I won't spoil it.
Is it because it's like far future and because it's like
it's the ending?
Yeah.
I won't spoil the ending.
Okay.
But the ending, people hated the ending.
Okay. I feel like I know a bit.
Is
about
it fine?
That,
it's
in your eyes?
I think it works. It is like people are just so like locked on.
Now
They're just like, it can't be this. They're like, it's like basically imagine this ending like in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then us being like, that's so stupid.
Mm.
But then like, you know, everyone's be like, no, it works because anime is just a good game.
You mean like 999?
No, because it's like,
No. But
I think it's different in the aspect of it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
This one it makes sense, but it disrupts a lot of the history.
The rest of it.
So people like are upset about that.
Okay.
Like, oh, it ruins everything, and I'm like, no, it does. Like, you're stupid for thinking that. Like, you'll make something you play if you ever play it.
Sure.
So it's kind of hard to defend something that I can't explain.
That you can't really talk about.
But I mean, it's just people being like, this is a bad explanation because you don't agree with Sam doesn't agree with Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, it ruined Star Wars, and I'm just like, they still exist. Don't fucking talk like you can never watch Star Wars ever again.
Yeah.
Like, just because you didn't like the movie and it ruins whatever the things you think you like about it, it's like, that doesn't change anything. You can just never watch the movie again and just watch the Star Wars movies you fucking like.
Yeah.
They're like, this ending ruins everything. Just don't fucking play the game again. Just go fucking jerk off
play
to
the
playing the
other
same
one.
games all over again because you love it so fucking much.
Yeah.
In general, I just think they jumped the shark so fucking hard in that series.
Yeah.
And in that game, they call that out a lot. Where the dude's burnt out. And they keep asking him to make Danganronpa 4. And he's just like, no, do you not play 3?
Yeah.
Like, 3 kind of explains I'm burnt. And they're like, so Danganronpa 4?
Yeah, the way you make 3 sounds like a finale.
It is the finale.
And like
Okay.
he made it specifically that way because he's
done.
I don't want to do this anymore.
He must be burnt out.
Yeah.
Because all these things are like, he writes most of these things.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he fucking does it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how anyone can make 3 games, animes, mangas, a fucking stage show.
Oh,
apparently.
he writes all that stuff too?
He wrote the light novels.
What the fuck?
And like all that shit or whatever.
That's extra, man.
It's just, I don't know.
That sounds like George Lucas in Star Wars.
Yeah, like very hands-on.
Yeah.
I just think if you enjoy this game, just play the games.
Yeah.
I haven't played Ultimate Despair, to be fair. I don't know. I heard it's good though. And it's not that crazy. It doesn't do anything crazy either. It adds more lore to stuff.
Yeah.
But just play the fucking games. I do not recommend the animes. Any of them. Maybe if you want to feel closure and then feel depressed about the said closure.
Yeah.
Just be like me. Read fanfics. Closures are enough for me. Fuck it, man.
Yeah.
Danganronpa is a series. It's hard to recommend.
Yeah.
Because it's dumb. But it's still in fun.
But anime fans are okay with stuff being dumb. So hopefully the next game isn't an anime game.
To be fair, I don't think it is because it's you two.
Let's see whose game it is. It's between me and Sam, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Let's see if odds are in your favor, Alex.
What are the odds?
Dude's like we're Celeste Ludenberg right now.
Oh, I think it is me.
What do you mean think? What does it say? Oh, you're like I think. I'm like,
I saw it. It landed on Omar.
okay,
but
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like the game reminds me of.
But like what it does
Massacre.
is like it goes to whoever's
slow.
closer.
The next one, yeah.
I was like, what do you mean you think?
So,
It just says
if
it.
it landed on Omar, but it was closer to Sam's, it would go to Sam.
Yeah. So, but it landed on
I think
Alex,
the
so.
wheel hates me.
Alex Games.
I always forget. I literally always forget
have that many games
everyone's
on here.
game.
Yeah.
The only thing I
Let's
remember is like Star Wars.
Yeah. It might be.
So I think we took out most of his list.
It might be cool because it's like of the way that we talked about it.
Which
Can
one?
you play this?
Which one?
Kenna?
Oh, Kenna Bridge of
I don't know
Spirits? I
what
think it's a PS4 game.
Okay.
I've never heard of this game.
It's
in my
like
life.
a PS. It's like a platformer, like a modern platformer. Let me look it up real quick.
The one with the
I
dog?
played it for like 10 minutes.
No.
It
No, I'm
felt
thinking of a different game.
it felt very Zelda-ish, like newer Zelda.
Zelda?
I definitely got those kind of vibes from it.
Wait,
It is on PS4. Yeah.
Okay.
is that the one with the little boy with like a little tunic? It's like a blue tunic.
No.
It's a girl.
Oh, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a child though? It was like a small person.
No.
Kinda, yeah. There's like
geez.
the little black soot things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking of that one game though. I'm thinking of the game with the big dog.
I'm excited.
Shadow Colossus.
What is that game called? The
Oh.
Last Guardian.
Yeah, I think I'm that. My bad.
Yeah, no, this is different.
I saw this game at the PlayStation Showcase. Wait, last year?
a year or two ago.
Yeah,
now,
when they revealed the PS5, and I'm like, this looks good.
Yeah.
I want this.
What the fuck?
I played it for like 10
Nickelodeon animation kid.
It is made by an animation studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like first and foremost, they're an animation studio.
Yeah. I hope it has a good story.
I hope you redeem yourself, Alex.
And this
What was
is
my last game?
this is digital only, I think. too.
Resident Evil.
No, I have
Resident Evil was a good game. I will die
I
on that hill.
have the physical.
Oh, is it physical?
They made a limited amount.
Oh, okay.
Because it is like an independent studio, right?
I think so. Yeah, they're pretty small.
Yeah.
They maybe will show the light of this epic game, or show its despair.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time, next month.
See you later, guys.
Canada Bridge of Spirits. Bye.
Heck yeah.
Catch ya on the hope side.